Chapter 29. Lu Ming followed the large group out of the Mystic Essence Sword sect and headed towards the secluded Night Mountain range. Thousands of people ran on the road, stirring up clouds of dust. The Mystic Essence Sword sect was a full 200 miles away from the secluded Night Mountain range. Although everyone was a martial artist who had awakened their bloodline and their cultivation was not weak, after running for 200 miles, many of them were still sweating profusely and panting like oxen. Lu Ming was fine. Although he was a little out of breath, he had not reached his limit. When they arrived at the periphery of the secluded Night Mountain range, they found that the people from the White Tiger Hall had already arrived. There were a total of 1,500 people in the White Tiger Hall, nearly 500 more than the Vermilion Bird Hall. In recent years, the White Tiger Hall had become stronger and stronger, becoming the strongest among the 4 halls. Therefore, most people chose to join the White Tiger Hall. "Alright, you guys take a rest first," Xia Kuang called out. Everyone sat cross-legged and meditated. Rumble. After a while the earth rumbled. The Azure Dragon Hall and the Black Tortoise Hall had arrived. Lu Ming observed for a while and found that the Azure Dragon Hall had about 1,300 people, the Black Tortoise Hall had about 1,200 people, and the Vermilion Bird Hall had the least, only about 1,000 people. The 4 halls added up to about 5,000 people. Swoosh, swoosh. At this moment, the sound of something breaking through the air came from the sky. A few figures flew over from afar. Yes, they were flying in the air without riding on other flying beasts. "It's a martial ancestor realm expert." There was a burst of exclamations as everyone looked at the sky enviously. Only when a martial artist reached the martial ancestor realm could they fly in the air and soar in the 9 heavens. Lu Ming also looked at the sky enviously, revealing a yearning look. Who wouldn't yearn to soar in the 9 heavens like a goshawk, overlooking the mountains and rivers? One day I will reach such a realm. Lu Ming clenched his fist with all his might. There were a total of 3 figures and they were very fast. In a few breaths they were above everyone's head and suspended in the air. They were 3 gray-haired old men wearing silver robes. They were the silver-robed elders of the Mystic Essence Sword sect. Now I will announce the rules of this trial. As soon as they arrived, the silver-robed elder in the middle announced loudly. This time, on some of the beasts in the secluded Night Mountain range, we hung an iron plate with points engraved on it, namely 1 point, 2 points, 5 points and 10 points. These are the 4 types. Among them there are a total of 5,000 1-point iron plates, which are distributed to Class 1 LV1 to Class 6 LV1. There are a total of 2,000 iron plates, which are on Class 1 7th stage to Class 1 9th stage. There are 400 pieces of 5-point iron plates and 200 pieces of 10-point iron plates. These 2 types of iron plates can only be found on Class 1 to Class 3 LV2 demonic beasts. This time, as long as you get 10 points, you will pass and be promoted to a bronze disciple. The duration of the trial is 20 days. After 20 days, come back here and check your results. Does 10 points count as passing? Lu Ming's eyes flickered. 10 points didn't seem like much, but it was extremely difficult. The strength of demonic beasts was not something that ordinary beasts could compare to. A level 1 demonic beast was equivalent to a martial soldier. A rank 2 demonic beast was equivalent to a martial master. Every level 1 demonic beast was divided into 9 levels, which corresponded to a martial master's realm. The 5-point and 10-point iron plates were on Class 2 demonic beasts. Ordinary newcomers couldn't get their hands on them. Therefore, those below the martial master realm could only get 1-point and 2-point iron plates. According to the silver-robed elder, 5,000 for 1 point, 2,000 for 2 points. Even if all the 5-point and 10-point iron plates were added together, the total score would be 13,000 points. 13,000 points divided by 10. That was to say, on average, only 1,300 people would pass. Out of 5,000 people, only 1,300 people could pass on average. It could be imagined that the competition this time would be extremely fierce. Furthermore, the rewards this time around are also very generous. The silver-robed elder continued to announce, this time the first place will be rewarded with 5,000 sect contribution points and a spirit-condensing fruit. The second place will be rewarded with 4,000 sect contribution points. The third place will be rewarded with 3,000 sect contribution points. The 4th place to the 10th place will be rewarded with 1,000 sect contribution points. The 11th place to the 100th place will also have a corresponding reward. Lastly, I might as well tell you that this time, there will be a 5-point iron plate. As for which demonic beast it is on, it will depend on you to find it. Alright, that's all for the rules. You can all rest for a while and set off. As soon as he said that, the entire place was in an uproar. The main thing was that the rewards were too tempting. The Mystic Essence Sword Sect's contribution points could be exchanged for anything in the Mystic Essence Sword Sect, such as elixirs, spiritual weapons, cultivation techniques, martial skills, heavenly treasures, etc. One contribution point was equivalent to 100 taels of silver. The first place would be rewarded with 5,000 contribution points, which was equivalent to 500,000 taels of silver. Who wouldn't be tempted? Spirit Condensing Fruit. Compared to the contribution points, the Spirit Condensing Fruit was also tempting to Lu Ming. The Spirit Condensing Fruit could be used by ordinary martial artists to condense their true qi and increase their cultivation. However, it was more useful for Lu Ming. If he wanted to cultivate to the second level of the true dragon art, his true qi would be 3 times denser than ordinary true qi. He would need to use several extremely precious and rare materials. The Spirit Condensing Fruit was one of the most precious materials. I must obtain the Spirit Condensing Fruit. Lu Ming's eyes revealed a burning light. Not only Lu Ming, but some of the powerful geniuses among the 5,000 people also revealed a strong desire. You must be Lu Ming? At this moment, a clear voice sounded out. A 15 or 16-year-old girl wearing a swordsman's robe revealed her proud figure without a doubt. She had a ponytail and a sword on her back. She had a heroic spirit. You are? Looking at the girl, Lu Ming frowned. He did not know the other party, but the other party recognized him. Could it be that she was sent by the Duanmu family? As if seeing through Lu Ming's worries, the girl smiled and said, Lu Ming, my name is Feng Wu. Sister Mulin's told me to look for you. Mulin's? Lu Ming's eyes lit up. He let down his guard and said, Miss Feng Wu is looking for me. I wonder why you are looking for me. Sister Mulin said that this time, the Duanmu family might deal with you in the trial, so she told me to form a team with you. This way we can take care of each other. How about it, let's move together? Feng Wu said. Lu Ming thought for a moment, then nodded, all right. He had absolute trust in Mulin's. Furthermore, he had just arrived at the Mystic Essence Sword Sect, so he was not very clear about the situation in the Mystic Essence Sword Sect. That's great. Our team still has 3 people. Let me introduce you. Feng Wu laughed and turned to walk back. Lu Ming followed. On the side of a huge rock, there were 3 youths leaning against it. Everyone, let me introduce you. This is Lu Ming, our new member. Arriving in front of the 3 of them, Feng Wu pointed at Lu Ming and introduced him. Then he pointed to the 2 tall and skinny youths and introduced them. Lu Ming, this is Zhou Hao, Zhou Su. Zhou Hao and Zhou Su nodded their heads indifferently as a form of greeting. Lu Ming, this is Yuan Chong. Feng Wu pointed to the last rather handsome young man and said, Feng Wu, why did you pull everyone into the team? I don't want someone to drag us down. Chapter 30. Yuan Chang's expression was somewhat unfriendly as he stared at Lu Ming and said coldly. Feng Wu's face darkened and said, Yuan Chong, what are you saying? Lu Ming is my friend. Friend? Hee, we have a lot of friends and not everyone can be pulled into the team. I want to ask, what is his cultivation level? Yuan Chong said coldly. 6th level martial warrior. Lu Ming said with a sneer on his face. Ha ha ha, 6th level martial warrior? Junior sister Feng Wu, you want to pull a trash at the 6th level of the martial warrior into the team? The weakest of us here are at the 9th level of the martial warrior. He is just a trash at the 6th level of the martial warrior. Yuan Chong laughed out loud and looked at Lu Ming mockingly, his face full of disdain. A faint look of disdain flashed across the eyes of the other 2, but they did not say anything. Miss Feng, it seems that I'm not welcome here. Then I'll take my leave. Lu Ming cupped his fists towards Feng Wu and said, then turned around and left. Lu Ming, wait a moment. Feng Wu anxiously called out. He went over and grabbed Lu Ming's hand, then looked at Yuan Chong, his eyes filled with raging anger, and shouted, Yuan Chong, you're going too far. I'm warning you, if you say such words again, then we'll go our separate ways. Feng Wu, you. Yuan Chong's face was extremely gloomy. He never thought that Feng Wu would actually speak to him like that for Lu Ming. He looked at Lu Ming, his eyes flashing with resentment, but in the end he did not say anything. After that, Feng Wu looked at Lu Ming and whispered, Lu Ming, I promised Big Sister Mulin's that I would bring you along. If you leave, I won't be able to explain it to Big Sister Mulin's. As he spoke, his eyes revealed a pleading look. Lu Ming was somewhat speechless. It seemed that this Feng Wu beauty was afraid of Mulin's, which was why she insisted on keeping him. Why don't we walk with them for a while, get some information and then find an opportunity to leave? Lu Ming thought for a moment, then nodded and said, all right, let's go together. That's great. Feng Wu's face revealed a happy smile. Seeing Feng Wu and Lu Ming whispering to each other, Yuan Chang's face became even uglier, and his eyes were filled with a cold light. At this time, there were already people rushing into the secluded night mountain range one after another. Generally, they were in teams of 3 to 5 people, but there were also some who were alone and disappeared into the secluded night mountain range. Then let's go, Feng Wu announced. Obviously, Feng Wu was the leader of this group. A group of 5 people rushed towards the secluded night mountain range. In the secluded night mountain range, there were towering trees everywhere within a radius of 1,000 miles. Old vines coiled around it, making it look like a primeval forest. From time to time, the terrifying roars of beasts could be heard. 30 miles outside the secluded night mountain range is generally filled with ferocious beasts. There are very few demonic beasts. If we want to obtain points, we have to go at least 30 miles deep. Feng Wu said to them. Everyone nodded, spread out their bodies and rushed towards the depths of the secluded night mountain range. Yuan Chong took the lead. His speed was extremely fast. With a sneer on his face, he thought to himself, "This trash, let's see how you can keep up?" But very soon he could no longer laugh. Lu Ming took a step forward and covered a distance of 20 feet. He followed beside Zhou Hao and Zhou Su effortlessly, looking relaxed and relaxed. This trash, I didn't expect his movement technique to be so powerful, Yuan Chong thought in displeasure. Among them, he was at the first level of the Martial Master Realm, Feng Wu was also at the first level of the Martial Master Realm, and Zhou Hao and Zhou Su were both at the 9th level of the Martial Warrior Realm. Although Yuan Chong could still speed up his movement technique, that way he would be able to shake off Zhou Hao and Zhou Su. But what he didn't know was that Lu Ming didn't even use half of his speed. The Dragon Snake steps had reached the 5th level, perfection. With a single step he could cross a distance of 5 feet. The group moved very quickly. After an hour they had already gone 30 miles deep. At this point, the 5 of them slowed down because there were already demonic beasts roaming around. A pitch-black black panther suddenly pounced out from the bushes. Its fiendish aura filled the air, and its claws were like blades as it grabbed towards Zhou Hao. "You're courting death." Zhou Hao shouted and punched out, colliding with the black panther's claws. With a bang, the black panther was no match for it. It flew backwards and heavily fell to the ground. After rolling a few times, it got up and ran away. Class 6 Demonic Beast Black Iron Panther. Zhou Hao, don't chase after it. It doesn't have any iron medallion on it, Feng Wu called out. Zhou Hao originally wanted to chase after him, but hearing this he stopped. Feng Wu continued, "Our main goal is to accumulate points, so those who do not have any iron medallions, we should avoid them as much as we can so as not to waste time and energy." The others nodded. The 5 of them continued forward, but not long after they stopped. Feng Wu frowned, he looked around and said, "Someone has been following us." "I noticed it too." Yuan Chong nodded. Lu Ming also frowned because from the beginning, he had been feeling a killing intent enveloping him. "Who is it? Come out!" Feng Wu shouted. "Haha, junior sister Feng's spiritual sense is really sharp." A sneer came from the left and then 2 figures appeared. Wei Ziming. Lu Ming's eyes flashed. One of them, Lu Ming knew. It was Wei Ziming who was slapped twice by him a few days ago at the Profound Sword City's restaurant. At this time, Wei Ziming was staring at Lu Ming with a sinister expression. Beside Wei Ziming was a youth who was 50 to 60% similar to Wei Ziming, but even younger. "Wei Zio, it's you? Why are you following us?" Feng Wu said coldly. So this person was Wei Ziming's younger brother, Wei Zio. It was normal for some of the more famous geniuses to know each other. Wei Zio laughed and said, "Junior sister Feng, senior brother Yuan Chong, this has nothing to do with you. I want him, Lu Ming." Feng Wu's face changed and said, "Why are you looking for Lu Ming?" "Nothing. A while ago he slapped my big brother twice, so I'm here to cripple his hands. Junior sister Feng, it's best if you don't interfere in this matter." Wei Zio looked at Feng Wu and said, "But I'm going to interfere because Lu Ming is now my teammate," Feng Wu said. "Feng Wu, I advise you not to meddle in other people's business." At this moment, a voice came from the right. Following that, 2 youths appeared. These 2 youths did not conceal their auras at all. Their auras erupted, revealing their cultivation of the 9th level martial warrior. Although it was only the 9th level martial warrior, it caused Feng Wu's expression to change greatly. "People from the Duanmu family, what are you doing here?" Feng Wu shouted. The Duanmu family had a green tree embroidered on their sleeves, making it easy to recognize. "We're here for this Lu Ming, of course. We want his life." One of the Duanmu family's youths smiled faintly. "You want to kill Lu Ming?" Feng Wu's expression turned ugly. Just how many people had this Lu Ming offended? No wonder Mulins wanted her to protect Lu Ming. At the side, Yuan Chang's eyes revealed a gloating expression. This Lu Ming actually dared to offend the Duanmu family. He was truly courting death. Duanmu family, Wei Zio, you came in such a hurry. Chapter 31. Ha, Lu Ming, looks like there's no need for me to do anything. Wei Zio laughed. No, no one can take Lu Ming away today. Feng Wu said resolutely. Feng Wu's words stunned everyone. The two youths from the Duanmu family turned gloomy and said, Feng Wu, you really want to go against my Duanmu family? My Duanmu family's anger is not something you can withstand. At the side, Yuan Chong also said anxiously, Junior sister Feng Wu, for a mere Lu Ming, offending the Duanmu family and brother Wei is truly unwise. I think we should not meddle in other people's business. Shut up. Whoever wants to take Lu Ming away today, ask the sword in my hand first. Clang. Feng Wu unsheathed his sword and a sharp sword chi burst out, splitting a rock the size of a person into two halves. Martial Master Realm, release of true energy. Wei Ziming, Wei Zio, the two from the Duanmu family, and Yuan Chang's faces all darkened. Especially Yuan Chong, who gritted his teeth. Wei Zio and the two from the Duanmu family's eyes flickered. In their eyes, Lu Ming could be easily killed, but Feng Wu was difficult to deal with. Although Wei Zio was also at the first level of the Martial Master Realm, the two youths from the Duanmu family were only at the 9th level of the Martial Warrior Realm. Feng Wu, do you really think you can protect Lu Ming? When my Duanmu family's experts come, let's see how you'll protect him. In the end, the two from the Duanmu family chose to retreat. Wei Zio also sneered, his figure flashed, and he retreated with Wei Ziming. Lu Ming, don't worry. The secluded Night Mountain range has a radius of 1,000 miles. As long as we are careful, the people from the Duanmu family won't be able to find us. Feng Wu walked to Lu Ming's side and said, Thank you. Lu Ming said with a smile. To be honest, even without Feng Wu, Lu Ming was confident that he could break out of the encirclement. The dragon snake steps allowed him to traverse 5 meters with a single step. He believed that even a first-level martial master expert would not be able to catch up to him. However, under such circumstances, Feng Wu was still firmly standing on his side. Lu Ming was still very grateful. There's no need to be so courteous with me. Let's continue our journey, Feng Wu said. Then he turned around and glared fiercely at Yuan Chong before striding forward. Following that, Feng Wu took the lead, and after walking for a while, she would turn around to prevent the Duanmu clan and Wei Ziming from following her. By evening they had walked at least 100 miles in the forest. During this time they finally encountered a few demonic beasts with iron tokens and successfully obtained a few iron tokens. The iron plate was very thin and light. There were 2 pieces, one of which was engraved with the word 1, and the other with the word 2. 2 for 1, 1 for 2. Soon night fell. They built a bonfire, caught a demonic beast and roasted it. At night, the secluded Night Mountain range was even more dangerous. Demonic beasts roamed about and were extremely ferocious. Therefore they planned to rest at night and continue searching for iron tokens during the day. After eating the barbecue, they extinguished the bonfire and found a secluded place to meditate and rest. The night passed without a word. The next day they continued to search for demonic beasts with iron tokens. However, the secluded Night Mountain range had a radius of 1,000 miles. It was unknown how many demonic beasts lived there, but there were only 7,000 iron tokens. In this vast forest it was not that easy to find. Just like that, 3 days passed. In 3 days, the 5 of them had obtained a total of 6 pieces of 1 point and 3 pieces of 2 points. In total it was only 12 points, enough for one person to pass. On the 3rd day, when the sky was completely dark, they discovered a shadow wolf. On the neck of this shadow wolf, there was an iron token with the word 10 written on it. Iron token with 10 points, kill. Feng Wu was overjoyed. In a flash he chased after it. The shadow wolf was a Class 1 LV2 demonic beast. An ordinary Class 1 LV2 demonic beast had an iron token with 5 points, and an iron token with 10 points was usually on Class 2 LV2 demonic beasts. Now that a Class 1 LV2 demonic beast had an iron token with 10 points, it could be said to be extremely rare, so they naturally wouldn't let it go. Let's chase together. Feng Wu called out from the front. Behind him, Zhou Hao and Zhou Su also rushed forward. However, the shadow wolf was extremely fast, and Feng Wu couldn't catch up at all. In a few breaths, Feng Wu and the shadow wolf's figures disappeared. Lu Ming used his movement technique and wanted to chase after them, but a figure flashed and blocked in front of him. It was Yuan Chong. Lu Ming frowned and said, Yuan Chong, you want to attack me? Yi Lu Ming, you trash, that stupid woman Feng Wu actually protects you like this. She's really stupid, but I, Yuan Chong, don't want to be implicated by you. Yuan Chong pointed his sword at Lu Ming, and a powerful aura enveloped Lu Ming's body. Yuan Chong, you're 17 years old this year, right? Lu Ming suddenly asked. That's right. So what? Yuan Chong said. 17 years old and you're still only a Class 1 martial master. I think you're even worse than trash. In 2 months I can defeat you. Lu Ming said. Ridiculous. Lu Ming, you want to defeat me in 2 months with a Class 6 martial warrior trash like you? Ridiculous, but unfortunately you won't have the chance. Yuan Chong revealed a cold smile. At this moment, the sound of something breaking through the air came from the side of the forest, and 2 figures appeared. It was actually the 2 youths from the Duanmu family. Yuan Chong, you're quite sensible. Thank you for your cooperation this time. You can leave now. One of the youths from the Duanmu family said. Ah, Lu Ming, this is your fate. Accept it obediently. Yuan Chong laughed loudly. His figure flashed, and he headed in the direction where Feng Wu and the others were chasing after the shadow wolf. Lu Ming, are you going to kill yourself or do you want us to do it? After Yuan Chong left, the 2 youths from the Duanmu family looked at Lu Ming. One of them said indifferently, as if Lu Ming was already a turtle in a jar. With just the 2 of you? Your Duanmu family is underestimating me, Lu Ming. Lu Ming sighed. Suddenly he stomped heavily on the ground, twisted his body, and rushed toward the 2 youths from the Duanmu family like lightning. Swoosh. In the process of rushing out, sword light flashed and slashed at the vital point of one of the youths. Strike first and gain the upper hand. Since they had already become mortal enemies, Lu Ming would not be wishy-washy. The 2 youths from the Duanmu family were shocked. They never thought that Lu Ming would be so bold. He was only a Class 6 martial warrior. Facing 2 Class 9 martial warriors, he actually dared to take the initiative. Moreover, his attack was fast, accurate, and incomparably sharp. Retreat. In a hurry, the 2 of them hurriedly retreated. Puchi. Even so, one of the youth's chest was still swept by Lu Ming's sword. The wound went straight to the bone and blood flowed out. What a pity. I was so close to being able to cut his heart. A Class 9 martial warrior is indeed powerful. Lu Ming sighed in his heart, thinking that it was a pity. With Lu Ming's current combat strength, killing a Class 8 martial warrior wasn't a problem. However, facing a Class 9 martial warrior, it wasn't a problem for him to fight. However, it was very difficult to kill them. Lu Ming, you dare to hurt me? I will tear you into pieces. The young man who was injured by Lu Ming broke out in a cold sweat. He had a lingering fear and screamed hysterically. Together with the other person, he dashed toward Lu Ming. Then let's fight. Chapter 32. In an instant the 3 of them collided. Ding ding. The 3 sword lights continued to clash in the air, emitting dense sounds and sparks. The 2 youths from the Duanmu family were cultivating inferior-grade yellow-level swordplay. They had already reached the 3rd level of mastery and were far from Lu Ming's swordplay. However, their cultivation was 3 levels higher than Lu Ming's. When the 2 of them joined forces, Lu Ming was slightly at a disadvantage. Kill the injured one first. Lu Ming's eyes were like lightning as he continuously attacked the injured youth with the flowing light sword technique. How can he be so strong? He's only a 6th-stage martial warrior. How can he be so strong? No, we can't let him live. We must kill him. The 2 youths from the Duanmu family were shocked. Lu Ming's combat strength was beyond their imagination. Brr, brr. 2 beastly roars were heard. The 2 youths from the Duanmu family emitted a blood-red light from their backs. Then 2 black panthers appeared. There were 3 red chakras on the 2 black panthers. Obviously both of them had rank 3 bloodline. Then the 2 black panthers rushed into the 2 youths' bodies. Suddenly their bodies emitted a layer of black light and their auras surged. This was bloodline eruption. With the activation of their bloodline, their speed was raised by 30%. Bloodlines were biased. Some bloodlines were biased towards defense, some towards attack, and some towards speed. When a bloodline eruption occurred, the attribute it was biased towards would be increased. Generally speaking, a 1st-level bloodline eruption could increase one's attributes by 10%. A 2nd-level bloodline eruption could increase one's attributes by 20%. A 9th-level bloodline eruption could increase one's attributes by 90%, which was almost double. The 2 youths' bloodlines were biased towards speed. Therefore, when they erupted, their speed increased by 30%. No matter which attribute increased, it meant an increase in combat strength. Of course, some high-grade bloodlines might be very powerful in several attributes. Then they could increase several attributes at the same time. When several attributes increased at the same time, the increase in combat strength would be even more terrifying. After the bloodline eruption, the two youths' combat strength increased by a level and began to suppress Lu Ming. It's a pity that my bloodline hasn't grown yet. I can't erupt with power. This is my weakness. Lu Ming pondered and did his best to fight the two of them. Swoosh. Right at this moment, the sound of something tearing through the air rang out again. Another person had arrived. Haha, Lu Ming die. It was Wei Ziming and Wei Ziyu. Whoosh. Before Wei Ziyu arrived, he slashed out with his sword and a green sword chi burst forth. The sword chi left his body and was incomparably sharp. It directly slashed at Lu Ming's vital points. Danger. In an instant, Lu Ming felt goosebumps all over his body as a strong sense of danger enveloped him. The sword chi of a martial master was not something he could withstand right now. However, when he wanted to dodge, he was blocked by two young men from the Duanmu family. Whoosh. At this moment, in another direction, there was a sharp sound of air being torn apart. Another beam of sword chi slashed towards Lu Ming. There was actually another martial master who wanted to kill Lu Ming. Two martial masters joined forces and two young men in the martial warrior 9th rank to stop Lu Ming. This was a sure kill. Lu Ming was instantly in a desperate situation. Enter the Temple of Paragon. Since he couldn't withstand it, he could only enter the Temple of Paragon to hide. Although this might expose the Temple of Paragon, it was better than being killed. However, Lu Ming's expression immediately changed. He realized that he couldn't enter the Temple of Paragon. The Temple of Paragon didn't respond. Can't I enter the Temple of Paragon in the middle of a battle? Am I going to die here? No, I can't die. Lu Ming shouted in his heart. At this moment he was extremely focused and his blood was boiling. He wanted to find a way out of this hopeless situation. Suddenly, a strong itch came from Lu Ming's spine. A beam of red light shot out from his spine. At the same time, a strange energy flowed from his spine into Lu Ming's body. This is the power of the bloodline. My bloodline has finally fully grown. Bloodline eruption. Without much time to think, Lu Ming's bloodline erupted and a layer of black light spread out from his body. Whoosh, whoosh. At this moment, two beams of sword chi slashed Lu Ming's body. The moment the sword chi slashed, two sharp beams of energy rushed into Lu Ming's body. A sharp pain came and Lu Ming spat out a mouthful of blood. The power of the sword chi seems to have been reduced by half. In an instant, Lu Ming felt that the power of the sword chi had been reduced by half. If it had been at full power, Lu Ming definitely wouldn't have been able to withstand it. Is it because of my bloodline? A thought flashed through his mind. However, there was no time to think. Lu Ming took a step forward and rushed towards the injured Duanmu clan youth like the wind. How could the Duanmu clan youth have expected that Lu Ming would still be alive after being hit by the sword chi of two martial masters? It was already too late for him to defend himself. Puchi. The sword chi flashed and slashed the youth's throat. Blood splattered everywhere. Lu Ming's figure flashed past and then he used the dragon snake steps and ran forward. Lu Ming, you dare kill a disciple of my Duanmu clan. You deserve to die. A furious roar sounded out. Lu Ming took a quick glance and saw the person who roared. This person was the other martial master who had attacked. There was a green wood embroidered on his sleeve. He was obviously a disciple of the Duanmu clan. Duanmu clan, I Lu Ming swear that sooner or later I will uproot you. The killing intent in Lu Ming's heart was extremely strong. He forcefully suppressed the injuries in his body and ran forward. Chase. Behind him, Wei Ziyu and the martial master from the Duanmu clan quickly chased after Lu Ming. However, Lu Ming's dragon snake steps had already reached the 5th level. He could traverse 15 meters with each step, which was faster than a rank 1 martial master. Wei Ziyu and the martial master could not catch up with Lu Ming. Half an hour later, Lu Ming had completely left the two of them in the dust. Then Lu Ming found a cave and rushed in. Huff huff. Lu Ming sat in the cave, panting heavily. He could feel waves of pain in his body. Although he had blocked the sword chi of the two martial masters, he was still injured. Let's see if I can enter the Temple of Paragon. With a thought, Lu Ming disappeared and reappeared in the Temple of Paragon. Can't I enter the Temple of Paragon when I'm in a battle or in danger? Why is that? Lu Ming was puzzled and speechless. It seemed that it would be impossible to rely on the Temple of Paragon to avoid danger in the future. He had to rely on himself. Let's heal first. Lu Ming sat cross-legged and circulated the true dragon fighting art to heal his injuries. 3 days later, Lu Ming's injuries were completely healed. Bus. Lu Ming's consciousness sank into his spine. A blood-red light shone and a finger-sized black worm appeared in the light. The worm was black and shiny as if it was made of black jade. It had no hands or legs. Is this my bloodline? But why doesn't it have a single chakra? Chapter 33. Bloodlines were divided into 9 levels, and each level had a corresponding chakra. Level 1 bloodline, 1 blood chakra. Level 2 bloodline, 2 blood chakras. And so on. However, Lu Ming's bloodline did not have a single chakra. Could it be a level 0 bloodline? But he had never heard of a level 0 bloodline. Moreover, Lu Ming had tested it before. The speed at which his bloodline absorbed the spiritual chi of heaven and earth was comparable to a level 4 bloodline. Also, when I activated my bloodline power, it blocked 50% of the sword chi. Is that a special effect of my bloodline? Lu Ming pondered and there was excitement in his eyes. If it could really block 50% of the enemy's attack, it would be a terrifying ability. Lu Ming could not wait to give it a try. Lu Ming left the Temple of Paragon and searched for demonic beasts in the forest. Soon he found a demonic beast. It was a Class 7 LV-1 demonic beast. It could spit out fireballs to attack. When the flame wolf found Lu Ming, it roared and opened its mouth. A fireball condensed and shot toward Lu Ming. Let's try the power of bloodline power. With a thought, a force flowed from his spine into his body. Lu Ming's body shone with a layer of black light. The black light exuded a strong devouring power. Lu Ming did not dodge and allowed the fireball to hit him. In an instant, Lu Ming could clearly feel that the power of the fireball was being devoured by the black light on his body. In the end, only half of its power was left. Lu Ming took a step back, avoiding the fireball that had half of its power left. It turns out that the external attack was not blocked but devoured. Half of the attack power was devoured. There was shock in Lu Ming's eyes. At this moment, the bloodline power in Lu Ming's body disappeared without a trace. It can't be. How did it disappear so quickly? It only took a breath? Lu Ming was speechless. At this moment, the flame wolf spat out another fireball. But when Lu Ming wanted to activate his bloodline power again, he found that it could not. Lu Ming knew that it was because the bloodline power had been exhausted and needed time to recover. But wasn't this a little too short? Lu Ming knew that generally martial artists in the martial soldier realm would have a bloodline outburst for about a minute. After a minute or so, the bloodline power would be exhausted and they would have to wait for recovery. As for the martial master realm, the power of one's bloodline would become stronger and one would be able to unleash it for about 2 minutes. In the future, as one's cultivation increased, the duration of one's bloodline would also increase. But now, Lu Ming's bloodline power eruption could only lasted for a second. Normally, one breath was 2 seconds, which was 30 times more than other people's time. It seemed that the ability to block 50% of the attack was powerful and miraculous, but it could only be used at critical moments. Also, what was the highest level could be? There was a limit to everything. Lu Ming did not believe that the bloodline of an expert who was much more powerful than him could withstand it. Lu Ming had to find out for himself. In any case, Lu Ming was very satisfied. This ability could definitely be used as a trump card at a critical moment. Bang! He used the dragon snake steps to avoid the flame wolf's attack and then attacked the flame wolf. Puchi! The sword pierced through the flame wolf's heart. The flame wolf struggled a few times before it stopped breathing. I wonder how long it will take for the bloodline power to fully recover? Lu Ming thought, and the black bug bloodline power condensed. Lu Ming wanted to continue observing. At this moment, a sudden change occurred. The black bug bloodline power suddenly opened its mouth at the flame wolf's corpse and a powerful suction force was produced. Then, 9 drops of bright red blood essence flew out from the flame wolf's wound and were swallowed by the black bug bloodline power. In the next moment, a powerful energy gushed out from Lu Ming's spine. This energy fused with Lu Ming's true chi, causing Lu Ming's cultivation to soar from the early stage of the 6th level of the martial warrior to the peak of the early stage of the 6th level of the martial warrior. Then a pale red chakra appeared on the black bug bloodline power's body. In Lu Ming's eyes it was so dazzling. Lu Ming was stunned. It took him a long time to react. My bloodline can actually devour the blood essence of a monster and transform it into true chi? And my bloodline can actually level up? Lu Ming muttered to himself. His eyes were getting brighter and brighter and his heart was ecstatic. It was already heaven-defying to be able to devour blood essence and transform it into true chi. But to be able to level up was simply unheard of. As everyone knew, the level of bloodline was fixed. Unless there were special circumstances, it was generally impossible to level up. But his bloodline could actually level up, which was simply beyond common sense. Just now, Lu Ming could clearly feel that the blood essence he devoured from the fire wolf was divided into two. Half was transformed into true qi, and the other half was absorbed by the bloodline itself. This was why both his true qi and bloodline were upgraded. In the future, as long as he continued to devour the blood essence of monsters, wouldn't his bloodline level continue to improve? It was not impossible to level up to the 5th level, 6th level, 8th level, 9th level, or even beyond the 9th level. Lu Yao's 5th level bloodline was nothing. Ah! Lu Ming laughed heartily. Let's go find monsters. Lu Ming could not wait to look for demonic beasts and experiment with them. Not long after, Lu Ming discovered another level 8 level 1 demonic beast. This demonic beast actually had a 2-point iron plate on it. Lu Ming killed it and put away the iron plate. Then he activated his bloodline and sucked out 9 drops of blood essence from the monster. Blood essence was the blood essence of living creatures and contained a huge amount of energy. Legend has it that whether it was a monster or a human, there were only 9 drops of blood essence in their body. After the 9 drops of blood essence were devoured by the black worm bloodline, they were also divided into 2, and part of them was transformed into Lu Ming's true qi. Suddenly, Lu Ming's cultivation broke through and reached the middle of the 6th level martial warrior. The blood-red chakra on the bloodline, although it did not level up, its color became more vivid. The blood essence of a Class 8 LV1 monster was indeed more effective than that of a Class 7 LV1 monster. Let's call it the spirit-devouring bug from now on. Duanmu family, you wait for me. Continue. Lu Ming named the black worm bloodline spirit-devouring bug. After that, Lu Ming hunted monsters in the secluded Night Mountain range and devoured their blood essence. Lu Ming's cultivation increased crazily. More than a day later, Lu Ming's cultivation had risen to the 7th level martial warrior. 3 days later, Lu Ming's cultivation broke through again, reaching the peak of the 8th level martial warrior. At this time his bloodline really did level up again. The 2nd chakra was born, and it was promoted to the 2nd level bloodline. After 3 days of continuous hunting of demonic beasts, Lu Ming finally figured out a part of the mysteries of his bloodline. First of all, there was a limit to the devouring of 50% of the attack power when his bloodline erupted. He found that it would only work on monsters that were 5 levels higher than him. It would be useless if it was more than 5 levels higher. For example, Lu Ming was a Class 1 martial warrior. It would only work on monsters below the 6th level martial warrior. Once he encountered a monster above the 7th level martial warrior, it would have no effect at all. The time of the bloodline eruption was a breath at first. After the eruption, it would take 3 hours before the eruption could continue. But with the promotion of the bloodline, these changes occurred. Every time the bloodline was promoted, the time of the bloodline eruption would increase by 1 breath. When Lu Ming was promoted to the 2nd level bloodline, the time of his bloodline eruption had increased to 3 breaths. Correspondingly, the time to restore the power of his bloodline had also decreased. Chapter 34. Lu Ming was walking through the forest when his expression suddenly changed and he muttered, "They're really haunting me. However, they've come at the right time." Swish, swish. At this moment, the sound of something breaking through the air could be heard. In the next moment, figures appeared in front of Lu Ming, behind him, and to his left. In front of him was Wei Ziyou and Wei Ziming. Behind him were 4 people from the Duanmu family. Other than the young martial master, there were 3 other youths. On the left was a young man in embroidered clothes. His aura was extremely powerful and he was also a martial master. When the 3 groups of people saw Lu Ming, they spread out in a circle and surrounded Lu Ming. 3 of them were martial masters of the 1st layer and 3 were martial warriors of the 9th layer. As for Wei Ziming, he could be ignored. "Lu Ming, let's see where you can run to this time." Wei Ziming stared viciously at Lu Ming and said. Lu Ming smiled and casually glanced at Wei Ziming and said, "You trash, if you have the ability, come and fight me yourself." "Lu Ming, you're going to be a dead man soon." "I won't bother with a dead man," Wei Ziming said viciously. "Lu Ming, you actually dared to kill a disciple of my Duanmu family. You deserve to die 10,000 times." The young martial master from the Duanmu family coldly shouted. "I deserve to die 10,000 times? Your Duanmu family wanted to kill me first. According to what you're saying, I can only be killed and can't fight back?" Lu Ming said. "That's right. If my Duanmu family wants to kill you, you can only stand there and wait for death. How can your cheap life be compared to the lives of my Duanmu family disciples?" The young man from the Duanmu family coldly shouted. He was overbearing, confident, and unreasonable. "Ah!" Lu Ming chuckled. He didn't want to say anything to such a person. Soon after, he shifted his gaze to the young man in embroidered clothes and said, "What about you? I don't think I know you? Are you also from the Duanmu family? Ah, Lu Ming, since you're going to die, I'll let you know why. Senior brother Ning Feng asked me to come. You're really bold. You've just entered the sect and you dare to offend senior brother Ning Feng. Are you tired of living? The young man in embroidered clothes faintly. Alright, don't talk nonsense with him. Let's kill him. I don't have time to talk nonsense. The young man from the Duanmu family, Duanmu Fei, said coldly. As soon as he finished his words, his figure pounced toward Lu Ming like a gust of wind. Green sword aura cut through the air, emitting a sharp whistling sound. Wei Ziyou and the youth in embroidered clothes did not make a move. In their opinion, it was enough to kill Lu Ming. Just as Duanmu Fei's sword aura was about to slash Lu Ming stomped heavily on the ground and unleashed the dragon snake steps. He dodged the sword aura and his figure darted out at lightning speed. His target was a 9th-layer martial warrior from the Duanmu clan. Clang. His sword rang and a sword light flashed. With his current cultivation of martial realm, even if the young martial master was on full alert, he could not avoid Lu Ming's sword light. Puchi. The long sword pierced the young martial master's heart. One hit, one kill. Devour. With a thought, Lu Ming's palm erupted with a powerful suction force. 9 drops of blood essence were sucked out of the young martial master's wound. They flowed along Lu Ming's arm and were devoured by the spirit-devouring bug. In the past few days, Lu Ming had figured out a way to use the spirit-devouring bug's bloodline. He could use the devouring power on his hands to silently devour the blood essence of others. Ah, Lu Ming, you're courting death. Duanmu Fei roared furiously. His figure flashed and he charged at Lu Ming. Lu Ming's mouth revealed a cold smile. He did not want to meet Duanmu Fei head-on. Using the dragon snake steps, he charged at another young martial warrior. At the same time, the spirit-devouring bug's bloodline continued to refine the blood essence and a stream of energy poured into Lu Ming's body. The energy contained in the blood essence of a martial warrior was huge, which allowed Lu Ming's cultivation to quickly improve. His cultivation, which was already at the peak of martial realm, was constantly approaching the 9th level. Swish. Sword light flashed. Although the young martial master tried his best to retreat, his speed was no match for Lu Ming's. He was killed in an instant. At the same time, the blood essence was also absorbed by Lu Ming. Crush. True Chi surged. The blood essence of 2 9th-level martial warriors finally allowed Lu Ming to break through the shackles. His cultivation reached the 9th-level martial warrior in one fell swoop. Damn it, what are you two waiting for? Let's attack together and kill Lu Ming. Duanmu Fei roared. In the past few days, 3 9th-level martial warrior youths of the Duanmu family had died in the hands of Lu Ming. Even in the Duanmu family, a 9th-level martial warrior under the age of 18 could be regarded as an elite. Now that 3 of them had died at once, he didn't know how to explain it to the elders of the Duanmu family. Therefore he hated Lu Ming to the extreme. Kill? Kill. Wei Ziyou and the young man in brocade roared and also rushed towards Lu Ming. Lu Ming killed 2 9th-level martial warriors in an instant. His strength was beyond their expectations. At this time they didn't care about their face and directly joined forces. Duanmu Fei and Wei Ziyou slashed out a sword chi, while the young man in brocade robe slashed out a golden palm force. The 3 joined forces and with a harsh whistling sound, they rushed towards Lu Ming. Haha, come on, let me see how strong the martial master realm is. Lu Ming laughed. His cultivation had broken through to the 9th-level martial warrior, which greatly increased his confidence. With a twist of his body, Lu Ming rushed towards Duanmu Fei, ignoring the attacks of Wei Ziyou and the young man in brocade robe. Die. Wei Ziyou and Duanmu Fei's eyes revealed a sinister killing intent. Bloodline eruption. At this time, Lu Ming's bloodline erupted and a layer of black light flashed. At this time, the attacks of Wei Ziyou and the other 2 landed on Lu Ming's body. The scene of Lu Ming being killed didn't happen as expected. Lu Ming's body only swayed, but the long sword in his hand didn't stop. Like a cold bolt of lightning, it burst forth and pierced towards Duanmu Fei's heart. Duanmu Fei never dreamed that Lu Ming would not only survive the joint attack of the 3, but also counterattack. It was too late for him to dodge. With a poochie sound, his chest was pierced by Lu Ming. He felt his vision darken and fell heavily to the ground. Duanmu Fei dead. 2 breaths left. Lu Ming's mind whirled as he slashed his long sword towards the young man in brocade robe. Die. Seeing Duanmu Fei being killed, the young man in brocade robe was scared out of his wits. At this time he sent out 2 palm strikes. However, Lu Ming didn't care, allowing the palm strikes to land on his body. The long sword in his hand didn't stop as it slashed through the young man's throat. Blood splattered everywhere as the young man's throat was slashed. He desperately clutched his throat with both hands, his eyes wide open, filled with unwillingness, pleading, and hatred. "Retreat, quickly retreat." On the other side, Wei Zio screamed in horror. Lu Ming killing 2 martial masters in a row had already scared him out of his wits. He frantically fled. "Don't you think it's too late to leave now?" Chapter 35. Lu Ming used the dragon snake steps, covering 50 feet in a single step. Wei Zio could not escape at all. In just 10 breaths, Lu Ming caught up to Wei Zio. "I'll fight you to the death." Wei Zio roared, activating his bloodline as he turned around to attack Lu Ming. He knew that no matter if he begged for mercy or threatened, it would be useless. From Lu Ming's previous attack, it could be seen that he was ruthless, decisive, and determined. Even the genius disciples of the Duanmu family were killed without hesitation. He was simply lawless. Therefore he was not afraid of the Wei family at all. Clang, clang. Their swords collided as the two engaged in a fierce battle. At this point, Lu Ming's bloodline activation had long passed. However, Lu Ming relied on the true dragon battle art and the 4th level of the flowing light sword art to completely suppress Wei Zio. Wei Zio's sword art was only at the 4th level of a low-grade yellow rank sword art. Their swords clashed as they exchanged more than 10 moves. Lu Ming's sword art became faster and faster. Finally, Lu Ming's sword pierced Wei Zio's heart. In a head-on battle, Wei Zio was defeated. Defeat meant death. Following which, Lu Ming looked in a direction and sneered as he chased after Wei Zio. At this point, Wei Ziming was running for his life, wishing that he had 2 more legs. How can he be so strong? How can he be so strong? Even a martial master was killed by him. Second brother is most likely no match for him. I must run out and ask father to send experts to kill this Lu Ming. As Wei Ziming ran, he let out a low growl. "You're still thinking of killing me at this point?" Suddenly, a voice sounded in Wei Ziming's ears. "Ah!" Wei Ziming screamed in fright. Turning his head, he saw Lu Ming looking at him with a cold smile. A wave of cold air rushed from Wei Ziming's tailbone to the top of his head. "Lu Ming, spare my life. I beg you to spare me." Wei Ziming did not dare to run anymore. He immediately stopped and knelt down with a plop, begging loudly. This made Lu Ming slightly stunned. This Wei Ziming was actually a spineless person, completely different from Wei Zio. "I've already killed Wei Ziyu, do you think I'll let you go?" Lu Ming smiled faintly. "Lu Ming, no, brother Ming, don't worry, I won't tell anyone about what happened today. Moreover, you killed Wei Zio. You killed him well. His talent is higher than mine, and he has always been suppressing me. I have long wanted him dead. Once he dies, there will be no one to compete with me for the position of Flame City Lord." Wei Ziming cried out with tears and snot running down his face. However, he was roaring in his heart. As long as he didn't die today, he would definitely make Lu Ming pay 10 times, 100 times more. "If I don't kill you, should I wait for your revenge? Do you think I'm that stupid?" Lu Ming smiled faintly. "No," Wei Ziming cried out. He wanted to get up and run away, but a sword light flashed and Wei Ziming's head flew far away. Unfortunately, one of them still escaped. Lu Ming whispered. There was only one young man left in the Duanmu family who was at Martial Warrior LV9. He was at Martial Warrior LV9 and was running with all his strength. Now that so much time had passed, it was impossible to catch up. Suddenly, Lu Ming's body shook and he spat out a mouthful of blood. The attack of a martial mentor is really sharp. Lu Ming sighed. Just now, he had activated his bloodline and forcefully withstood the attacks of Duanmu Fei and the other two. Although 50% of the attack power had been reduced, and he had relied on the protective chi of a 9th layer martial warrior to resist part of the attack, he was still injured. However, this injury was worth it in exchange for the lives of 3 martial mentor experts. In terms of combat strength, even if Lu Ming had the bloodline of the spirit-devouring bug, he might not be a match for the 3 of them. Just now, Lu Ming had used the special characteristics of the spirit-devouring bug bloodline to catch them off guard and kill them in one fell swoop. Duanmu Fei and the young man in embroidered clothes did not even use their bloodline. Wiping the blood from the corner of his mouth, Lu Ming returned to the battlefield and devoured all the essence blood of Wei Zio, Duanmu Fei, and the young man in embroidered clothes. Then he left and found a secluded place to refine the essence blood. The essence blood of 3 martial mentor experts was enormous. Even if only half of the energy was converted into genuine qi, Lu Ming's cultivation soared. At the same time, his injuries were also recovering rapidly. After refining all the essence blood of the three martial masters, a light red chakra appeared on the two scarlet chakras of the spirit-swallowing bug bloodline. Third level bloodline. Lu Ming's bloodline had been upgraded to the third level. At the same time, Lu Ming's cultivation had reached the peak of the 9th level of the martial warrior realm. He was only a little bit away from breaking through to the martial mentor realm. But it was this little bit that blocked Lu Ming's path. Lu Ming frowned. I've improved too fast recently. My genuine qi is not pure enough and my foundation is not stable. No wonder I can't break through. The more essence blood he devoured, the more drawbacks appeared. After all, he did not cultivate step by step. His foundation was not stable and his genuine qi was impure. Otherwise, with the essence blood of three martial mentor experts, he could break through to the martial mentor realm. I'm going to stop devouring essence blood and take some time to consolidate my cultivation. Lu Ming believed that as long as he consolidated his genuine qi for a period of time, he would be able to break through to the martial mentor realm. Next, Lu Ming moved to another place. Instead of continuing to hunt demonic beasts, he focused on cultivating the true dragon skill and various martial techniques. This cultivation lasted for 9 days. After 9 days of continuous bitter cultivation, Lu Ming's genuine qi was no longer impure. It was once again refined and pure, and his foundation was stable. When the conditions were right, Lu Ming's cultivation level broke through and he reached the martial master realm. Whoosh! Lu Ming slashed out with his sword. A black sword qi burst out and cut a tree as thick as a person's waist in half. In the martial mentor realm, one could release genuine qi and form sword qi, saber qi, fist aura, etc. It was very powerful. My genuine qi is several times stronger. If I were to fight with Wei Ziyou or Duan Mu Fei, who are in the first layer of the martial mentor realm, I would be able to kill them in one move. Lu Ming's eyes were incomparably bright. Let's try the dragon snake steps. During this period of time, his other martial techniques did not improve. However, the dragon snake steps broke through again and reached the 6th level of the martial technique, man and martial arts as one. This was the highest level of a martial technique. Bang! His genuine qi burst out and his muscles trembled. Lu Ming's figure rushed out like the wind. The fallen leaves on the mountain were swept up by his body and fluttered wildly. His figure was already 70 feet away. That's right, 70 feet. Originally, when one cultivated to man and martial arts as one step was 60 feet. However, because his cultivation had broken through to the martial mentor realm, one step was 70 feet. The higher one's cultivation, the more powerful the same martial technique would be. There are still 4 days until the end of the examination. I have to put in all my effort to find the iron plate. Chapter 36. A while ago, Lu Ming had hunted at least dozens of level 1 6th level demon beasts and above, and some of them had iron medallions on them. Now, Lu Ming had 5 iron medallions with 2 points and 3 iron medallions with 1 point, which added up to 13 points. Also, from Wei Ziyou and the others, he had also obtained some iron medallions with 12 points. A total of 25 points. This score was enough to be promoted to a bronze disciple. However, Lu Ming felt that it was far from enough. He had a wild wish in his heart, which was to be first place. First place would be rewarded with spirit condensation fruit. Although his current score was definitely far from enough, he would do his best. Lu Ming used the dragon snake steps and ran through the forest. He directly skipped over ordinary demon beasts and searched for demon beasts with iron medallions. A day passed. When night fell, Lu Ming found another piece of 1 point, 1 piece of 2 points. Adding them all up, Lu Ming had a total of 28 points. Clang. At this moment, the sound of weapons clashing came from the front. There's someone over there. Lu Ming's expression changed. At the source of the sound, through the dense branches, he could vaguely see flames jumping about. Let's go take a look. Lu Ming's figure moved and he headed towards the bonfire. At this moment, there were indeed 4 people at the bonfire. These 4 people were actually Feng Wu, Yuan Chong, Zhou Su and Zhou Hao. At this moment, the situation was very unexpected. Zhou Hao and Zhou Su's faces were pale as they lay on the ground weakly. Feng Wu held onto his sword, but his body was also trembling non-stop. His face was also pale and his eyes were filled with anger. He glared at Yuan Chong and shouted, "Yuan Chong, you actually drugged the barbecue, why?" Yuan Chong held onto his sword, his face sinister, and sneered, "Why? Feng Wu, you bitch, I Yuan Chong have chased after you for 2 years, but why didn't you agree? A while ago you actually scolded me for that bastard Lu Ming. I've had enough. Now that you've been poisoned by my fragrant tendon weakening powder, let's see how you resist? Today I want you to become my woman, haha." Feng Wu's face became extremely ugly and she shouted, Yuan Chong, you dare? When the trial is over, big sister Mulin's won't let you off. Mulin's, haha. That slut will sooner or later become the plaything of the Duanmu clan. Also, do you think that you'll be able to return alive? Yuan Chong sneered. You want to kill us? Feng Wu's expression changed. At this moment, she was staggering and couldn't even stand properly. Feng Wu, after I take care of you, I will personally deal with you. This way you will belong to me alone. Yuan Chong smiled. You pervert. Feng Wu's face was incomparably pale, his body trembled and he fell limply to the ground. Brother Yuan, don't kill me. Feng Wu, feel free to play. I guarantee that I won't say a single word about what happened today. Zhou Hao shouted. Me too, brother Yuan. If I reveal a single word, I'll die a horrible death. Zhou Su also shouted. Unfortunately, I only believe that the dead will not leak the news. Yuan Chong revealed a sinister smile and walked towards Zhou Hao and Zhou Su. No, spare me. The two of them cried out in fear. Xia, xia. With a flash of sword light, Yuan Chong's sword chi cut off their throats. Now only the two of us are left. Yuan Chong turned and walked towards Feng Wu. You. Don't. Feng Wu was so scared that her face turned pale. She wanted to move back, but after being hit by the fragrant soft tendon powder, the true chi had dissipated and her entire body was powerless. Seeing Feng Wu in such a state, Yuan Chong felt extremely refreshed. He walked to Feng Wu's side and extended his hand to grab him. Slash. A large piece of the clothes on Feng Wu's chest was torn apart, revealing a large area of snow-white skin. It was like jade with a sparkling luster. There was even more than half of his chest that was exposed, emitting an astonishing enticement. Yuan Chong's eyes immediately turned red, flickering with a scorching light as he stared fixedly at Feng Wu's chest. Bastard, I want you to die a horrible death. Feng Wu let out a cry of despair. At this time, Feng Wu was truly in despair. She had originally thought that Yuan Chong was a friend, but she never thought that Yuan Chong would actually be such a beast. She was going to die here in her prime, and before she died she was going to be defiled. At this moment she really wanted to die. This place is rather remote. Do you think anyone will come to save you? Yuan Chong sneered and was about to pounce towards Feng Wu. Sorry to disturb you. At this moment a voice sounded out. The moment this voice came out, Yuan Chong's expression changed drastically as he anxiously turned around. Feng Wu was ecstatic, revealing a look of hope. The two of them looked towards the source of the voice. Lu Ming. It's you. The two of them exclaimed at the same time. Lu Ming crossed his arms and walked over step by step. With a faint smile on his face, he looked at Yuan Chong and said, What is it? Are you disappointed to see that I didn't die? Indeed, I am a little disappointed. You were actually able to escape from the hands of the Duanmu clan in Weizhou, but you are too stupid. Since you've escaped, you should find a corner and hide like a dog. Wait for the trial to end and now you're here? What? You want to be a hero saving a beauty with just trash like you? Ah. Yuan Chong laughed out loud, his eyes flashing with ridicule and killing intent. Lu Ming, why are you here? Hurry up and leave, you're not a match for Yuan Chong. Feng Wu originally thought that there was hope when he saw that someone had come, but when he saw that it was Lu Ming, he turned into disappointment and despair and shouted loudly. Senior Sister Feng Wu, I am a person who clearly distinguishes between gratitude and grudges. You helped me block Weizhou once before, so now of course I have to save you once. Lu Ming laughed. Save? Lu Ming, you piece of trash, what are you going to use to save me? Yuan Chong laughed. Of course it's my fist. Lu Ming's face turned cold as he threw a punch at Yuan Chong. You're courting death. Yuan Chong struck out with his palm towards Lu Ming. He wanted to cripple Lu Ming and make Feng Wu feel even more despair. That way he would be even more carefree. However, when his palm clashed with Lu Ming's fist, his expression changed. He felt an incomparably powerful and condensed innate chi surging from Lu Ming's fist. His innate chi was directly dispersed by Lu Ming's innate chi. A heart-wrenching pain surged from his arm. Yuan Chong cried out loudly and retreated 7 or 8 steps. Martial Master? Impossible? Lu Ming, why is your cultivation at the Martial Master realm? Yuan Chong cried out in disbelief. Martial Master? Seeing this scene, Feng Wu's eyes lit up. He was already in despair, but now he revealed a glimmer of hope. Yuan Chong, last time I said that I could defeat you in 2 months. Now it seems that I don't need it. Half a month is enough. Lu Ming laughed coldly. You want to defeat me? Don't even think about it. Go to hell. Yuan Chong roared, his eyes flashing with killing intent. He raised his sword and charged towards Lu Ming. Chapter 37. Whoosh. However, Lu Ming only casually swept out with his sword. The sword light flashed like lightning. Woof. This sword swept past Yuan Chang's wrist. Blood spurted out as Yuan Chang's meridians were severed. Ah! Yuan Chang howled as he retreated frantically. How could this be? It had only been a little over 10 days. How could this Lu Ming be so strong? What? No, I can't accept this. I can't die. I must escape and tell this news to the experts of the Duanmu clan. Let the Duanmu clan send experts to kill this Lu Ming. After that, I'll find an opportunity to get Fengwu. I still have a chance. Yuan Chang's mind was filled with all kinds of thoughts. You have no chance. As Lu Ming's voice rang out, a peerlessly sharp sword light directly pierced through Yuan Chang's heart. This sword strike had completely severed Yuan Chang's various thoughts. Lu Ming, you'll die a horrible death. Yuan Chang roared in anger, full of unwillingness. Lu Ming was too decisive, not giving him the slightest chance. It did not take long for Yuan Chang's life aura to disappear. Activating his devouring power, Lu Ming silently absorbed Yuan Chang's blood essence. At the side, Fengwu watched with his mouth agape. She was too shocked. More than 10 days ago, Lu Ming suddenly disappeared. She thought that Lu Ming had met with some mishap. Even after searching for a few days, they still couldn't find Lu Ming. Just now, Lu Ming's sudden appearance had shocked her. But then Lu Ming had displayed an overwhelming advantage and killed Yuan Chang. This caused her to open her small mouth, unable to close it for a long time. Could it be that Lu Ming had been hiding his strength all this time? This was the only possibility. Senior Sister Fengwu, are you all right? Lu Ming walked towards Fengwu, but when he got close, Lu Ming couldn't help but look towards Fengwu's chest. That large patch of snow-white skin, as well as that half of her exposed flesh, was simply too eye-catching. Lu Ming stared at him without blinking. So white. Lu Ming blurted out subconsciously. Lu Ming, you're shameless. So you are this kind of person? Look again? If you keep looking, I'll gouge your eyes out. Seeing Lu Ming's eyes and the two words so white, Fengwu's face immediately darkened as he shouted fiercely. How could this woman change her attitude faster than flipping a book? Lu Ming was speechless. He rubbed his nose, then turned his gaze, revealing a playful smile. He walked towards Fengwu and laughed. Hee, Senior Sister Fengwu, you are right, I am that kind of person. Now that Yuan Chang is dead, there are only the two of us left. Tell me, how should I treat you? As he said that, his eyes darted around Fengwu's well-developed body, especially on his chest, where they stayed for an even longer period of time. Junior brother Lu Ming, don't, if Big Sister Mullins finds out, she won't let you off, I beg you, on account of me helping you before. Please spare me. If you want a beauty after the trial is over, I will definitely help you find one. Seeing Lu Ming's expression, Fengwu was so scared that her face turned pale, and she started to scream. There was no longer any trace of the vicious expression from before. She was like a frightened little rabbit. Tears welled up in her eyes as she sighed inwardly. Why was her fate so bad? She had just escaped the wolf's claws and fallen into the tiger's mouth. Help me find a beauty? No, how can other beauties be as beautiful as you, Senior Sister Fengwu? Lu Ming stood by Fengwu's side and laughed lewdly. Then he extended an arm and hugged Fengwu's slender waist. Fengwu left behind a line of tears and closed his eyes in despair. She felt a strong arm wrapped around her waist, and a hot palm pressed against her abdomen, causing her heart to tremble. But after that there were no other movements. A whistling sound rang in his ears, and the night wind kept blowing on his face. Fengwu couldn't help but open his eyes, only to discover that Lu Ming was running wildly in the forest with her in his arms. Lu Ming glanced at Fengwu, smiled slightly and said, "The smell of blood there will soon attract other demonic beasts, we need to change places." However, Lu Ming's smile was clean, and did not have the slightest hint of lust. In an instant, Fengwu knew that Lu Ming was just teasing her. "Lu Ming, I'm not done with you." Fengwu gritted his teeth as he thought fiercely in his heart. Thinking back to his embarrassing state just now, Fengwu's face turned hot. With a beauty in his arms, his face was flushed red, and he looked as if he couldn't resist at all. In this deep forest, anyone would have their imagination run wild. Lu Ming's heart was also thumping wildly. He took a deep breath, calmed himself down and quickly ran. Very quickly they found a quiet valley 10 miles away. Lu Ming put Fengwu down, then took off his coat and draped it over Fengwu's body, blocking a large area of snow-white skin on her chest. Following that, Lu Ming sat cross-legged at the side, closed his eyes and meditated. Fengwu looked deeply at Lu Ming, and then channeled his energy to force out the fragrant soft tendon powder. When the sky was about to brighten, Feng Wu had already forced out all the poison from the fragrant soft tendon powder and recovered his power. At this moment, Lu Ming also opened his eyes. Lu Ming, why did you suddenly disappear? Feng Wu suddenly asked. It's still Yuan Chong. Immediately, Lu Ming told her about how Yuan Chong stopped him more than 10 days ago. Of course, he did not mention a single word about his bloodline. It really is that bastard Yuan Chong. He actually colluded with the people from the Duanmu family. Feng Wu gritted his teeth and said. All right, now that you've forced out the poison, I'll take my leave. Lu Ming said. Lu Ming, why don't we go together? Right now, some of the experts from the various academies have already gathered together. According to what I know, among this group of people from the Duanmu family, there is a top genius called Duanmuju. He is the strongest among the newcomers of the White Tiger Hall this year. There are many experts from the Duanmu family and the White Tiger Hall gathered around him. They are searching everywhere for the Iron Medallion, and their goal is to become the rookie king of this trial. If you were to meet them alone, I'm afraid it would be dangerous. Feng Wu stopped Lu Ming and explained. Duanmu family? Do you know where they are? Lu Ming's eyes flashed as he asked. I know, but what do you want to do? Of course I'm going to find them to get the Iron Medallion. Lu Ming's mouth revealed a cold smile and added in his heart, just treat it as collecting some interest first. You want to rob the Duanmu family? Isn't that too dangerous? Feng Wu's face changed. It's not like we're going to fight head-on, what are you afraid of? Lu Ming said. Alright then, let's go together. Feng Wu waved his fist, the ponytail behind his head swaying back and forth, his eyes revealing an excited light. This Feng Wu was not a law-abiding person either. Ah, then let's go together. Lu Ming laughed. Wait a moment. Feng Wu suddenly shouted, then turned and ran into the bushes. After a while, when Feng Wu walked out, he had already changed into a new set of clothes. Storage ring. Lu Ming's expression changed. Storage rings contained space and could store things. They were refined by powerful inscription masters and were extremely precious. Even the huge Lu family did not have a single one. Feng Wu was not simple. I'll return your clothes to you. Feng Wu returned Lu Ming's robe to Lu Ming. Chapter 38. 50 miles away on a dense tree, Lu Ming and Feng Wu were hiding in the branches. Not far from the tree, there were two young men eating barbecued meat. Let's hurry up and finish eating. Don't delay the Duanmu family's important matters. I know. This time, helping the Duanmu family capture the lightning leopard cub is definitely a great merit. Of course, this lightning leopard cub is said to be a gift to young Master Duanmu Lin. The two of them were new disciples of the White Tiger Hall. They chatted as they ate. Lightning leopard. When Lu Ming and Feng Wu heard this, they were both shocked. Lightning leopard was an extremely rare demon beast. It contained the power of lightning and was as fast as the wind. An adult lightning leopard was at least a level 4 demon beast, equivalent to a martial ancestor realm warrior. Especially Lu Ming, he was even more shocked, his eyes shining brightly. This was because the blood of the lightning leopard was one of the 3 most important materials for cultivating the second level of the true dragon art. One was the spirit condensation fruit, the other 2 were the blood of the lightning leopard and the blood smoke stone. Lu Ming was determined to obtain the blood of the lightning leopard. After the 2 youths from the White Tiger Hall finished eating, they stood up and headed in a certain direction. Let's follow them. Lu Ming said to Feng Wu. Feng Wu nodded and followed behind the 2 youths with Lu Ming. After a few miles, the 2 of them took out a handful of withered grass and lit it up. The withered grass emitted dense white smoke and spread into the forest. At the same time, the same white smoke was emitted from several other directions. Only the northern direction was left without white smoke. Swish. Not long after, a silver-white figure rushed out of the forest and hurriedly headed towards the north. It was really a lightning leopard. Lu Ming's eyes flashed. Obviously, the lightning leopard was afraid of the white smoke, so it ran in the direction where there was no white smoke. The lightning leopard is out. Let's chase it and chase it into that canyon. With a loud shout, figures rushed out from the forest and chased after the lightning leopard. The 2 youths also chased after it, Lu Ming and Feng Wu following closely behind. Not long after, a canyon appeared in front of them. He saw 4 figures standing guard in front of the canyon, while the lightning leopard and the others were nowhere to be seen. Clearly, the lightning leopard and the others had already entered the canyon. Let's go in. Lu Ming smiled faintly and headed straight for the entrance of the canyon. Hold it right there. The Duanmu clan is handling some matters here. All unrelated people scram. Amongst the 4 of them, there was only one disciple from the Duanmu family. When he saw Lu Ming and Feng Wu, he shouted coldly. Secluded Night Mountain Range isn't your Duanmu family's territory. Where do I want to go? What can you do about it? Lu Ming's lips curled into a cold smile as he strode toward the canyon. How dare you? Brat, are you deliberately looking for trouble? That disciple from the Duanmu family shouted and stared at Lu Ming carefully. There was a flash of pondering in his eyes. Then his eyes lit up and he shouted, I remember now. You are Lu Ming. Haha, there is a path to heaven but you don't want to take it. There is no door to hell but you choose to enter it. Unsheathing his sword, the disciple of the Duanmu clan directly pierced towards Lu Ming. However, with a flash of sword light, Lu Ming's sword was even faster. With a poochie sound, it pierced into the chest of the Duanmu clan. This disciple of the Duanmu clan was only at the 9th level of the martial warrior. How could he be a match for Lu Ming? You killed a disciple of the Duanmu clan. You're dead for sure. The other 3 people's faces were pale as they cried out in disbelief. These 3 people were not from the Duanmu clan. They were the other new disciples of the White Tiger Hall. Their cultivation was even lower. One of them was at the 8th level of the martial warrior realm, while the other 2 were at the 7th level of the martial warrior realm. Shwa shwa. At this moment, another sword light flashed and slashed across the throats of the 3 people. It was Feng Wu who had made his move. The 3 of them widened their eyes and fell to the ground, no longer breathing. Lu Ming looked at Feng Wu in surprise. He did not expect Feng Wu to be so decisive. Let's see if they have any iron medallions on them. Lu Ming searched the bodies of the 4 people, and at the same time, he quietly absorbed their blood essence. However, the blood essence of a martial warrior was of little help to Lu Ming. In the end, he found the iron medallions on the 4 of them. There were a total of 26 points and Feng Wu had 13 points each. After splitting up, the 2 of them continued to rush towards the canyon. On both sides of this canyon were smooth stone walls. It was over 1,000 meters tall and difficult for birds to cross. No wonder the Duanmu clan would drive the lightning leopard here. Once they reached this canyon, no matter how fast the lightning leopard was, it wouldn't be able to escape. After entering the canyon for about 1,000 meters, they reached the end of the canyon. At the end of the canyon, there was also a smooth stone wall. At this moment there were 5 figures surrounding a snow-white figure. It was a small leopard the size of a dog. It was obviously a cub. The fur on its body was as white as snow. On the white fur there were faint traces of lightning. This was the cub of the lightning leopard. At this moment the lightning leopard cub was covered in blood as it laid on the ground. Its pair of black eyes were filled with grief and helplessness as it stared at its surroundings. Be careful, just injure it. Capture it alive. This lightning leopard is of great use to young Master Lin. If it is raised by young Master Lin's side, he can extract its blood essence every month to cultivate. One of the youths said. Looking at his clothes, one could tell that he was a disciple of the Duanmu clan. In fact, among the 5 of them, he was the only one who was a disciple of the Duanmu clan. The other 4 were not. Brother Duanmu, don't worry. Since it's young Master Lin's business, it's my business. That's right. The others said one after another. Suddenly they heard movement. Turning their heads, they saw Lu Ming and Feng Wu. The faces of the 5 of them changed. You are Lu Ming? Why are you here? When the Duanmu clan disciple saw Lu Ming, he cried out in surprise. Why can't I be here? Lu Ming smiled faintly. Where are the people at the entrance of the canyon? What did you do to them? The Duanmu clan youth shouted. I killed them. Lu Ming said with a smile. What? Kill? You're courting death. Everyone, this person is going against my Duanmu clan. Kill him. The Duanmu clan youth roared. I'll kill him. A gray-robed youth flew out and punched towards Lu Ming's head. He wanted to smash Lu Ming's head into pieces with a single punch. The wind from the fist whistled and true energy burst forth. It was obvious that he was at the 1st level of the martial master realm. Bang! Lu Ming stomped heavily on the ground and his figure rushed out like the wind. Following that, a sword light flashed. With a poochie sound, a deep sword mark appeared on the young man's chest. His heart was instantly sliced into 2 by Lu Ming's sword chi. You. The young man only had time to spit out a single word before he breathed his last, killing a 1st-level martial master expert in one move. The other 4 people's faces changed. The Duanmu clan youth roared, attack, kill him together. Boom. Boom. Blood erupted from the 4 of them at the same time. Their bloodline erupted. Among them, the Duanmu clan youth had a 4th-level bloodline while the other 3 had 3rd-level bloodline. Chapter 39. The Duanmu clan was indeed powerful. They had actually gathered so many experts. One had to know that among this batch of new disciples, there were only about 100 people who had reached the martial master realm. The four of them unleashed their full strength and charged towards Lu Ming and Feng Wu. Jiao. With a bird cry, Feng Wu also unleashed her bloodline. Her bloodline was actually the 5th level bloodline, I Soul Bird. Among this batch of new disciples, the 5th level bloodline was definitely the top bloodline. Kill? Feng Wu shouted and charged towards the other party. Lu Ming's figure flashed as he also charged forward. Clang, clang. Immediately, the sound of weapons clashing and true chi exploding could be heard. The other party used one person to stall Feng Wu while the other three worked together to deal with Lu Ming. However, Lu Ming's aura was like a rainbow, his sword light was incomparably fast, and his true chi was unstoppable. In just a few moves, one of them was cut in half by Lu Ming's sword. In the midst of the bloody light, another sword pierced through the heart of another person. In front of Lu Ming, the 3 martial masters who were at the first level of the martial master realm were as weak as babies. They had no power to resist at all. In the end, only the Duanmu clan youth was left. Lu Ming, how could he be so strong? Didn't that old fellow Lu Yunxiong say that he was just a low-level martial warrior? That old fellow lied to us. The Duanmu clan youth roared in his heart. He no longer cared about the lightning leopard and ran away. However, in front of Lu Ming, how could he run away? He was directly pierced through by Lu Ming's sword from the back. At this moment, a miserable scream came from the other side. Another White Tiger Hall youth was killed by Feng Wu. A 5th-level bloodline had a fighting strength that surpassed a 3rd-level bloodline. But at this moment, Feng Wu's beautiful eyes flashed as she looked at Lu Ming in shock. 3 warriors of the same level are unable to resist him at all. Furthermore, he hasn't even unleashed his bloodline. It's truly shocking. No wonder Big Sister Mulans thinks so highly of him. Feng Wu pondered. At this moment, Lu Ming walked towards the lightning leopard. Wu, the lightning leopard was severely injured. It lay on the ground and stared at Lu Ming with a pair of black eyes filled with despair. This gaze caused Lu Ming's heart to skip a beat. He couldn't help but think back to the time when Lu Yao and Lu Yunxiong had robbed him of his bloodline. If this lightning leopard were to fall into the hands of the Duanmu clan, its fate would definitely be very miserable. Lu Ming, how do you plan to deal with this lightning leopard cub? I suggest you take it out. This lightning leopard cub is very precious outside. Feng Wu suggested. Lu Ming laughed. Senior Sister Feng Wu, do you have any healing medicine and empty jade bottles? There is. Feng Wu nodded, and with a wave of his hand, 2 jade bottles appeared out of thin air. One was empty, and the other was filled with healing medicine and muscle regeneration and blood-staunching powder. Many thanks, Senior Sister Feng. Lu Ming smiled, took the jade bottle and approached the lightning leopard. Brr. When the lightning leopard cub saw Lu Ming approaching, its white fur immediately stood up. It grinned and stared at Lu Ming fiercely. Kid, don't be nervous. I won't kill you and I won't take you away. I only want a little of your blood and I'll even help you heal. Lu Ming laughed, then moved his body and grabbed the lightning leopard cub's neck. The lightning leopard cub was already injured, and blood kept flowing out of its wounds. Lu Ming took the empty jade bottle and filled it with about half a bottle of lightning leopard's blood. Then he kept the jade bottle and poured the muscle regeneration and blood-staunching powder on the lightning leopard's wounds. The muscle regeneration and blood-staunching powder was a top-notch healing product. When it was applied to the lightning leopard's wounds, the lightning leopard cub quickly stopped bleeding. Kid, let's go. Find a place to hide and heal your wounds. Don't be discovered by others again. Lu Ming said as he patted the lightning leopard cub's head. Whoa. The lightning leopard cub whimpered as it looked at Lu Ming with its big black eyes, as though it was surprised that Lu Ming would let it go. At the side, Feng Wu was also a little surprised and said, Lu Ming, you really want to let it go? The value of a lightning leopard cub is not low. I still have to find the Duanmu clan to get the iron medallion. I don't have time to bring it along. Lu Ming laughed. Wu, the lightning leopard cub suddenly ran to Lu Ming's feet and rubbed its head against Lu Ming's feet. Then it ran to Feng Wu's feet and rubbed against Feng Wu's feet. What a spiritual demonic beast. What a cute demonic beasts. Feng Wu exclaimed in admiration as his eyes began to shine. Wu, the lightning leopard cub whimpered a few more times, looked deeply at Lu Ming, then turned and ran out of the canyon. Lu Ming laughed and then searched for the iron medallion on the bodies of the few people. While he was at it, he quietly absorbed all of their blood essence. The blood essence of 5 martial artists at the first level of the martial master was extremely strong. As expected of a genius of the martial master realm. Each of them has around 30 points. The iron medallion that was found made both Lu Ming and Feng Wu overjoyed. The 5 youths at the first level of the martial master had a total of 153 points. In the end, Feng Wu only wanted 50 points, and the other 83 points were all given to Lu Ming. After all, it was all thanks to Lu Ming this time. Otherwise, Feng Wu would definitely not be a match for the 5 of them at the first level of the martial master. Lu Ming was not courteous either. His goal was to get first place. Right now, Lu Ming already had a total of 124 points. Senior Sister Feng, wait for me for a moment. With that, Lu Ming sat cross-legged and began to refine the blood essence that he had just absorbed. The blood essence of the 5 first-level martial master was extremely large, and was constantly being converted into true qi. Lu Ming's cultivation was rapidly increasing. A moment later, Lu Ming's body trembled slightly. Second-level martial master. Lu Ming's eyes flashed. In addition to Yuan Chang's, he had devoured the blood essence of 6 martial artists at the first level of the martial master realm, as well as the blood essence of some other martial artists in the martial soldier realm. Lu Ming's cultivation had once again broken through. However, his bloodline was still at the 3rd level and did not advance. Senior Sister Feng, let's go. Lu Ming stood up and said. Feng Wu looked at Lu Ming curiously. Lu Ming's breakthrough was very secretive, so Feng Wu did not notice it. She was only curious as to why Lu Ming suddenly sat down cross-legged to cultivate, and after cultivating for a while, he stood up again. But she didn't ask. Everyone had their own secrets, didn't they? The 2 of them left the canyon and continued to run deeper into the secluded night mountain range. The main force of the Duanmu family was still deeper in. An hour later, the 2 of them stopped under a big tree because there was a pattern carved on it. It was a vermilion bird carved on a big tree. It was very lifelike. What does this mean? Lu Ming asked. In the past hour they had already seen this pattern 3 times. This is a unique symbol of our Vermilion Bird Courtyard. Someone is gathering the disciples of the Vermilion Bird Courtyard. Look, the direction the Vermilion Bird is pointing at is the direction of the gathering. So that's how it is. Lu Ming had just entered the Vermilion Bird Courtyard, so he did not know anything about this. Unlike the geniuses of the other big cities, he had already done research on the Mystic Essence Sword sect. I don't know what it is. Under normal circumstances, they wouldn't use this method to gather disciples. Shall we go take a look? Feng Wu was somewhat puzzled as he said. All right. Lu Ming nodded. Chapter 40. When Lu Ming and Feng Wu followed the symbol of the Vermilion Bird diagram for more than 20 miles, the sun had already set. In front of them, clusters of bonfires appeared, jumping in the night. Shwa, shwa. Suddenly, several figures appeared and blocked the 2's path. Who are you people? This is the gathering place of my Vermilion Bird Courtyard. Are you disciples of the Vermilion Bird Courtyard? One of them asked. That's right, we are indeed disciples of the Vermilion Bird Courtyard. My name is Feng Wu. Feng Wu said. Haha, so it's junior sister Feng Wu. Quickly invite her in. A laugh came from the bonfire in front of them. A young man walked over. This young man was tall and thin with long arms. His eyes flickered, giving off a dangerous feeling. Yin Kai, it's you. Seeing this young man, Feng Wu was slightly shocked. This person is Yin Kai? Lu Ming's eyes also flashed. Previously, when they had just started the trial, Lu Ming had asked Feng Wu for some information. Yin Kai was very famous. Amongst the newcomers of the Vermilion Bird Courtyard, he was known as the #1 expert. It was said that he had awakened a 5th-level bloodline and had already cultivated to the 4th level of the martial master realm at the age of 17. Yin Kai's gaze swept past Lu Ming's body, but he did not pay much attention to him. In the end, he stopped at Feng Wu and said, Junior sister Feng Wu, let's talk over there. Yin Kai brought Feng Wu and Lu Ming and walked towards one of the bonfires. In this place there were 5 bonfires lit and nearly 50 people gathered. They were all disciples of the Vermilion Bird Courtyard. Lu Ming and the others arrived at the bonfire. There were a total of 8 people. However, these 8 people all had extremely powerful auras. They were all experts of the martial master realm. There were even a few of them who had powerful auras that far surpassed ordinary 1st-level martial masteress. These people looked at Feng Wu and nodded their heads. As for Lu Ming, none of them knew him, nor had they heard of his name before, so they naturally ignored him. Senior brother Yin Kai, those Vermilion Bird diagrams were engraved by you, right? Feng Wu asked. That's right, I asked someone to engrave it. Junior sister Feng Wu, I presume you guys came here because you saw the Vermilion Bird diagrams. Yin Kai said with a smile. Feng Wu nodded and said, That's right, we did come here because we saw the Vermilion Bird diagram. We want to see what happened. Senior Marshal Brother Ian, why did you inscribe the vermilion bird portrait and gather all your fellow disciples? Junior Sister Feng, I'm sure you know that there's an iron token worth 500 points this time. Ian Kai's eyes flashed. 500 points iron plate? Could it be that you've already found an iron plate worth 500 points? Feng Wu asked in shock. Even Lu Ming was shocked. It could be said that every expert wanted to obtain a 500-point iron plate, because as long as they could obtain this iron plate, they would very likely obtain the first place in this competition. This iron plate with 500 points was of utmost importance. Not bad. Ian Kai nodded his head and said, not only did our Vermilion Bird Hall discover it, even the White Tiger Hall, Azure Dragon Hall and Black Tortoise Hall have discovered it. That's why I want to gather people. This time, this 500-point iron plate must not fall into the hands of the other 3 halls. Our Vermilion Bird Hall has not produced a newcomer king for 8 consecutive years. Senior Brother Ian, are you trying to get this iron plate with 500 points and become this year's newcomer king? Feng Wu's eyes flashed. Of course. At the side, a cold youth said, this year's Vermilion Bird Hall, other than Senior Brother Ian Kai, who else has the qualifications to become the newcomer king? Feng Wu curled his lips and asked, then do you know what kind of demon beast those 500 points are on? It's on a mutated black armored lizard. This black armored lizard is a 2nd level 9th level demon beast. If we were to fight it head-on, no one in our 4 great academies would be able to obtain this iron plate. Therefore, our 4 great academies have agreed that the black armored lizard likes to eat the silver-eyed rabbit. As long as we catch enough silver-eyed rabbit and put the bewitching powder into their bodies, we will be able to make the mutated black armored lizard fall into a deep sleep. At that time, the 4 great academies will rely on their own abilities to fight for the 500-point iron plate. How is it, Junior Sister Feng? Stay and lend me a hand. Ian Kai said. If I lend you a hand, how do you calculate the remuneration? Lu Ming suddenly asked. Reward? What reward? Ian Kai said with a frown. Since we're helping you, of course we need a reward. How about this? We'll help you obtain the 500-point iron plate and obtain the position of newcomer king. However, how about you give us the spirit condensing fruit for first place as a reward? Lu Ming said. Lu Ming's main goal was the spirit condensing fruit. As long as he could obtain the spirit condensing fruit, what harm was there in helping Ian Kai? You want the spirit condensing fruit? Ian Kai's face darkened. Brat, you don't know how to appreciate favors. Helping Senior Brother Ian become the newcomer king is the shared honor of our Vermilion Bird Hall. As long as you're a disciple of the Vermilion Bird Hall, you should unconditionally help. How laughable, the cold youth said gloomily. This person's name was Yuan Lang, and he was a very famous genius among the newcomers of the Vermilion Bird Hall. His cultivation had reached the 3rd level of the Martial Master realm. Lu Ming sneered. He finally knew why Ian Kai had carved the Vermilion Bird diagram and gathered the disciples of the Vermilion Bird Hall. He wanted others to work for him and help him obtain the position of newcomer king. However, Lu Ming did not have the habit of helping others for free. Furthermore, was Lu Ming familiar with them? Shared honor of the Vermilion Bird Hall? You really make it sound so dignified. Lu Ming looked at Yuan Lang with a mocking smile and said, since it's for the honor of the Vermilion Bird Hall, sure. When you obtain the 500-point iron plate, give it to me and let me become the newcomer king. It's also for the honor of the Vermilion Bird Hall. With that said, Ian Kai, Yuan Lang and the rest's faces darkened. Yuan Lang even shouted, who do you think you are? Are you worthy of the position of newcomer king? Lu Ming sneered. He could not be bothered to waste his breath with them. He looked at Feng Wu and said, Senior Sister Feng, do you plan to stay here or? I won't accompany you. I'm not interested either. Let's go. Feng Wu said as he turned around to leave with Lu Ming. All of you stop right there. Yuan Lang shouted loudly. Shua. With a flash of his figure he blocked their path. Ian Kai, what is the meaning of this? Feng Wu's expression changed as he turned to look at Ian Kai. Ian Kai revealed a sinister smile and said, this time I must obtain first place. So, hand over all of your iron plate s. Ian Kai, you. Feng Wu's expression was extremely ugly. He never thought that Ian Kai would be so despicable. It's fine if you don't want to contribute. Leave behind your iron plate s before you leave. Yuan Lang looked at Lu Ming with disdain. I want to leave and you want to stop me? Scram, a good dog doesn't block the way. Lu Ming shouted coldly. Brat, you're really arrogant. However, even if you're arrogant, you have to have the ability to be arrogant. Let me see what kind of ability you have. Chapter 41. Lu Ming, be careful. Feng Wu's expression changed drastically. Yuan Lang's cultivation had reached the third level of the martial master realm, and was not something a first-level martial master could compare to. She was afraid that Lu Ming would not be a match for him. Flame Dragon Fist. Lu Ming did not evade. Instead he threw a punch. Bang! Lu Ming's fist and Yuan Lang's claw collided. Strength overflowed in all directions, and the two of them swayed as they retreated 3 steps. This move was evenly matched. The third level of the martial master realm is indeed powerful. Lu Ming's eyes flashed as he pondered. In the martial master realm, the gap between each level was extremely large and extremely difficult to cross. It was not something that the martial warrior realm could compare to. In the past, when Lu Ming was at the 6th level of martial warrior, with the support of 3 divine meridians, his battle dragon true chi was 2 times more condensed and powerful than ordinary true chi. In addition to his exquisite martial arts techniques, he could cross 3 levels and fight with a 9th level martial master. However, in the martial master realm, it was impossible to do so. The power of the 3 divine veins was rather obvious in the martial warrior realm. However, in the martial master realm, the power of the 3 divine veins did not seem to be of much use. The most important function of the divine veins was to reflect one's talent and potential, and not directly reflect one's strength. Therefore, Lu Ming was now a 2nd-level martial master. With the power of his vital energy, he could at most skip 1 level and fight with a 3rd-level martial master. Coupled with his superb martial arts techniques, it was not a problem for him to suppress or even kill a 3rd-level martial master. However, if he encountered a 4th-level martial master, it would be difficult. Of course, this was under the condition that Lu Ming's bloodline did not erupt. The two of them retreated at the same time, causing the surrounding people to be shocked. Feng Wu was overjoyed. He never thought that Lu Ming would actually be able to fight to a draw with Yuan Lang. Just how strong is this Lu Ming? He must have been hiding his strength all this time. Sister Mulin's even told me to protect him? I think he's the one protecting me. Feng Wu thought speechlessly. At the side, Yin Kai and the other's eyes flashed with shock. He had never heard of this Lu Ming before. Where did he come from? How could he have such a strong cultivation? Yuan Lang's eyes were incomparably gloomy, flashing with dense killing intent as he roared, "Lu Ming, take another move of mine, Goshawk's 18 claws." Sizzle. Yuan Lang placed his hands on his waist and a pair of metal gloves appeared on his hands. In the next second, both of his claws clawed out consecutively. In the blink of an eye, 9 claw shadows appeared, covering 9 vital points on Lu Ming's body. Under the burst of true chi, the sharp metal gloves pierced the air, making an ear-piercing whistling sound. A yellow-grade high-grade martial skill. It's a pity that I haven't cultivated it to perfection. I only managed to break through to the 3rd level. Lu Ming sneered as he unsheathed his sword and used the flowing light sword technique. Sizzle. Sword lights flashed in the air as Lu Ming slashed out 12 times in one go. Ding. Ding. The long sword and the metal glove clashed continuously, and the 2 figures crossed each other in the air. Finally, the noise stopped abruptly and the 2 figures separated. Suddenly, Yuan Lang's body swayed as he spat out a mouthful of blood. Yuan Lang was defeated. On his chest, a wound appeared that went straight to his bones. If it wasn't for Lu Ming holding back a little at the critical moment, he would have died. Now you can scram. Lu Ming cast a nonchalant glance at Yuan Lang before he lifted his leg and walked forward. Clang, clang. A series of weapons were unsheathed. Following that, a white-clothed woman shouted, "Lu Ming, there are so many of us and senior brother Yin Kai. Do you think you can escape?" "Yin Kai, what are you trying to do? Do you want to keep us here?" Feng Wu said with an ugly expression. Yin Kai looked at Lu Ming with a gloomy face, but did not say anything. "You can try and see if you can keep me here. But I can guarantee that the losses at that time are not something you can bear." Lu Ming held his sword in his hand. His gaze was calm, but it contained an unwavering fighting spirit. His cold voice caused one's heart to involuntarily turn cold. Yin Kai stared at Lu Ming for a while, a light flashed in his eyes and he suddenly laughed. "Haha, it's all a misunderstanding. Junior brother Lu Ming is indeed powerful, it has really broadened my horizons. I hope we can make friends in the future. Senior sister Feng, let's go." Lu Ming did not even look at Yin Kai as he turned and left. "Lu Ming, I was careless this time. Next time, I will definitely return today's humiliation double." Yuan Lang's cold voice came from behind. "Next time? You'd better hope that there won't be a next time." Lu Ming's indifferent voice came out, and then he disappeared into the forest with Feng Wu. "Senior brother Yin, are we going to let them go just like that?" After Lu Ming and Feng Wu left, the white-clothed woman asked Yin Kai. This Lu Ming is not weak, and right now our main goal is to compete with the other 3 academies for the 500-point iron plate. We cannot lose any manpower. Once this trial is over, I have plenty of ways to deal with him. I will make him regret it. Looking in the direction Lu Ming and Feng Wu left, Yin Kai's eyes flashed with killing intent. 1,000 meters away. Junior brother Lu Ming. Yin Kai is a narrow-minded person. Since you've offended him today, I'm afraid he won't let you off so easily in the future. Feng Wu said worriedly. He better not come looking for trouble with me. Lu Ming smiled faintly. He did not take Yin Kai to heart. Feng Wu's beautiful eyes flashed with a strange light. Although she had known Lu Ming for a period of time, she realized that she could not see through Lu Ming at all. In her eyes, Lu Ming was unfathomable. Lu Ming, what do you plan to do next? Feng Wu asked. What should I do? I don't want to miss the 500-point iron plate. The corner of Lu Ming's mouth curled up into an inexplicable smile. Feng Wu stared and exclaimed, Don't tell me you want to snatch food from the tiger's mouth? Why not? Lu Ming smiled faintly. He then climbed up a big tree that was more than 20 meters tall and looked at Yin Kai and the group from afar. He wanted to follow Yin Kai and the others to seize the 500-point iron plate. This person is interesting. Feng Wu looked at Lu Ming, then climbed up the tree and sat on the branch. The darkness dissipated, and a wisp of white appeared on the horizon. In the distance, Yin Kai and the others extinguished the bonfire and began to head deeper into the secluded night mountain range. Lu Ming and Feng Wu followed far behind. After walking for more than 20 miles, Yin Kai and the others stopped at the foot of a huge mountain. At the foot of the mountain there was a huge cave. It was pitch black inside and extremely creepy. In front of the cave, a group of people had already gathered. There were more than 100 people. The people from the White Tiger Hall and the Azure Dragon Hall have arrived. Feng Wu whispered to Lu Ming. Lu Ming nodded. Lu Ming, if you make a move later, you must be careful of a few people. Feng Wu pointed to a young man wearing a white robe with green wood embroidered on his sleeves and a purple jade belt wrapped around his waist, and said, This person is Duanmu Ju, the strongest among the newcomers of the White Tiger Hall. Then he pointed to another young man wearing a green robe and said, This person is called Huang Yu, the #1 expert among the new disciples of the Azure Dragon Hall. Lu Ming gave a soft hum of acknowledgement. Chapter 42. Feng Wu couldn't help but snort lightly, her small mouth slightly curled up. Unexpectedly, Lu Ming suddenly leaned close to her ear and said, You said so much, are you so concerned about me? Caught off guard, Feng Wu jumped in fright and almost cried out. Her small face flushed red as she glared fiercely at Lu Ming and said, What nonsense are you spouting? Who cares about you? If it wasn't for Big Sister Mulin's instructions, if it wasn't for you saving me, I wouldn't have bothered with you. So it's like that. Lu Ming clicked his tongue, then looked ahead. Whoosh. Feng Wu let out a light breath, but for some reason, his heart was beating non-stop. Not long after, another group of people came. They were the disciples of the Black Martial Arts Academy. The 4 great academies were all here. Lu Ming and Feng Wu held their breaths and looked ahead. A moment later, the disciples of the 4 great academies took out silver-eyed rabbits and placed them at the entrance of the cave. The disciples of the 4 great academies all scattered and retreated to the vicinity to hide. There were at least 50 silver-eyed rabbits, and all of them had bewitching powder in their bodies. The smell of the silver-eyed rabbit was emitted. A moment later, a giant lizard that was half a meter tall and more than 4 meters long crawled out. It was covered in black scales. This was the black armored lizard. However, it was clear that this black armored lizard was only an ordinary black armored lizard. It was equivalent to a second level 2 demon beast and not a mutated black armored lizard. As soon as the black armored lizard crawled out, it saw the silver-eyed rabbit outside and hurriedly rushed over. It swallowed a silver-eyed rabbit in one gulp and ate it with relish. At this time, another black armored lizard crawled out. It was also not a mutated black armored lizard. Following that, a few more black armored lizards crawled out and swallowed more than 10 silver-eyed rabbits in a few moments. The disciples of the 4 great academies were anxious. They had spent several days to catch the silver-eyed rabbit. If they were eaten up by these ordinary black armored lizards, then they wouldn't have a second chance. There were only 2 days left until the end of the trial. They didn't have the time to catch so many silver-eyed rabbits. Moreover, they didn't have enough bewitching powder on them. At this moment, roar. A loud roar came from the cave. Then there was a bang 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 sound coming from the cave as a huge creature crawled out. This was also a black scale lizard, but its size was 10 times that of the others. Moreover, this black scale lizard's eyes were red. On the neck of this black scale lizard hung a metal plate with 2 large words written on it, 500. 500 points iron plate. Everyone's eyes were burning with excitement. Roar. The mutated black-scaled lizard let out a loud roar when it saw the silver-eyed rabbit. Hiss. The other black-scaled lizards seemed to be very afraid, and one by one they retreated. The mutated black-scaled lizard stepped forward alone and opened its bloody mouth. With one bite, 5 or 6 silver-eyed rabbits were swallowed into its mouth. A few minutes later, nearly 40 silver-eyed rabbits were all swallowed by the mutated black-scaled lizard. The variant black-scaled monitor lizard let out a roar, then turned around and slowly entered the cave. Hiss. At this moment, the black scale lizards that had swallowed the silver-eyed rabbit earlier swayed and fell to the ground one by one, snoring loudly. The bewitching powder in their bodies had taken effect. The disciples of the 4 great academies were not in a hurry to chase into the cave. They were waiting for the medicine to take effect. The mutated black-scaled lizard was not as easy to deal with as an ordinary black-scaled lizard. After more than 10 minutes, the disciples of the 4 great academies all rushed into the cave. Are we going in too? After a few more minutes, Feng Wu asked Lu Ming. I'm the one who's going in. Wait for me here. Lu Ming nodded and said, it might be very chaotic at that time. If I'm alone, it'll be easier for me to escape. Feng Wu bit her lips. She knew that what Lu Ming said was the truth. Alright, then you have to be careful. Feng Wu said. Lu Ming nodded, then moved and rushed towards the cave. Outside the cave, there was a group of disciples from the 4 courtyards with low cultivation levels. However, none of them stopped Lu Ming. There were disciples of the 4 great academies, so who would stop him? Lu Ming dashed into the cave without a hitch. Inside the cave it was dark. Even though Lu Ming was a martial master and his eyesight was much stronger than ordinary people, it was still dark in his eyes. Lu Ming restrained his breathing and carefully walked in. However, after walking for 100 meters, there were several forks in the road. Furthermore, he saw the corpse of a black-scaled lizard lying there. This was a level 1 black-scaled lizard. Lu Ming was not interested in absorbing its blood essence, so he chose a fork in the road and continued forward. This was the lair of the black-scaled lizard. It was connected in all directions and crisscrossed in a very complicated manner. After Lu Ming walked a few hundred meters forward, there were several forks in the road. Lu Ming continued to casually choose a fork in the road and walked inside. On the way, Lu Ming saw several black-scaled lizard corpses. 2 of them were at the first stage of Class 2, and 1 was at the second stage of Class 2. Lu Ming did not let them go and devoured all of their blood essence. As he walked, he refined the blood essence. Lu Ming's cultivation was rapidly improving. Obviously, the disciples of the 4 great academies had the advantage in numbers. He did not find any corpses along the way. Lu Ming walked like this for about 20 minutes. Along the way he devoured 3 more Class 1 LV2 black-scaled lizards and 1 Class 2 LV2 black-scaled lizard. Lu Ming's cultivation had successfully advanced to the middle stage of the second stage of the martial master realm. At this moment, Lu Ming saw a faint light coming from ahead. Lu Ming lightened his footsteps and walked toward the light. When he walked closer, he realized that it was a cave entrance. It was not even as tall as a person. Lu Ming walked to the side of the cave entrance and looked outside. He was slightly shocked. Outside the cave entrance was a huge underground cave. It was more than 100 meters in length and width, and dozens of meters in height. On the walls of the cave, there were stones that emitted a faint light. These were luminous stones. If the luminous components in these stones were extracted, they could be made into luminous stones that could illuminate the cave. With the help of the luminous stones, Lu Ming saw that there were many similar caves on the walls of the cave. In some of the caves he could vaguely see human figures. Many people from the 4 great academies were hiding in these caves. Lu Ming's cave entrance was more than 10 meters above the ground. In the center of the cave there was a huge monster lying there. It was the mutated black-scaled lizard. At this moment, the black-scaled lizard had not yet fallen asleep. It let out a low roar and opened its bloody mouth from time to time. No wonder the disciples of the 4 great academies did not make a move. They were all waiting for the mutated black-scaled lizard to fall asleep. The mutated black-scaled lizard was a Class 9 LV2 demonic beast, which was equivalent to a LV9 martial master realm expert. If a martial artist below the LV4 martial master realm was slapped, they would definitely die. Time passed slowly. After more than 10 minutes, the mutated black-scaled lizard's eyelids became heavier. It seemed that it was about to fall asleep, but it was not completely asleep. The resistance of the mutated black-scaled lizard was really terrifying. It could still hold on after eating so many silver-eyed rabbits. Whoosh. At this moment, a figure rushed out from a cave entrance like lightning and pounced on the neck of the black-scaled lizard. Yin Kai. Chapter 43. Swoosh. Yin Kai's speed was extremely fast. His bloodline was a level 5 green-winged nighthawk, and speed was his forte. Now that his bloodline was activated, he was as fast as lightning. No wonder he dared to attack the mutated black-scaled lizard before it was completely asleep. Yin Kai's figure flashed a few times, and he was under the mutated black-scaled lizard's neck. He reached out and grabbed the iron token, and pulled with all his might, breaking the iron chain that bound the iron token. The tearing force seemed to have caused the mutated black-scaled lizard to react. It let out a low roar and a huge claw swiped at Yin Kai. Yin Kai's figure suddenly flashed, and he dodged the claw of the black-scaled lizard. The black-scaled lizard seemed to be even more dizzy after its claw missed. It let out a low roar and did not pursue. Haha, the 500 points are mine. This year's newcomer king is mine. Seeing that the black-scaled lizard did not pursue, Yin Kai was overjoyed and almost laughed out loud. Yin Kai put down the iron token. At this moment, figures pounced out from the surrounding caves. They were all experts from the 4 campuses. Among them, Duanmuju, Huangyu, Xiahong, and the top experts of the other 3 campuses were among them. It's in my hands and you still want to take it away? Dream on. Yin Kai sneered. He waved his hands and a pair of indistinct green wings could be seen flashing. Whoosh. A gust of wind stirred up, and Yin Kai's figure actually leaped more than 10 meters into the air, flying toward a cave that was more than 10 meters high. Yin Kai had already planned to use the advantage of his bloodline to seize the iron token, lure out the experts of the other 3 campuses, and then escape by jumping into a cave that was more than 10 meters high. Those caves were intricate and complicated. As long as he escaped into a cave, the others would not be able to catch up to him. His idea was good, but Lu Ming happened to be in this direction. Therefore Lu Ming did not even think. He jumped down and slashed at Yin Kai. Lu Ming, it's you? Get out of my way. At the sight of Lu Ming's sudden appearance, Yin Kai roared in shock and swept his sword upward. Clang. The 2 swords clashed and a burst of energy burst forth. Yin Kai was a 4th-stage martial master and his strength was not to be underestimated. Lu Ming was sent flying by a strong force. However, Lu Ming was in a high position and his strength was not weak either. Yin Kai was directly sent flying down. At this time, Duanmuju, Huangyu, and the others had already arrived. Yin Kai, hand over the iron plate or you'll die. Duanmuju coldly snorted, his eyes filled with killing intent. A powerful attack was directed towards Yin Kai. Lu Ming, I'll fight you to the death. Yin Kai roared furiously. Save yourself first. Lu Ming landed at the side and smiled faintly. Hand over your iron token. Duanmuju, Huangyu, and Xiahong were all at the 4th level of the Martial Master Realm. There were also a few other experts at the 3rd level of the Martial Master Realm. Yin Kai would not be able to keep the iron plate. All the attacks were aimed at the hand holding the iron metal. If he didn't let go, his hand would be crippled. Helpless, he could only let go. The iron metal is mine, get lost. Huangyu, how dare you go against my Duanmu family? Duanmuju roared continuously. Duanmuju, don't use your Duanmu family to scare me. Others might be afraid of your Duanmu family but I'm not. Huangyu sneered. Instantly the scene fell into a chaotic battle. Everyone wanted the iron metal and they fought with all their strength. True energy exploded, and the iron metal danced in the air. For a moment no one managed to snatch it. Whoosh. At this time, Lu Ming suddenly heard the sound of something breaking through the air behind him. A powerful force attacked his back. Someone was ambushing him. Whoosh. At the critical moment, Lu Ming twisted his body and dodged the attack by a hair's breadth. Turning his head to look, Lu Ming's eyes flashed coldly. Yuan Lang, you're courting death. The one who ambushed him was Yuan Lang. You're the one who's going to die. I didn't activate my bloodline yesterday. Let's see if you're a match for me this time. Yuan Lang's murderous aura surged. Then, with a flash of blood-red light, his bloodline erupted, and he charged towards Lu Ming. Whoosh whoosh. The ice-cold iron claws brought about a strong gust of wind as they clawed towards Lu Ming. The power was stronger than yesterday. Lu Ming didn't waste time talking nonsense with him and executed the flowing light sword art. In an instant, more than 10 sword lights were slashed out. Clang, clang. Continuous clashing sounds could be heard. As soon as they exchanged blows, Yuan Lang's expression changed because he realized that the power released from Lu Ming's sword was stronger than yesterday. Could it be that in less than a day, Lu Ming's cultivation had broken through again? Impossible. Yuan Lang rejected this idea. Lu Ming must have hidden his strength yesterday. He began to think of retreating. However, Lu Ming's sword light trembled. Yuan Lang felt his arm go numb and he took 2 steps back. Whoosh! An even more resplendent sword light erupted and pierced into Yuan Lang's stomach. Lu Ming, don't kill, Yuan Lang screamed in horror. I said yesterday that there won't be a second chance, Lu Ming said coldly. Then he suddenly grabbed Yuan Lang's neck and threw him out. He was thrown in the direction where Duanmuju and the others were fighting for the iron tokens. That place was filled with sword lights. If he was thrown out like this, he would definitely be dismembered. Ah! Yun Lang screamed in horror. He had been hit by Lu Ming's sword, but he didn't die. In order to survive, he unleashed all his strength. A dazzling red light erupted from his body as he clawed out continuously. Get lost. Go to hell. Duanmuju and the others roared in anger and attacked without hesitation. Puchi. Almost instantly Yuan Lang was dismembered. His flesh and blood splattered everywhere. However, Yuan Lang, who had risked his life, managed to block them for a moment. And what Lu Ming wanted was this moment. Without any hesitation, Lu Ming rushed out. The dragon snake steps erupted with the strongest power. With a single step, he was almost 7 feet away. Swish! Lu Ming was like a bolt of lightning, leaping over the battlefield where Duanmuju Yin Kai and the others were fighting. He grabbed the iron token with 500 points in his hand. Lu Ming, it's you again. Give me the iron token and I'll spare your life. Yin Kai roared. Lu Ming, I know you. You dared to kill my Duanmu family's disciples. Hand over the iron token and I'll plead with the family elders to reduce your punishment. Duanmuju also roared. At the same time, several attacks were launched at Lu Ming. With so many experts, Lu Ming couldn't withstand them. He took another step forward and ran for 7 feet. This direction was where the variant black-scaled lizard was lying on the ground. At this time, Lu Ming was only 10 feet away from the variant black-scaled lizard. Behind him, Duanmuju Yin Kai and the others had surrounded Lu Ming. Lu Ming, you can't escape. You want to snatch the iron token? What a joke. Today you must die. Yin Kai's eyes flickered with killing intent. If it wasn't for Lu Ming, he would have already gotten the iron token and left this place. Then this year's newcomer king would be him. But now, everything had turned into bubbles because of Lu Ming. He hated Lu Ming to the bone. Lu Ming, give me the iron token and I'll spare your life. Huang Yu shouted. Chapter 44. At this moment, the mutated black-scaled lizard had already closed its eyes and was about to fall asleep. Otherwise, it would have been impossible for it to remain indifferent during the intense battle just now. There were no holes on the wall on the lizard's side. There seemed to be no way out here. Lu Ming, you have nowhere to go. Duanmuju and the rest slowly approached. If they weren't afraid of the mutated black-scaled lizard, they would have already attacked. Is that so? You're that confident? At this point, Lu Ming actually smiled. How could he still smile? However, Duanmuju Yin Kai and the rest immediately understood. Lu Ming suddenly turned around and charged towards the mutated black-scaled lizard. The sword light pierced through the air and ruthlessly pierced towards the lizard's body. Lu Ming, what are you doing? Stop. Quickly stop, you're courting death. Duanmuju and the rest's faces changed as they roared. However, Lu Ming's sword light did not stop. Puchi, the long sword ruthlessly pierced into the lizard's body. Brr. The long sword pierced its body. Under the intense pain, the mutated black-scaled lizard let out a roar and its eyes suddenly opened. Another sword. Lu Ming pulled out the long sword, causing blood to spurt out as he stabbed again. This time, the mutated black-scaled lizard was completely awake. It let out a furious roar and extended its huge claws towards Lu Ming. Using the dragon snake steps, he dodged the lizard's attack and then ran towards Duanmuju Yin Kai and the rest. Brr. The mutated black-scaled lizard roared and chased after Lu Ming in a frenzy. Lu Ming, Duanmuju Yin Kai and the rest all roared, but they could only helplessly turn around and run. The strongest among them was only a 4th-stage martial master. Even if they worked together, they wouldn't be able to kill the mutated black-scaled lizard. Why are you running? Didn't you want to kill me? Lu Ming's mocking voice rang out. This made Duanmuju and the rest so angry that they almost vomited blood. They secretly swore that they definitely wouldn't let Lu Ming off. Like birds startled by the twang of a bow, they no longer dared to stay in the cave. One by one they ran into the caves. Ah, goodbye. Lu Ming stomped heavily on the ground and soared into the sky. He landed directly in a 10-meter-high cave entrance and then ran quickly. Lu Ming ran for over 1,000 meters in the cave before finally sitting down to rest. With a thought, the iron card appeared in Lu Ming's hand. This iron token was made of a different material than the others. It was dark gold in color and very hard. There were 2 golden words on it, 500. With these 500 points, in addition to the 124 points he had previously obtained, Lu Ming had a total of 624 points. Is 624 points enough? Lu Ming began to ponder. It was hard to say. Duanmuju, Yin Kai, and the rest had gathered so many people. If some people only kept 10 points and gave the rest to them, it would be hard to say how many points they had. It was possible for them to gather 500 or 600 points. There are still 2 days left. Maybe I can get some points from the Duanmu clan or Yin Kai. Lu Ming's lips curled into a smile. At this moment, hurried footsteps could be heard from behind. They were extremely fast, and in the blink of an eye, a few figures appeared in front of Lu Ming. Duanmuju. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. One of the 3 people was actually Duanmuju. The 2 beside him were genius disciples of the White Tiger Institute with a cultivation of the 3rd layer martial master realm. Lu Ming, you're really here. Let's see how you're going to escape now. Seeing Lu Ming, Duanmuju wasn't surprised. He revealed a cold smile. How did you find me? Lu Ming asked curiously. I don't mind telling you. My bloodline is the spirit-sniffing hound. You won't be able to escape from me. A short young man beside Duanmuju said. So it's the nose of a dog. Lu Ming came to a realization. Lu Ming, I didn't look for you, but you actually dared to snatch my iron accumulative points card. You're really bold. Now hand over your iron accumulative points card and I'll give you a quick death. Duanmuju said. Lu Ming curled his lips and said, Is everyone from the Duanmu clan so blindly confident? I really don't know how your Duanmu clan became the top clan of the White Tiger Institute. So you're not giving it to me? Then I'll show you how my Duanmu clan became the top clan of the White Tiger Institute. Flying Tiger Sword. Kill. After saying this, Duanmuju lunged at Lu Ming. A sword intent was emitted, accompanied by the faint roar of a tiger. Clang. Lu Ming drew his sword and welcomed the attack. Clang. Clang. Their swords clashed. In this cave, the terrain was narrow, making it impossible to use movement techniques. One could only fight head-on. After a few clashes, Lu Ming felt his arm go numb and his body involuntarily took 3 steps back. As for Duanmuju, his body only swayed slightly. 4th layer martial master, such powerful strength. My current strength can't even compare to a 4th layer martial master. Lu Ming thought to himself. Your swordsmanship is not bad, but your strength is too weak. The flying tiger pounces on its prey. Duanmuju sneered and attacked Lu Ming again. Vaguely, it was like a fierce tiger pouncing at Lu Ming. Flying tiger sword technique, a high-grade yellow rank sword technique. Duanmuju had already cultivated it to the 3rd level and his moves were fast and ruthless. I'm not a match for you in terms of strength. Then let's use speed. Lu Ming was highly focused and completely immersed in the flowing light sword technique. Swish swish, his speed was much faster than Duanmuju's. Duanmuju could only give up on attacking and try his best to block Lu Ming's swish. So what if your swordsmanship is fast? If your strength isn't enough, I'll beat you until you can't hold your sword. Duanmuju's sword danced like water couldn't splash through as he continuously clashed with Lu Ming's sword. Is that so? What if I'm faster? At this moment, Lu Ming's lips curled into a smile. His sword moved and his swordsmanship was actually faster than before. His sword was like a river as it continuously poured down on Duanmuju. Just a moment ago, his flowing light sword technique had a breakthrough. Previously, his flowing light sword technique had been stuck at the 4th level and hadn't broken through. Just a moment ago, in the battle with Duanmuju, his flowing light sword technique had broken through to the 5th level and reached perfection. Duanmuju's expression changed greatly. Just now he could barely block it. Now he realized that he couldn't block it at all. Swish. Lu Ming's sword broke through his defense and slashed towards his chest. Retreat. 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 Duanmuju was horrified and retreated frantically. However, he was still a step too late. Biff. Lu Ming's sword gleam left a deep wound on his chest. Duanmuju broke out in cold sweat. If he didn't retreat quickly, he would be dead now. Attack together. Kill him. Duanmuju roared furiously. Kill. The other 2 youths charged towards Lu Ming together with Duanmuju. Chapter 45. Good timing. Lu Ming smiled in the face of the trio's joint attack. Instead of retreating, he charged towards the trio like the wind. "You're courting death. Go to hell." The trio shouted coldly and executed their ultimate moves. Their long swords released sword chi that tore through the air and let out ear-piercing screeches. The sword chi enveloped Lu Ming's body. At this moment, a bloody light flashed on Lu Ming's body as his bloodline erupted. He twisted his body and dodged the three swords. As for the sword chi, he didn't care about it at all. Duanmuju and the other two revealed cold killing intent in their eyes. Duanmuju even revealed a smug smile as if the 500 points iron token was already in his hands. But in the next moment his expression changed. Because he felt that after the sword chi landed on Lu Ming's body, it was as if it slashed into an endless abyss. In an instant, his hair stood on end as a cold killing intent enveloped his body. "Retreat, retreat quickly," he roared in his heart. However, it was all too late. A beam of sword light appeared like a flying immortal and pierced through his throat. Blood splattered everywhere as Duanmuju let out a beast-like roar. He covered his throat with both hands and kept retreating. But after a few steps he fell to the ground. Lu Ming pierced through Duanmuju and took the opportunity to draw his sword and cut the throat of another youth. In an instant, Lu Ming made use of the special characteristics of his bloodline and successfully killed two experts. There was only one person left. The last youth was scared out of his wits and retreated frantically. But how could he be as fast as Lu Ming? Lu Ming caught up in a few steps. After a few moves he followed in Duanmuju's footsteps. Duanmuju and the other two were all killed by Lu Ming. "This time I'm not injured. It's much better than the previous time." Lu Ming felt his body and thought to himself. Duanmuju and the other two's sword chi was absorbed by Lu Ming's bloodline. The remaining 50% was mostly blocked by his protective chi. Hence, Lu Ming wasn't injured. Of course, this was related to the cultivation of Duanmuju and the other two. Duanmuju's cultivation was at the 4th level martial master realm, which was only 2 levels higher than Lu Ming. If he was 3 levels higher than Lu Ming or even 4 or 5 levels higher, then the result would be different. Although he could also devour 50% of the attack power, the remaining 50% was enough to seriously injure or even kill Lu Ming. Let's see how many iron tokens Duanmuju has found. Lu Ming searched Duanmuju's body, but he didn't find a single iron token. Not to mention an iron token, he didn't even have one silver. What's going on? How could Duanmuju not have a single iron token? No, it's a storage ring. Lu Ming's eyes suddenly lit up. Looking at Duanmuju's finger, he indeed saw a ring. After taking off the ring, Lu Ming's mind sank into the ring. In the next moment, a space appeared in Lu Ming's mind. This space wasn't big, only about 1 square meter in size. It was much smaller than the Temple of Paragon. This was the space inside the storage ring. In this space there was a pile of iron tokens, a stack of silver notes and some clothes. Lu Ming did not count them, and then found a stack of iron tokens on the other two people's bodies. Together with the storage ring, he kept them all in the Temple of Paragon, and then swallowed the blood essence of the 3 people. Not long after he saw the exit of the cave. There was still a large group of people guarding there, but Yin Kai, Huang Yu and the rest had not come out yet. Lu Ming immediately rushed out and climbed up a big tree nearby. He did not go look for Feng Wu first. He planned to first refine the blood essence of Duanmuju and the other two, count his gains, and then meet up with Feng Wu. Sitting cross-legged in the middle of the branches of the big tree, Lu Ming began to refine it. A 4th level martial master and 2 3rd level martial master. The energy contained in the blood essence was extremely large, and was definitely not something that a 1st or 2nd level martial master could compare to. Lu Ming's cultivation was rapidly increasing. Peak of the 2nd level martial master, late 2nd level martial master, and finally, after refining all of the blood essence, Lu Ming broke through and stepped into the 3rd level martial master. However, the level of his bloodline still did not increase. On the spirit-devouring insect's bloodline, the 3 blood-red chakras were incomparably deep. It was obvious that they had reached their limit, but they still did not advance to the 4th level of bloodline. Could it be that my bloodline can only reach the 3rd level? Lu Ming frowned as he thought. Whatever, if I continue to devour blood essence in the future, I don't believe that I can't advance. Following that, Lu Ming took out Duanmuju's storage ring and began to count. The 2 3rd level martial master youths had a total of 130 points. But the one with the most points was Duanmuju, who had actually reached a terrifying 520 points. As expected, with so many people gathered around Duanmuju, the number of points he had was absolutely terrifying. He had actually exceeded 500 points. With this, Lu Ming's points had reached a terrifying 1224 points. With this kind of points, first place should be secured, right? Lu Ming did not believe that anyone else could surpass this score. In addition, there were more than 80,000 silver notes in Duanmuju's storage ring. It was truly an unexpected gain. Duanmuju was indeed worthy of being a genius of the Duanmu family. Not to mention anything else, just the storage ring was worth at least 100,000 silver taels. Furthermore, there was no market for it. Now it was all thanks to Lu Ming. After counting, Lu Ming's figure flashed as he arrived at the place where he had agreed to meet Feng Wu. Lu Ming, you're out? How's the situation? When Feng Wu saw Lu Ming, he immediately asked. Very good. Lu Ming smiled slightly. Feng Wu's beautiful eyes lit up and said, Lu Ming, could it be that the 500-point iron plate has fallen into your hands? Of course, otherwise wouldn't I have come here for nothing? Lu Ming smiled, full of confidence. You really got the 500-point iron plate. Looks like Yin Kai, Duanmuju and the others have all made a wedding dress for you. Feng Wu sighed, looking at Lu Ming, his eyes were filled with surprise. Let's go. The two of them turned around and left, disappearing into the forest. Very quickly 2 days passed in a flash. The 20 days of the trial were up. Many people had gathered outside the secluded Night Mountain range. Xie Kuang and the other elders of the 4 great academies, as well as a few silver-robed elders, as well as the deacons of the various academies who were in charge of counting the points. Other than these people, there were also quite a few youths gathered. These youths were all old disciples of the 4 great academies. Every year, the new disciples would receive a lot of attention because the new disciples represented the future and also represented unlimited possibilities. In your opinion, how many people will pass this year? The elder of the 4 great academies stood at the front, and at this moment, the elder of the White Tiger Academy asked the other 3. Chapter 46. The total score is 13,000 points. In theory, there should be 1,300 people who pass, but in reality, it's impossible for so many people to pass. The elder of the Azure Dragon Institute said, there will definitely be some iron tokens that haven't been found yet. Also, there will definitely be some people with higher scores and some people with less than 10 points. Therefore, I estimate that 500 people will pass. That's not bad. I estimate that there will be around 500 people. Xie Kuang nodded. According to past experience, that's about it. But I'm very curious who will be this year's newcomer king. The Black Tortoise Academy's elder said and then asked a question. Needless to say, this year's newcomer king will definitely be my Duanmu family's genius, Duanmuju. Duanmujin chuckled, looking very confident. Duanmujin, aren't you too confident? My Azure Dragon Hall's Huang Yu has extraordinary talent. He has awakened a 5th-level bloodline and has already reached the 4th level of the Martial Master realm. He is not inferior to Duanmuju at all. In my opinion, the newcomer king this time will definitely be Huang Yu. The Azure Dragon Hall's elder said. Although my Black Tortoise Academy Xie Hong is a woman, her talent is not bad at all. Perhaps the newcomer king will be my Black Tortoise Academy Xie Hong. The Black Tortoise Academy's elder said. I don't think so. My Vermilion Bird Hall's Yin Kai is not bad either. This time, my Vermilion Bird Hall will definitely obtain the position of newcomer king. Xie Kuang said. Duanmujin patted his fat belly and said confidently, although Huang Yu and the others are not bad, they are still inferior to Duanmuju. Also, Xie Kuang, your Vermilion Bird Hall hasn't obtained the title of newcomer king for 8 years. This time it's impossible. Stop dreaming. Xie Kuang's face darkened and said, Fatty Duanmu, what do you mean by this? Are you looking down on my Vermilion Bird Hall or something? Yes, so what if I look down on your Vermilion Bird Hall? It's impossible for those trash from your Vermilion Bird Hall to obtain the title of newcomer king. If you're not convinced, how about we make a bet? Duanmujin said with a mocking expression. Damn it, let's bet. I'm not afraid of you. Fatty Duanmujin, how do you want to bet? Xie Kuang said. Duanmujin's eyes flickered as he wore an excited smile and said, how about this, let's bet on whether the White Tiger Hall or the Vermilion Bird Hall will be crowned the newcomer king. The bet will be 30 spiritual crystals. What do you think? What? 30 crystals? Xie Kuang was shocked. Spiritual crystals contained an incomparably pure spiritual qi. They were condensed from the heavens and earth and were incomparably precious. Only martial grandmasters and above could use them to cultivate. In the market, 1 spiritual crystal could be sold for 10,000 taels of silver. 30 spiritual crystals were equivalent to 300,000 taels of silver. 30 spiritual crystals for a single bet. What a big bet. What? Xie Kuang, you don't dare to bet with 30 spirit crystals? Duanmujin revealed a contemptuous smile. Damn it, Xia Kuang clenched his teeth and said, Duanmu Jin, I'll take the bet. When the time comes, no one can go back on their word. I was afraid that you would go back on your word. Duanmu Jin sneered. A disciple has come out. At this time, the elder of the Azure Dragon Institute spoke. Sure enough, several young people walked out from the secluded Night Mountain range. It's the disciples of the Vermilion Bird Institute. They came out quite quickly. I wonder how many points they got. Duanmu Jin smiled contemptuously. Xia Kuang's face darkened. He then looked at the young people and said, How many points did you get? Take it out and record it. No, not much. A young man's face was a little red. In the end, he took out 2 1-point iron tokens. As for the others, they didn't even have one. Obviously, all their gains were these 2 points. Aha, only 2 points. Your Vermilion Bird Institute has a big harvest. Duanmu Jin laughed loudly. The elder of imparting arts from the other 2 courtyards also smiled. The competition between the 4 institutes was fierce. The worse the other institutes were, the happier they were. Xia Kuang's face was gloomy. Since these young people came out, more and more young people came out. Of course, there were very few who could pass. Only 1 out of 10 people could pass. Those who didn't pass were all dejected. Those who passed were in high spirits. The number of people who passed was naturally the White Tiger Institute. They were ranked first. The Azure Dragon Institute was ranked second. The Black Tortoise Institute was ranked third. The Vermilion Bird Institute was ranked last, just like in the past few years. This made Duanmu Jin laugh even more heartily. Xia Kuang's face became uglier and uglier. Look, Xia Hong is out. Suddenly someone shouted. The number 1 expert of the Black Tortoise Institute, Xia Hong, walked out of the secluded Night Mountain range. However, Xia Hong's face didn't look good. She looked a little gloomy. Hee, it seems that martial nephew Xia Hong's results aren't very ideal. Seeing Xia Hong's expression, Duanmu Jin chuckled. The face of the elder of the Black Tortoise Institute sank. 509 points. In the end, Xia Hong's score was 509 points. 509 points is already not bad. However, without that 500-point iron token, it's very difficult to get first place with this score. The elder of the Azure Dragon Institute said. That's not necessarily true. If no one gets the 500-point iron token this time, then Honger's 509 points might be able to get first place. The elder of the Black Tortoise Institute said unwillingly. This time, the 500-point iron token has been obtained. Xia Hong suddenly said. What? Who got the 500-point iron token? The 4 Gil-imparting elders were shocked and asked hastily. Whoever obtained the 500-point iron token could be first place. Naturally, they would pay attention to it. Xia Hong shook her head and didn't answer. Although it had been obtained by Lu Ming, Duanmu Ju, Yin Kai, Huang Yu and the others had been tracking Lu Ming with all their might. A few days had passed and she didn't know who had obtained the 500-point iron token. The eyes of the elders flickered. They all hoped that the 500-point iron token would be in the hands of their own geniuses. The senior disciples nearby were also discussing spiritedly, guessing who would be the first. Yin Kai is out. And Huang Yu. Someone called out. Xia Kuang's heart skipped a beat as he hurriedly looked over. Yin Kai and Huang Yu each led a group of people out of the forest. Yin Kai, you should count them first. Huang Yu looked at Yin Kai and said. Yin Kai's face was extremely gloomy. With a wave of his hand, a pile of iron tokens appeared. Although storage rings were precious and rare, geniuses like Yin Kai still had them. 496 points. Yin Kai's score was 496 points, which was even less than Xia Hong's. Xia Kuang, it seems that your 30 spirit crystals are bound to lose. Yin Kai's score is even less than Xia Hong's. It's impossible for him to get first place. Duanmu Jin laughed loudly. Duanmu Jin, don't be happy too early. Although Yin Kai can't win, Duanmu Ju might not be able to get first place either. Xia Kuang said. Is that so? Anyway, I'm in an invincible position. Even if Duanmu Ju doesn't get first place, I won't lose anyway. Duanmu Jin sneered. At this moment, Yin Kai's expression was extremely ugly. Lu Ming, I hope your 500-point iron token has been taken away by Duanmu Ju. Yin Kai roared in his heart. He would rather Duanmu Ju get first place than Lu Ming. Chapter 47. When Lu Ming and Feng Wu walked out, they did not attract anyone's attention. The 4 great courtyards elder of martial arts as well as those old disciples, only took a casual glance and directly skipped over them. 3 of the 4 great courtyards number 1 geniuses had already appeared, and they wanted to see Duanmu Ju. However, a small portion of people's gazes landed on Lu Ming. They were the people who had participated in the fight for the 500-point iron plate. Especially Yin Kai, his eyes were extremely gloomy. Lu Ming, you're not dead? Could it be that Duanmuju didn't find you? Yin Kai stared at Lu Ming and said. Yin Kai's words caused everyone to be stunned. Hearing Yin Kai's tone, could it be that this young man called Lu Ming was a top figure? What is it? Are you disappointed that I didn't die? Lu Ming's mouth revealed a mocking smile. Lu Ming, since Duanmuju did not find you, then it seems that the 500-point iron plate is still with you? At the side, Huang Yu asked in a deep voice. What? When Huang Yu said this, everyone was shocked. One by one they looked at Lu Ming in confusion. Especially the four elder of martial arts of the four great courtyard, it was even more so. Who was this Lu Ming? They had never heard of him before. The 500-point iron plate was actually with him? How was this possible? Many people revealed expressions of disbelief. Of course. Didn't you see it with your own eyes last time? Lu Ming smiled slightly, then with a move of his hand, a purplish gold iron plate appeared in his hand. It was the 500-point iron plate. In an instant, everyone's eyes were focused on the iron plate in Lu Ming's hand. Was it really a 500-point iron plate? Who exactly was this Lu Ming? To actually be able to obtain a 500-point iron plate, then the newcomer king this time would he be? One after another, shocked gazes looked at Lu Ming as they discussed amongst themselves. Haha, good. Lu Ming, good job. Xia Kuang reacted and laughed out loud. He was happy. Originally, when he saw that Yin Kai only had around 400 points, he thought that the Vermilion Bird Courtyard had no chance of becoming the newcomer king this time. At that time, not only would he lose 30 spirit crystals to Duanmujin, but he would also be ridiculed by Duanmujin. But now that Lu Ming had obtained 500 points, there was hope for him to become the best newcomer king. Lu Ming. It's actually that Lu Ming. My Duanmu clan has so many experts, yet they were unable to kill this Lu Ming? Duanmujin was the most shocked. He looked at Lu Ming in disbelief. After a while he recovered and sneered, Xia Kuang, what are you so proud of? Maybe this Lu Ming just got lucky and got a 500-point iron plate. He didn't get many other iron plates. Do you think you can win with just a 500-point iron plate? We'll know the answer after we count them, Xia Kuang said. Lu Ming, do you think you can beat me just because you have a 500-point iron plate? Watch carefully. At this moment Huang Yu said coldly. Then he turned around and waved his hand. A large pile of iron tokens landed on the counting table. So many? Many people's eyes narrowed. Judging by the number, Huang Yu had more iron tokens than Xia Hong. 706 points. In the end, Huang Yu's points reached a terrifying 706 points. The sound of people gasping could be heard. Huang Yu actually got 706 points. That's terrifying. Without a 500-point iron plate, he actually got such a score. It's hard to say who will be the best newcomer king now. That's right. This Lu Ming was not well known before. He's definitely not a disciple of a big family. There won't be many people helping him collect points. It's very difficult for him to get more than 200 points alone. Sounds of discussion could be heard all around. Good. The Azure Dragon Institute's elder laughed happily. Duanmujin sneered and said, Xia Kuang, I told you that you're happy too early. So what if you got a 500-point iron plate? If you're lucky and a trash gets it, he won't be the best newcomer king either. Humph, let's count them first. Xia Kuang snorted coldly, but in reality he was not confident in his heart. He still had some idea about the situation of the new disciples of the Vermilion Bird Courtyard, but he had never heard of Lu Ming's name before. Lu Ming looked at all of this indifferently. His expression was extremely calm, and the corner of his mouth held a faint smile. He walked to the front of the counting platform, looked at Huang Yu and said, Since you want to see, then watch carefully. With a wave of his hand, a large pile of iron plates appeared on the counting platform. Judging from the volume, it seemed to be even more than Huang Yu's. So many? Everyone's eyes widened and they almost bit their tongues. They all stared blankly at the iron plate on the counting platform. Even Feng Wu was the same. She had always been by Lu Ming's side, but she never thought that Lu Ming would actually obtain so many iron plates. When did he get it? Martial uncle, please help me count them. Lu Ming reminded the deacon who was counting the points. Because the deacon was still in a daze. After Lu Ming's reminder, the deacon finally reacted. 724 points. Adding the 500 points on the iron plate, a total of 1224 points. This was Lu Ming's total score. In the last 2 days, Lu Ming did not go looking for the iron plate. Instead, he had been cultivating and consolidating his cultivation. 1,224 points. This number made everyone's jaws drop. They stood there in a daze, unable to close their mouths for a long time. This was too terrifying. Even without the 500 points on the iron plate, Lu Ming's points were still above Huang Yu's. The Rookie King had been born. There was no longer any suspense about this point. How is this possible? How could this be? I mobilized a few hundred people from the Azure Dragon House and even promised to spend a lot of money to purchase these points from some people. How did Lu Ming manage to obtain so many points? Huang Yu looked at all of this in disbelief as he roared in his heart. Damn it. Yin Kai clenched his fists, full of unwillingness. Aha, Duanmu Jin, I have already told you to wait until the counting is over. Look, the situation is clear now. Xie Kuang was incomparably excited as he laughed loudly. One of his hands kept grabbing his beard. When he looked at Lu Ming, he suddenly felt that Lu Ming was so cute. Xie Kuang Lu Ming. Duanmu Jin gritted his teeth and his face was incomparably ugly. Also, Duanmu Jin, the bet is 30 spirit crystals. Quickly hand it over. Xie Kuang said. Why are you in such a hurry? Now that everyone has not come out, my Duanmu family's Duanmu Ju has not come out, how do you know that Lu Ming will win? Duanmu Jin said unwillingly. He hoped that Duanmu Ju could create a miracle. Elder Jin, this is bad. At this moment, a few shouts suddenly came from the secluded Night Mountain range. More than a dozen figures rushed out. These people were the young geniuses of the Duanmu family. What's going on? Why are you in such a hurry? As a member of the Duanmu family and a disciple of the Mystic Essence Sword sect, you have to be calm. Do you understand? Chapter 48. Elder Jin, this is bad. Duanmu Ju is dead. A young man from the Duanmu family said in fear. What? Duanmu Jin's eyes widened and his face changed as he cried out in shock. How could he remain calm? Everyone else's faces changed as well. Even the expressions of the elders of the other three schools changed slightly. Xie Kuang's face revealed a hint of joy. Duanmu Ju was dead? How did he die? Among them Yin Kai, Huang Yu, and the rest could not help but glance at Lu Ming. Where did Lu Ming get so many points from? He couldn't have gotten so many points by hunting beasts alone. Could it be Duanmu Ju's? Speak, how did Duanmu Ju die? Duanmu Jin shouted with a gloomy face. His throat was slit by a sword. A young man said. Slit by a sword? Who killed him? Duanmu Jin exuded a cold killing intent as he asked. I don't know. When we found Duanmu Ju, he was already dead. There were also 2 third-level martial master disciples from the White Tiger Hall who died with him. What? You don't know who it was? Duanmu Jin's eyes flickered with killing intent as he turned around and looked at Lu Ming. Lu Ming, speak. Did you kill Duanmu Ju? Duanmu Jin, what do you mean? Before Lu Ming could answer, Xie Kuang's expression changed and he stepped forward. Lu Ming smiled and said, Elder Duanmu, which eye of yours saw me kill Duanmu Ju? You also heard that there were 2 third-level martial master experts beside Duanmu Ju. Do you think I can kill him? Many people fell into deep thought when they heard this. That's right. How could Lu Ming kill Duanmu Ju and 2 third-level martial master experts? Impossible. Duanmu Jin sneered and said, How do you explain that you have so many points on you? I'm sure that you must have used some despicable method to kill Duanmu Ju. What a despicable and shameless person. I'll cripple you now. Bang. Then Duanmu Jin took a step forward and a huge aura soared from his body. It was like a mountain and it pressed down on Lu Ming. This pressure was too strong. Lu Ming felt as if he had been hit by a mountain. His body trembled violently as he retreated, almost coughing up a mouthful of blood. Duanmu Jin, what are you doing? Xie Kuang roared. He took a step forward and stood in front of Lu Ming. Similarly, a powerful aura gushed out from him and blocked Duanmu Jin's aura. Xie Kuang scram. Duanmu Jin roared. Fatty Duanmu, is your fucking brain full of fat? In the Mystic Essence Sword Sex trial, the winner was always the king. What rule did they have to explain the origin of the Iron Token? What the fuck have you been doing for so many years? Lu Ming wasn't the type to suffer a loss. At this moment, anger welled up in his heart and he cursed loudly. Everyone's mouths were wide open. This Lu Ming was too bold. He actually dared to curse Duanmu Jin in front of everyone. Sure enough, Duanmu Jin was trembling with anger. He raised his trembling arm and pointed at Lu Ming saying, Little bastard, what did you say? So your ears are also bad. What the fuck have you been doing for so long? Lu Ming curled his lips. I'll kill you, little bastard. Duanmu Jin's eyes were red and he threw out a palm attack. Stop right there. Xia Kuang threw out a punch and blocked Duanmu Jin's palm attack. Boom. A strong wind blew and both of them were pushed back. Xia Kuang scram. Otherwise I'll kill you too. Duanmu Jin shouted. I'm afraid you don't have the ability. Xia Kuang didn't give in. Boom. At this moment, a strong pressure suddenly pressed down from the sky. This pressure was as deep as the sea. Xia Kuang and Duanmu Jin's bodies shook violently, and they couldn't move at all. Silver-robed elder. Both of them were shocked. In the sky, an old man was floating there, and his eyes were filled with displeasure. He shouted, "Both of you are cultivation-imparting elders. How can you fight to the death in front of so many disciples? Do you want the younger disciples to laugh at you?" Elder Wang, this Lu Ming used despicable means to kill Duanmu Ju and the others. He must be punished. I suggest that he be stripped of his first place. Duanmu Jin cupped his fists and said to the silver-robed elder in the sky. Hehe, Duanmu Jin, which eye of yours saw me using despicable means to kill Duanmu Ju and the others? How dare you say that you haven't been living for so long? Since he was already enemies with the Duanmu family, Lu Ming didn't have the slightest fear. He could say whatever he wanted and scold them to his heart's content. Moreover, he was sure that the silver-robed elder and Xia Kuang wouldn't let anything happen to him. How dare you? How dare you? You have no respect for your seniors. Duanmu Jin shouted and the fat on his body shook violently. He was so angry that he wanted to slap Lu Ming into meat paste. Duanmu Jin, what are you shouting for? Just say it if you want to go back on your words. You slandered a new genius disciple for just 30 crystals. This is the first time I've seen someone like you. Xia Kuang seized the opportunity and mocked. You? Duanmu Jin was so angry that he almost vomited blood. His chest rose and fell rapidly and his fat face turned red. Nearby, the others were watching with their mouths agape. Even geniuses like Huang Yu and Xia Hong looked at Lu Ming in a different light. Their identities were extraordinary, but even they didn't dare to scold an elder of the Duanmu family in public. This Lu Ming was simply lawless. After taking a few deep breaths, Duanmu Jin finally calmed down. He cupped his fist towards the silver-robed elder and said, Elder Wang, I'm sure that this Lu Ming must have used despicable means to obtain so many iron tokens. If he gets first place, I'm afraid that the other new disciples won't be convinced. I suggest that we test his strength. If his strength is passable, then I'll admit that he's the first place. No, Elder Wang. Since ancient times, the newcomer's trial has always been based on the score. There's never any restriction on how one obtains the iron tokens. Xia Kuang quickly said. Duanmu Jin sneered and said, Xia Kuang, don't forget that the previous newcomer's strength was recognized. Even if they were lucky, their strength was still not to be underestimated. But this Lu Ming, where did he come from? What ability does he have? His words were filled with contempt. The silver-robed elder thought for a while and said, Duanmu Jin, how do you want to test him? Very simple. Duanmu Tao, come out. Duanmu Jin waved his hand and said. Immediately, a young man walked out from the group of old disciples. Duanmu Jin pointed at the young man and said, This time among the new disciples, the strongest one is a fourth-layer martial master. Duanmu Tao's cultivation is also at the fourth-layer martial master. As long as Lu Ming defeats Duanmu Tao, I'll admit that Lu Ming is the first place. Otherwise, I suggest that Lu Ming's first place be revoked. Xia Kuang's expression changed and said, I object. This Duanmu Tao has been in the sect for 3 years. Although his cultivation is only at the fourth-layer martial master, he has been cultivating for 3 years. How can a new disciple compare to him? This battle is unfair. What? If you don't have the strength, then say so. It's not that easy to become the newcomer's king. Duanmu Jin sneered. Alright, I agree. Chapter 49. Lu Ming stepped forward with a faint smile on his face. Xia Kuang's expression changed again. Lu Ming, don't be impulsive. It was rare for the Vermilion Bird Courtyard to obtain the title of the best newcomer king this time. Their reputation would definitely soar in the future. The sect would also give more resources to the Vermilion Bird Courtyard. He could not bear to see Lu Ming lose the ranking due to a moment of impulse. Lu Ming smiled and said to Xia Kuang, Elder Xia, don't worry. He's just a disciple of the Duanmu family who has cultivated for a few years. What can he do? Then he said to Duanmu Jin, I agree. Good. Seeing Lu Ming agree, Duanmu Jin was overjoyed. He cupped his fists and said to the silver-gowned elder, Elder Wang, Lu Ming has agreed. Please allow it. Elder Wang nodded and said, Good. Since it's like this, we'll do as you say. Thank you, Elder Wang. Duanmu Jin barely suppressed the joy in his heart. He looked at Duanmu Tao and said, Duanmu Tao, do you understand? Lu Ming is a candidate for the newcomer king. His talent is very high. You have to do your best, understand? Understood. Don't worry, Elder Jean. There was a sinister smile at the corners of Duanmu Tao's lips. He looked at Lu Ming and said, Lu Ming, it's not too late for you to admit defeat now. When we fight later, the saber and sword have no eyes. If you get hurt, don't blame me for not reminding you. Duanmu Jin retreated a dozen meters and said, Duanmu Tao, just do your best. My Mystic Essence Sword Sect's newcomer king needs real talent, not trash who relies on luck. You don't have a chance now. Duanmu Tao smiled sinisterly. He suddenly moved and unsheathed his sword, slashing towards Lu Ming. Shwa, shwa. The sword flashed in midair and 9 sword flowers appeared. Each flower was like a plum blossom enveloping Lu Ming's body. This is a yellow rank upper-level martial skill, Heavenly Plum Sword Art. Duanmu Tao has cultivated it for many years and has already reached the 4th level. The eyes of the Azure Dragon Hall's imparting elder lit up. That's right, this Duanmu Tao's cultivation isn't very high, but his comprehension of martial skills is pretty good. To be able to cultivate a high-level yellow-level martial skill to such a level in just a few years, that's quite rare. Duanmu Jin really has a good plan for Duanmu Tao to fight. I'm afraid that among this batch of newcomers, no one is a match for Duanmu Tao. The elder of the Black Tortoise Academy said. Despicable. Xie Kuang clenched his fists, his eyes filled with worry. Eeh. Duanmu Jin sneered. But at this time, Lu Ming's face also had a sneer. His body was motionless. With a clang, a sword light burst out like lightning. Fast, too fast. In a flash, it was right in front of Duanmu Tao's face. The cold sword edge made Duanmu Tao's heart shiver. Retreat. Without the slightest hesitation, Duanmu Tao frantically retreated, and that whatever sword flower also disappeared without a trace. The smile on Duanmu Jin's face froze. What a fast sword. This is also a high-grade yellow-level sword art. The elder of the Azure Dragon Academy's face changed. That's right. This is a high-grade yellow-level sword art, flowing light sword art. I estimate that Lu Ming has at least cultivated it to the 4th level or even the 5th level. The elder of the Black Tortoise Academy said, his eyes flashing. Xie Kuang, on the other hand, was ecstatic. Lu Ming was just a beginner. He did not expect his attainment in martial arts to be so high. Duanmu Tao, this is the martial arts that you've been cultivating for years? After years of hard work, you're only at this level. Come out and make a fool of yourself. Lu Ming said with a faint smile. Damn it, take another move from me. Duanmu Tao roared. His body swayed, bringing out a series of afterimages as he attacked Lu Ming. A powerful sword chi burst out from the body of the sword. He slashed out 7 or 8 sword chi at Lu Ming. So what if his sword art was fast? He wanted to use his powerful true chi to suppress Lu Ming. I don't want to play with you anymore. Lu Ming muttered and suddenly slashed out with his long sword. A sword chi that was even sharper than Duanmu Tao's swept out. Lu Ming had broken through to the 3rd level of the martial master realm. The quality of his true chi was already above Duanmu Tao's. With a few puffs, Duanmu Tao's sword chi was destroyed. Then Lu Ming punched out with his left hand. Flame Dragon Fist. This punch directly landed on Duanmu Tao's dantian. Duanmu Tao screamed as his body flew backwards and fell heavily to the ground. His face was pale as he spat out large mouthfuls of blood. Silence. The entire arena fell into silence. 2 moves, from start to finish, Lu Ming had defeated Duanmu Tao in just 2 moves. With this kind of battle strength, was he still a new disciple? My cyclone, my cultivation, Lu Ming, you crippled my cultivation? Duanmu Tao let out a mournful scream. That punch just now, the powerful fist force had already destroyed the cyclone in Duanmu Tao's dantian. Boom. Lu Ming. Duanmu Jin exuded a cold murderous intent. He was about to dash toward Lu Ming. However, Xie Kuang took a step forward and blocked in front of Duanmu Jin. Xie Kuang, get out of my way. I'm going to cripple this little bastard. He actually used such a heavy hand in a sparring match. His character is low, he deserves to be killed. Duanmu Jin shouted. Duanmu Jin, when it comes to fighting, swords have no eyes. This is what Duanmu Tao said himself. I was able to control my strength and not kill him. It's fine if you don't thank me, but you're saying my character is low. I think the one with a low character is you. Lu Ming shouted. Little bastard, die. Duanmu Jin could no longer hold it in. His face turned red and he almost suffered internal injuries. Enough. The silver-robed elder waved his hand and a powerful force emerged. Xie Kuang and Duanmu Jin both retreated. Elder Wang, you have to help Duanmu Tao. Duanmu Jin shouted. Elder Wang frowned and said, Duanmu Jin, that's enough. When two people fight, swords have no eyes. Injuries are unavoidable. Don't be unreasonable. The silver-robed elders who were in charge of supervising didn't belong to any of the four great sections. They were directly sent by the sect master to ensure fairness and not be biased towards any of the four great sections. When he saw Lu Ming's talent and strength, he was quite happy. After all, the Mystic Essence Sword sect had another genius. However, Duanmu Jin wanted to kill Lu Ming for his own selfish desires. This already made him unhappy. This battle has also proven Lu Ming's strength. Now that almost everyone has come out, I announce that the first place is Lu Ming. Elder Wang announced. Damn it. Duanmu Jin's face was extremely ugly. He knew that he couldn't deal with Lu Ming today. Lu Ming, let's see how long you can be arrogant. Offending my Duanmu family will not end well. Duanmu Jin roared in his heart. Not far away, Huang Yu, Xia Hong and the rest looked at Lu Ming with complicated expressions. Lu Ming's strength was beyond their expectations. They concluded that Duanmu Ju must have died in Lu Ming's hands. They secretly rejoiced that they didn't catch up with Lu Ming in the secluded Night Mountain range. Otherwise they would be the ones dead. Duanmu Jin, 30 spiritual crystals. Hand it over. At this moment, Xia Kuang walked in front of Duanmu Jin and sneered. Kikik. Duanmu Jin gritted his teeth, but in front of everyone he couldn't act shamelessly. He took out 30 spiritual crystals and handed it over to Xia Kuang. Haha. Xia Kuang laughed heartily. After a while, the time was up and Elder Wang began to announce the rankings. Second place Huang Yu. Third place Xia Hong. The rankings were announced one by one. Feng Wu obtained the 22nd place with 131 points. After the rankings were announced, Elder Wang continued, well, this year's trial for new disciples has come to an end. Those who have obtained rewards will be awarded together when you return to the sect and apply for the sect's identity jade token. Everyone is dismissed. Chapter 50. In the training field of the Vermilion Bird Courtyard, all the new disciples had gathered. Above them, other than Elder Xia Kuang, there were several other elders. There was even a silver-robed elder from the Vermilion Bird Courtyard. Every elder had a smile on their faces. Now I will issue you your identity jade token. This jade token not only contains your basic information, but also your sect's contribution points. When you need contribution points, you can use this jade token to make a transaction. A jade token appeared in the silver-robed elder's hand. He continued, this time, although our Vermilion Bird Courtyard's overall results were not good, Lu Ming won the title of Newcomer King. You should know that our Vermilion Bird Courtyard hasn't had a Newcomer King in 8 years. This is our Vermilion Bird Courtyard's honor. Therefore, this time, not only will the first place be rewarded with 5,000 contribution points and a spirit condensing fruit, our Vermilion Bird Courtyard will also add 2,000 contribution points. Lu Ming, come and receive your reward. As soon as these words came out, everyone's eyes turned to Lu Ming. Their eyes were filled with envy, jealousy and so on. Among them, Yin Kai's eyes were extremely cold. His eyes were constantly moving and no one knew what he was thinking. Lu Ming walked forward and received the jade token and a jade box. Lu Ming's consciousness sank into the jade token, and a row of words appeared on the jade token. Lu Ming, 15 years old, from Windfire City, Mystic Essence Sword Sect, Vermilion Bird Courtyard's bronze disciple. Residence, Courtyard 29, Room 1. Contribution points, 7,000. The information inside was very comprehensive. Even the residence was marked. And the jade box contained the spirit condensing fruit. Thank you, Elder. Lu Ming cupped his fists and bowed, then retreated. Next, it was time for the others to receive their jade tokens. After receiving their tokens, everyone dispersed. Lu Ming headed towards the Vermilion Bird Peak. The Vermilion Bird Peak was very majestic. It towered into the clouds and was very wide. On the peak, ancient trees formed a forest. Birds chirped and flowers bloomed. It was like a paradise on earth. Halfway up the mountain, a number of unique courtyards were built. These courtyards were the dormitories of the Vermilion Bird Courtyard's disciples. What a dense heaven and earth spirit chi. The heaven and earth spirit chi here is several times denser than the odd job disciple district. No wonder everyone wants to become a bronze-ranked disciple. It's said that the silver-ranked disciples, elders and headmasters all live near the top of the mountain. The spiritual chi of heaven and earth there is richer than here. Lu Ming thought as he walked. The doors of these courtyards were marked with numbers. Soon Lu Ming found Courtyard 29. The courtyard was quite spacious. There was a courtyard inside which was convenient for cultivating martial skills. There were also 3 rooms. The room in the middle was labeled Room 1. The other 2 rooms were Room 2 and Room 3. Lu Ming walked straight into Room 1. The room was very simple. There was only a bed and a table. There was a small booklet on the table that introduced the basic information of the mystic Yuan sword sect. Of course, it also introduced the Burning Sun Empire. Lu Ming glanced at it and put it away. At this time, footsteps came from outside. Lu Ming walked out of the room. A teenager around 15 or 16 years old walked in. He was tall and sturdy with thick eyebrows and big eyes. He carried a sword wider than a palm on his back. When he saw Lu Ming, he was stunned for a moment. Then he was overjoyed and said, "Senior brother Lu Ming, you're also assigned to Courtyard 29? Ah, that's great. Then we'll be roommates from now on." The burly teenager laughed. Lu Ming smiled and said, "Brother, you're too polite. How should I address you?" "My name is Pang Shi. I'm a hunter from Fuhai City." The burly teenager hurriedly introduced himself with enthusiasm. After a simple introduction, Lu Ming understood that Pang Shi was the son of a hunter family in Fuhai City. Because of his natural strength and his bloodline awakening at the age of 14, his family sent him to the mystic Yuan sword sect to participate in the assessment. Not only did he pass, but he also became a bronze disciple. Looking at this young hunter, Lu Ming felt that his talent was not simple. Otherwise, an ordinary hunter would not have passed the assessment and completed the trial so easily. "I'll need senior brother Lu Ming's guidance in the future. I'm a little stupid." Pang Shi scratched his head and said, "Ask him to guide you? I think you'd better follow me in the future." At this time, a handsome young man in a green robe walked into the courtyard. The young man's skin was fair and his eyes were long and narrow. He was tall and thin, and there was an undisguised arrogance between his eyebrows. After the green-robed young man walked in, he looked at Lu Ming and sneered, "Lu Ming, remember, my name is Hua Qi. Although you've won the newcomer king title, it's nothing. I've just entered the mystic Yuan sword sect. In a year I'll surpass you." "Lovestruck? What a strange name." Pang Shi ignored the other content and said in surprise. Suddenly, the green-robed young man's face froze and he roared, "You big guy, idiot, what nonsense are you talking about? My name is Hua Qi, not Lovestruck." "Still Lovestruck, senior brother Lu Ming, isn't that right?" Pang Shi scratched his head and asked in bewilderment. Lu Ming could not help laughing and said, "Pang Shi, you're right. I also heard that it's Lovestruck. You 2 country bumpkins, it's useless to rely on your mouths. Just wait and see. Soon, my name will be famous in the mystic Yuan sword sect and even the entire Blazing Sun Empire." Hua Qi's eyes were full of confidence. He then snorted and ignored Lu Ming and Pang Shi as he walked into room number 2. Lu Ming smiled and said goodbye to Pang Shi before returning to his room. After returning to his room, Lu Ming began to cultivate the true dragon fighting technique. Ever since he had broken through to the martial master realm, Lu Ming had been constantly devouring blood essence and his cultivation had soared. Now, his foundation was a little unstable and his genuine qi was full of impurities. He had to stop and spend time to consolidate and condense it. An unstable foundation was a huge problem. It would affect one's future cultivation. In the end, his cultivation would even stop and it would be difficult to improve. Even with the spirit-devouring bug bloodline, it was useless to devour blood essence. Circulating the true dragon fighting technique, the vortex in his dantian spun continuously, forming tiny dragon-shaped genuine qi that flowed through his meridians and constantly refined the impurities in his genuine qi. 6 hours later, Lu Ming opened his eyes. "At this rate, I should be able to completely consolidate my cultivation in about 10 days. Then it's time to cultivate the second level of the true dragon fighting technique. Once I reach the martial master realm, my advantage will weaken. As long as I cultivate the true dragon fighting technique to the second level, my strength will increase greatly. I've already collected 2 of the 3 most important materials for the second level of the true dragon fighting technique. I'm only missing the blood smoke stone. I'll go to the contribution hall in 2 days to see if there are any blood smoke stones there." Lu Ming kept pondering in his heart. Chapter 51. In the blink of an eye, 2 days had passed. "Lu Ming, get out here." On this day, Lu Ming was cultivating. Suddenly, a loud roar came from outside. "Ning Feng." Lu Ming remembered this voice very clearly. It was the senior disciple who had deliberately caused trouble for him when he had just entered the sect. "This Ning Feng sent someone to kill me during the trial. I didn't look for you, but you came looking for me first." A cold light flashed in Lu Ming's eyes. He got up and walked out of the door. When he walked out of the door, he saw Pang Shi and Hua Qi also walking out of their rooms. They were obviously alarmed. "Senior brother Lu, what's going on?" Pang Shi showed a trace of worry. "Don't worry." Lu Ming smiled. "Lu Ming, get out here." Ning Feng's voice rang out again. His voice rumbled and spread far and wide. Creak. Lu Ming opened the door of the courtyard and walked out. Outside the courtyard stood 7 or 8 young men. The one in the lead was Ning Feng, and standing beside Ning Feng was actually Yin Kai. As for the others, each of them had a strong aura. They were obviously senior disciples of the Vermilion Bird Courtyard. "Lu Ming, you finally came out. I thought you were going to be a coward." Ning Feng looked coldly at Lu Ming. Deep in his eyes, there was a flash of killing intent. This Lu Ming was beyond his expectations. During the newcomer's trial, he had arranged for a martial master expert and the Duanmu family to cooperate with him to kill Lu Ming. Under such circumstances, Lu Ming was not killed. Lu Ming even obtained the title of newcomer king. This was simply unbelievable. When he heard the news, he was so shocked that he jumped up. Lu Ming's talent was beyond his imagination. He had to nip it in the bud. "Coward? Ning Feng, do you think you're worthy?" Lu Ming looked indifferently at Ning Feng. "Ah. Lu Ming, don't think that you can be arrogant just because you obtained the title of newcomer king. In my eyes, you're nothing. Moreover, you obtained the title of newcomer king through despicable means. Lu Ming, do you know? You've committed a great crime. Kneel down and accept your punishment." Ning Feng shouted. At this moment, the entire area had been alarmed. One figure after another walked out of the courtyards. There were even senior disciples. Everyone looked over and discussed fervently. "I don't know. But..." No wonder. Ning Feng was aggressive, but Lu Ming wasn't afraid at all. "Ning Feng, you don't have to slander me. What crime did I commit?" "What crime? Let me ask you, during the trial, the 500-point iron plate was originally obtained by junior brother Yin Kai. However, for your own selfish desires, you colluded with the disciples of the other courtyards to intercept junior brother Yin Kai midway, causing junior brother Yin Kai to painfully lose his 500-point iron plate. Originally, the position of newcomer king was junior brother Yin Kai's. Not only that, in order to obtain the 500-point iron token, you actually killed my Vermilion Bird Courtyard's genius disciple, Yuan Lang. Such behavior is heinous and deserves 1,000 deaths. Now kneel down and accept your punishment." Ning Feng roared, his aura threatening. This Ning Feng really knows how to slander. Isn't that so? Not far away, some senior disciples were discussing. There was a rule in the Mystic Essence Sword sect that disciples were not allowed to kill each other. But there were times and places where there were exceptions. For example, the life and death arena or the newcomer trial. The newcomer trial had been passed down in the Mystic Essence Sword sect for a long time. In fact, everyone knew that the trial was to test one's overall ability. In the trial, any method could be used, including killing. But this was an unspoken rule that couldn't be said out loud. If it was said out loud, it would be the crime of killing a fellow disciple. But which newcomer trial didn't kill? Impossible. This was clearly a case of, if you want to condemn someone, there's no need to worry about the pretext. "Ning Feng, you're here to say this? You're using this idiotic reason? I don't have time to talk nonsense with you." After speaking, Lu Ming turned around and walked inside. He was too lazy to talk nonsense with Ning Feng. Damn it. Lu Ming's attitude made Ning Feng grit his teeth and roared, "Lu Ming, how dare you? Do you still have the sex rules in your eyes? Kneel down." Swish. Ning Feng's palm struck towards Lu Ming. If this palm hit, Lu Ming would be seriously injured even if he didn't die. "Senior brother Lu Ming, be careful," Pang Shi reminded. Boom. At the critical moment, Lu Ming quickly turned around and blasted out the flame dragon fist. Bang. Lu Ming's fist collided with Ning Feng's palm. With a loud bang, Lu Ming took 5 steps back. His body trembled and he spat out a mouthful of blood. "Newcomer king? You're just a piece of trash. Today I'll cripple you and slowly interrogate you." Ning Feng's face was cold and disdainful. He took a step forward and struck another palm at Lu Ming. "You want to cripple me? I'll make you pay a painful price." Lu Ming held the hilt of his sword and his eyes flashed with a ruthless light. He planned to activate his bloodline and make Ning Feng pay the price even if he had to take a hit from Ning Feng. "Stop." But at this moment, a delicate shout sounded out. A figure rushed over like lightning and a strong palm wind struck towards Ning Feng. The sharpness of the palm wind was not any weaker than Ning Feng's. Helpless, Ning Feng could only turn around and face the attack. Bang. As the two palms collided, Ning Feng's body swayed slightly. Yuan Hui, it's you? Why are you blocking me? Seeing who it was, Ning Feng's face changed. Lu Ming was also a little surprised. The one who attacked was a young woman around 18 or 19 years old. She was quite beautiful. But Lu Ming didn't know her, so why did she help him? But immediately he understood. Another figure flew over. It was Feng Wu. Lu Ming, are you alright? Don't worry, senior sister Yuan is one of Sister Mulin's people. She won't let Ning Feng do whatever he wants. Feng Wu looked at Lu Ming with a look of concern in his eyes. I'm fine. Lu Ming laughed. At this time Yuan Hui said, Ning Feng, I might as well tell you Lu Ming was introduced by Elder Mulin's. Now you know why I blocked you. What? Elder Mulin's? When Ning Feng heard Mulin's name, his face immediately became serious. At the side, Yin Kai's face also darkened. How can this Lu Ming be so lucky? Damn it. Yin Kai clenched his teeth. Originally, when he saw Lu Ming being injured by Ning Feng, he was secretly happy, but he didn't expect Yuan Hui to appear. Got it, hurry up and leave. Yuan Hui stared at Ning Feng and said. Chapter 52. Ning Feng, if you want to deal with me, do you need to use such a lowly reason? Do you want us to go find the law enforcement elder and see if I'm guilty or not? Lu Ming looked at Ning Feng with disdain and said. Why would I need to find the law enforcement elder for such a small matter? Ning Feng sneered. Senior apprentice brother Ning, this is where you are wrong. I am also a new disciple and have just participated in the smelting trial. During the smelting trial, killing each other is very normal. I saw a senior apprentice brother being killed by a person from the Duanmu clan. Why didn't senior apprentice brother Ning bring some people to capture that Duanmu clan disciple? At this moment, Pang Shi walked out, rubbed his head and said with a simple and honest face. That's right, Ning Feng, you're so righteous. Go and capture the people of the Duanmu family. You only know how to shout here. Don't you find it embarrassing? Feng Wu stood beside Lu Ming and shouted. This caused Ning Feng's face to turn ugly. How was it possible for him to capture a disciple of the Duanmu family? He immediately looked at Pang Shi unkindly and berated, Who do you think you are? How dare you speak to me like that? Scram to the side. Then he looked at Yuan Hui and shouted, Yuan Hui, get out of my way. Ning Feng, if you have the ability, then defeat me. Otherwise, don't even think about touching a single hair on Lu Ming's head. Yuan Hui's attitude was very firm. Yuan Hui's attitude was so resolute that it caused Ning Feng's face to darken. He then looked at Lu Ming and said, Lu Ming, what kind of newcomer king are you? Do you only know how to hide behind a woman? Ning Feng, you've been in the sect for 4 or 5 years, right? How about this, you and Lu Ming will fight in a year's time, how about it? Yuan Hui said. Senior sister Yuan, why do you need a year? 1 month is enough. Lu Ming took a step forward and faced Ning Feng, saying, Ning Feng, I am challenging you right now. 1 month later, on the Vermilion Bird stage, a life and death battle, do you dare? Lu Ming's clear voice, which spread far and wide, caused an uproar. What? Lu Ming wants to challenge Ning Feng? And a month later, isn't he courting death? Ning Feng has already reached the peak of the 6th level of the Martial Master Realm. It is said that he is only a step away from the 7th level of the Martial Master Realm. Furthermore, he has bitterly cultivated a high-grade yellow-rank martial skill for nearly 5 years and has already reached the 5th level, the realm of perfection. This Lu Ming actually dares to challenge Ning Feng in a month? That's right. This Lu Ming is at most a 4th-grade martial master. It's impossible for him to defeat Ning Feng in a month. He's too arrogant. I think he's blindly confident after receiving the title of newcomer king. You overestimate yourself. Most of the people who were discussing this were the older disciples. They all felt that Lu Ming was too arrogant. Ning Feng's eyes flashed, revealing a trace of joy as he said, Lu Ming, you want to challenge me in a month? That's right. Do you dare? Lu Ming said. Ah, what's there to be afraid of? I'll take it. Ning Feng laughed. With Lu Ming's talent, perhaps surpassing him in a year's time wouldn't be a problem. However, it was impossible for him to fight him in a month's time. Lu Ming was courting death. Since he was blocked by Yuan Hui today, he might as well agree first. He wanted to kill Lu Ming in front of everyone in a month's time. The thought of killing a newcomer king made him incomparably excited. Lu Ming, I hope that you won't hide like a turtle in a month's time. Ning Feng said. These words are exactly what I wanted to give you. Lu Ming said. It's useless to rely on your mouth. Let's go. Ning Feng waved his hand and left with all the older disciples. Lu Ming, you're too impulsive. How can you challenge Ning Feng in a month's time? After Ning Feng and the rest left, Feng Wu said worriedly. That's right. You can agree to fight him in a year's time, or even half a year. With me here, Ning Feng won't be able to do anything to you today. Yuan Hui frowned and said. She also felt that Lu Ming was too arrogant. She didn't like this personality. Sooner or later she would suffer a great loss. Lu Ming smiled and said, It's fine, but I still have to thank senior sister Yuan for her help today. You don't have to thank me. I'm also looking at Elder Mulin's. I hope you can take care of yourself. With that, Yuan Hui turned and left. Lu Ming, then you should cultivate well during this period of time. If you need any help, feel free to find me. Feng Wu said. Lu Ming nodded and said, Definitely. Then I'll be leaving first. Feng Wu glanced at Lu Ming, then left as well. Senior brother Lu Ming, I believe you will definitely win. Pang Shi walked over and said. How could it be that easy to win against Ning Feng? Let me tell you, Ning Feng's cultivation is said to have already reached the peak of the 6th level of the martial master, and his father is one of the chief elders of the Vermilion Bird Courtyard. Hua Qi said coldly from the side. Lu Ming smiled slightly. This Hua Qi was a person with a cold face but a warm heart. This was a reminder to him. I believe in senior brother Lu Ming. Senior brother Lu Ming is the newcomer king. Pang Shi grinned. Naive. Hua Qi shook his head and walked back to the courtyard. Peak of the 6th level of the martial master realm? Lu Ming whispered, his eyes revealing a determined look. After informing Pang Shi, he went down the Vermilion Bird Peak and headed towards the Contribution Hall of the Mystic Essence Sword Sect. The Contribution Hall of the Mystic Essence Sword Sect was close to the center of the 4 great academies. It was the most prosperous place in the Mystic Essence Sword Sect. That place was the center of the 4 great academies. The Qilin Courtyard was in this area, as well as the Contribution Hall and the Mission Hall. Lu Ming planned to go to the Contribution Hall to see if there were any blood smoke stones to exchange for. Half an hour later, Lu Ming arrived at the Contribution Hall. The Contribution Hall covered an area of a few hundred mu. It was very spacious and bustling with people coming and going. There were many small rooms built around the main hall. Lu Ming would only allow someone to enter when he saw someone walk out. Every time someone entered, a sign with the words, "Occupied," would appear at the door of the room. This was to protect the privacy of the disciples. After all, the items that some people exchange for might be very precious. If someone with ulterior motives found out, it might be disadvantageous to the disciple who exchanged for it. Lu Ming looked around for a while and saw someone walking out of a room. Lu Ming quickly walked into the room. The room wasn't big. There was a table and a few chairs. There was a counter on one side and a white-haired old man was sitting at the counter. Little brother, do you want to exchange for contribution points? Or do you want to exchange for contribution points? When the old man saw Lu Ming, he asked with a smile. Senior, I want to ask if there are any blood smoke stones here? Lu Ming asked as he looked at the old man with anticipation. Blood smoke stone? You want to exchange for a blood smoke stone? The old man raised his eyebrows and asked in surprise. Could it be that there weren't any? Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat as he asked, Senior, could it be that there aren't any blood smoke stones to exchange for? Yes, of course there are. However, the price of blood smoke stones isn't cheap. 1 gene of blood smoke stone requires 3,000 contribution points. The old man said. What? 3,000 contribution points? Chapter 53. 3,000 sect contribution points were equivalent to 300,000 taels of silver. And the amount of blood smoke stone he needed was 1.5 caddies. In other words, he needed a total of 4,500 contribution points. He had a total of 7,000 contribution points, and he had used up 2/3 of them. Young friend, are you still exchanging? The old man asked with a smile. Yes, of course. Lu Ming gritted his teeth and said. No matter how many contribution points he needed, he had to exchange them. No matter how many contribution points he had, they would only show their value when they were converted into strength. In his hands, it was just a bunch of numbers. The old man was slightly surprised. He saw that Lu Ming was young and thought that he couldn't afford it. He didn't expect him to be able to take out so many contribution points. Lu Ming took out his identity jade token and handed it to the old man. Senior, this is my identity jade token. The old man took Lu Ming's identity jade token and placed it on a circular metal platform. The metal platform flickered and a row of words appeared. It was Lu Ming's personal information. So this young friend is this year's newcomer King Lu Ming. Ah, nice to meet you. The old man was slightly surprised when he saw Lu Ming's information. Then he smiled. Senior, you're too polite. Newcomer King is just a title. Lu Ming shook his head. The old man nodded. Lu Ming was able to remain humble after obtaining the newcomer king title. This made the old man's impression of Lu Ming increase greatly. Then he swiped a few times on the metal platform. Lu Ming saw that the words on it were changing. The original 7,000 contribution points suddenly became 2,500. After deducting the contribution points, the old man returned the identity jade token to Lu Ming. Then he turned and walked into a door at the back. After a while, the old man returned with a metal box in his hand. This is the blood smoke stone. It's exactly 1.5 caddies. Take a look, the old man said with a smile. Lu Ming took it and opened the metal box expectantly. It was a fist-sized blood-red stone that was cut into 4 squares. Strangely, there was a layer of faint red smoke floating above the stone. Blood smoke stone, I finally gathered the 3 most important treasures. I can now cultivate the 2nd level of the true dragon battle art. Lu Ming was overjoyed. Putting away the blood smoke stone, Lu Ming said, "Senior, I need a few other materials." After that, Lu Ming reported the other materials needed to cultivate the 2nd level of the true dragon fighting art. These materials were much cheaper. They only cost 200 contribution points in total. "Senior, is there any demonic beast blood essence exchange here?" After thinking for a moment, Lu Ming asked again. Demonic beast blood essence. These are materials used by inscribers to refine pills and weapons. Are you an inscriber? The old man asked in surprise. Lu Ming shook his head. No, I have other uses for it. Yes. The old man nodded and asked, what level of demonic beast blood essence do you need? 4th LV2 and 5th LV2, Lu Ming said. The old man said, 4th LV2 demonic beast blood essence costs 50 contribution points. 5th LV2 demonic beast blood essence costs 100 contribution points. The old man replied. So expensive? Lu Ming was surprised again. 4th LV2 demonic beast blood essence costs 50 contribution points, which was equivalent to 5,000 taels of silver. ALV1 upper grade spiritual weapon cost less than 5,000 taels of silver. It was ridiculously expensive. The old man explained with a smile, young friend, it's actually not too expensive. You should know that once a demonic beast dies, the essence of its blood essence will dissipate and lose its effect after an hour. That's right. Lu Ming nodded. He knew this very well. When his blood spirit devouring bug devoured the blood essence of a demonic beast or a human, it had to be done within an hour after the blood spirit devouring bug died. Otherwise it would lose its effect. Therefore, if you want to preserve the blood essence of a demonic beast, you must use a spirit sealing crystal. However, the spirit sealing crystal is a one-time use item. The higher the grade of the demonic beast's blood essence, the better the quality of the spirit sealing crystal. Therefore, the price of the demonic beast's blood essence is very high, the old man continued to explain. Lu Ming nodded. He knew this was true. Senior, give me 10 portions of 4th LV2 and 5th LV2 demonic beast blood essence each. Lu Ming gritted his teeth and said. If he wanted to improve his cultivation quickly within a month, he could only devour the blood essence of a demonic beast. As for hunting demonic beasts in the wild, it would be too inefficient. In the area where they had tested before, except for the mutant black-scaled lizard, the highest level of the other demonic beasts was only 4th LV2. If he wanted to hunt demonic beasts of 4th LV2 and above, he would have to travel further and more dangerous. Not to mention the danger, it would take a lot of time to find a suitable demonic beast. It was not worth it. The most convenient way was to buy the blood essence of a demonic beast directly. Okay, I'll prepare the blood essence for you, the old man said. After a while, the old man returned with the blood essence of a demonic beast. Lu Ming's contribution points were deducted by another 1,500 contribution points. All of a sudden he was only left with 700 contribution points. Lu Ming's heart ached when he spent them so quickly. But if he could convert them into strength, it was all worth it. Only by increasing one's strength could one obtain more treasures and contribution points. After collecting the blood essence of a demonic beast and the blood smoke stone, Lu Ming left the contribution hall and returned to his residence. After returning to his residence, Lu Ming did not immediately attempt to break through to level 2 of the true dragon skill. This was because his cultivation had not been fully consolidated and his true chi was not pure enough. Under such circumstances, it would be difficult to cultivate to level 2 of the true dragon skill. If he rashly cultivated, he might even waste the precious materials that he had obtained with great difficulty. To cultivate, one must ensure success in one go. Lu Ming continued to cultivate the true dragon skill. 8 days later, Lu Ming's cultivation had finally been fully consolidated. But Lu Ming spent another 2 days to make the true qi in his body as smooth and pure as one. At this time, Lu Ming was ready to break through to level 2 of the true dragon skill. Now, I need to mix these materials. Lu Ming took out the condensation fruit, lightning leopard's blood, blood smoke stone and other materials. He mixed these materials according to the method described in the true dragon skill. Although Lu Ming was not an inscription master, this was not alchemy. It was just a simple combination. Lu Ming could still do it easily. When these materials were mixed together, they formed a blood-red liquid that emitted a fragrance. Begin. After the materials were mixed, Lu Ming sat cross-legged on the bed and swallowed the blood-red liquid in one gulp. Once it was swallowed, the blood-red liquid was like a volcanic eruption, bursting out with scorching energy that surged towards Lu Ming's tendons and meridians. Once it entered the tendons and meridians, it mixed with Lu Ming's true qi and finally entered the Dantian cyclone. Sizzle. This surge of energy also emitted strong lightning. Together with this surge of energy, it began to temper Lu Ming's true qi. Chapter 54. Half a day later, Lu Ming's body emitted a roar that sounded like a dragon's roar. The vortex in his dantian started to spin rapidly. The spiritual qi of heaven and earth gathered crazily towards Lu Ming's body. Lu Ming's body was like a bottomless pit that was crazily devouring the spiritual qi. Even Hua Qi and Pang Shi in the other 2 rooms were alarmed. Lu Ming is cultivating. Is he breaking through? Why is there such a huge reaction? This speed of devouring spiritual qi is even more terrifying than a level 5 bloodline. Could it be that Lu Ming's bloodline has surpassed level 5? Hua Qi's eyes were filled with shock. Hoo. After a while the commotion stopped. In the room Lu Ming opened his eyes. I've finally mastered the 2nd level of the true dragon art. Such dense and condensed true qi. Lu Ming felt the dense true qi in his body and his face was filled with joy. His current true qi was 3 times that of an average person. Of course, the average person here was referring to those who cultivated yellow rank cultivation techniques. Because the higher the rank of the cultivation technique, the more mysterious the true qi would be. Some high-rank cultivation techniques would allow one to cultivate true qi that was denser and more condensed than ordinary cultivation techniques. Of course, it wouldn't be as terrifying as the true dragon art. Then Lu Ming got up and walked out of the room. After cultivating for more than 10 days, Lu Ming wanted to take a walk outside to relax. Just as he walked out of the room, he saw Hua Qi and Pang Shi also walking out of their rooms. Senior brother Lu, are you going to listen to the class too? Pang Shi smiled when he saw Lu Ming. Listen to the class? Lu Ming was stunned. Yeah, there's an elder from the Vermilion Bird Courtyard teaching us today. He's going to talk about some knowledge and things to pay attention to in cultivation. Senior brother Lu, don't you know? Pang Shi scratched his head and said, cough cough. Lu Ming coughed a few times. He really didn't know. He had been busy cultivating and didn't leave his room. Then let's go together. Lu Ming smiled. Since he had just finished his seclusion, he could go listen to the class. Lu Ming had only started cultivating for a few months. In these months, his cultivation had advanced by leaps and bounds. However, he had fallen behind in some fundamental things. Listening to the class would definitely be beneficial. Immediately, Lu Ming and Pang Shi walked together, while Hua Qi walked behind them with a cold face. The place where the elder was lecturing was on the other side of the Vermilion Bird Peak. There was a huge square there, and there were many praying mats placed on the square. At this moment, there were already a few hundred people sitting on futons in the square. They were all new disciples who had just entered the sect. Look, Lu Ming. I heard that after Lu Ming challenged senior brother Ning Feng, he went into seclusion. When the disciples saw Lu Ming, they could not help but whisper among themselves. Lu Ming sitting, Pang? Was Ming Ling was courtyard who at them? As time passed, the number of people gradually increased. In the end, there were about 500 people. Vermilion Bird Hall had about 1,000 new disciples, but during the trial, about 200 died in battle. Only 800 were left. It was normal for a portion of them to be in seclusion or not be here. At this moment, a figure came to the top of the square. Mullins? Seeing this figure, Lu Ming's eyes moved. This figure was actually Mullins, whom he hadn't seen for a few months. Mullins was wearing a tight black dress that perfectly outlined her hot figure and soul-stirring curves. She was extremely seductive. So beautiful. Sure enough, there was a male disciple beside Lu Ming. He stared at Mullins in shock and almost drooled. Not only him, but the other male disciples on the field were also the same. Each and every one of them had a perverted look on their faces as they stared at Mulan. Most of these disciples were 15 or 16 years old youths who were full of vigor. How could they resist the temptation of a rare beauty like Mulan? All perverts. The female disciples were unhappy and snorted. All right, please take a seat. Let me introduce you. I'm Mulins, the elder who will be teaching you this time. Mulins looked around and stopped at Lu Ming. What? She's an elder? Why is she so young? Pang Shi, who was beside Lu Ming, was shocked. What do you know? Let me tell you, Elder Mulins is talented and beautiful. She's only 20 years old, but her cultivation is unfathomable. It's very likely that she will become the next gold-ranked disciple. Behind them, Hua Qi curled his lips and stared at Mulins with a pair of burning eyes. So powerful? Then how did she become an elder? Pang Shi asked curiously. In the Mystic Essence Sword sect, true geniuses wouldn't become elders. Those who became elders or deacons were usually older, or those who had exhausted their potential. At Mulan's age, it was the golden age for cultivation. Moreover, her talent was peerless. There were very few people who could become elders. I don't know. Not many people know why Elder Mulins suddenly chose to become an elder. Elder Mulins is my goddess. My goal is to become a peerless expert and pursue her. Hua Qi looked infatuated. Above them, Mulins sat cross-legged on a futon and said, All right, let's start the lesson. First, we'll talk about the Meridian Opening Realm. Mulins began to talk about the details of the Meridian Opening Realm. She talked about some things to pay attention to in the use of this realm. His explanation was very detailed, covering all aspects. After talking about the Meridian Opening Realm, she started to talk about the Martial Soldier Realm and then the Martial Master Realm. Lu Ming listened very carefully. There were many things that Lu Ming didn't pay attention to or didn't understand before. After listening, Lu Ming felt that he had benefited a lot. He was also secretly shocked by Mulin's profound knowledge and thorough understanding. After 2 hours, Mulins stopped. All right, that's all for today. You can all leave now. Mulins waved her hand, then looked at Lu Ming and shouted, Lu Ming, you stay. Okay. Lu Ming was slightly stunned and nodded. However, Mulins's action caused a wave of whispers. Why did Elder Mulins leave Lu Ming behind? Could it be that Lu Ming and Elder Mulins know each other? Elder Mulins can't have taken a fancy to Lu Ming, right? Bah, how is that possible? Elder Mulins is my goddess, absolutely impossible. I'm so envious that Lu Ming can be alone with Elder Mulins. Elder Mulins is really too beautiful. If I could marry her, I would be willing to give up 10 years of my life. Stop dreaming. The surrounding disciples looked at Lu Ming with envy and jealousy. Lu Ming smiled bitterly. Mulins's charm was too strong. How can this be? Why did Elder Mulins leave Lu Ming alone? Lu Ming, you must be honest or I'll never let you off. Hua Qi looked at Lu Ming with a face full of resentment, wishing that he was the one who stayed. Lu Ming touched his nose speechlessly and walked towards Mulins. After a while, the people in the square dispersed, leaving only Mulins and Lu Ming. Chapter 55. Lu Ming, I haven't seen you for a few months. You really didn't disappoint me. Mulins had a playful smile on her face as she looked at Lu Ming with her big eyes. She didn't look as serious as before. Looking at Mulins up close, her figure was even more alluring. Smelling the fragrance coming from Mulins, Lu Ming's heart thumped. Elder Mulins, why did you ask me to stay? Mulins smiled. No need to be so formal. My senior sister. Senior sister Mu. Lu Ming cupped his fists. Lu Ming, you've caused quite a lot of trouble. You've obtained the title of newcomer king the moment you entered the sect. To be honest, it's really out of my expectations. Mulins carefully looked at Lu Ming for a while and revealed a curious expression. In the trial you killed Duanmuju, right? That's right. Lu Ming didn't hide it. In fact, this matter was easy to guess. There was no need to hide it. I knew it, but you have to be careful. Duanmuju is a rare genius of the Duanmu family. The Duanmu family won't let you off so easily. Also, are you confident in challenging Ningfeng? Mulin said worriedly. 60 to 70%. Lu Ming said. 60 to 70%? Looks like you're very confident. Mulins looked at Lu Ming in surprise. Lu Ming smiled. You should know a little about Ningfeng's strength. But do you know that Ningfeng's father is the chief elder of the Vermilion Bird Courtyard? Mulins asked. I know. Lu Ming nodded. He knew this from Hua Qi, although the elders of the Mystic Essence Sword sect were divided into ordinary elders, silver-robed elders and golden-robed elders. Silver-robed elders and golden-robed elders were elders with real power. As for ordinary elders, many of them were empty positions and didn't have much power. However, among the ordinary elders, there was a type of elder who also had a lot of power. That was the chief elder. The chief elder was the highest level of ordinary elders, second only to the silver-robed elder. Of course, his cultivation was also very high. Lu Ming had heard from Feng Wu that Mulin's was one of the chief elders of the Vermilion Bird Courtyard. However, there is one thing that you definitely don't know. Ning Feng's father has long since joined the Duanmu family. Therefore this time the Duanmu family will definitely support Ning Feng with all their might. Ning Feng was already at the peak of the 6th level of the Martial Master realm. What I'm most afraid of is that he will break through during this period of time. Mu Lan said with a solemn expression. Lu Ming's eyes flashed coldly. Lu Ming looked at Mulin's eagerly. He only had 700 contribution points left. It was too difficult for him to use them. It was better to borrow some for later. 3,000 contribution points. What do you need so many contribution points for? You were rewarded with 7,000 contribution points in the newcomer trial. It's all used up. Used up? Mulin's was speechless. 7,000 contribution points. In such a short period of time. Could it be that he was using contribution points to eat? That's right, I've used it up. Senior Sister Mulin's, can you lend me some? Lu Ming looked at Mulin's pitifully. Alright, give me your identity jade medallion. Mulin's said. Lu Ming took out his identity jade token and handed it to Mulin's. After Mulin's took it, she also took out her own identity jade token. The two identity jade tokens leaned against each other. Mulin's injected her true chi and the jade token started to shine. Mulin's slender fingers swiped a few times on the jade token. Then the light on the jade token dimmed. Lu Ming took back his identity jade token and looked at it. There were 3,000 contribution points in it. Lu Ming, when you earn enough contribution points you must return them to me. You also know that girls spend a lot. Mulin stared at Lu Ming with a pained expression. So stingy. She even said that if there's anything just say it. Lu Ming muttered softly. What did you say? Mulan widened her eyes and glared at Lu Ming viciously. No, nothing. Senior Sister Mulin's, I'm going back to cultivate. Lu Ming ran away. Looking in the direction that Lu Ming had left, Mulan revealed a smile on her face again. She said softly, it's quite interesting. Lu Ming, I hope you won't disappoint me. Although you are still very far away, you might still have a chance to enter that place in the future. After saying that, Mulin's also left. After returning to his residence, Lu Ming entered the Temple of Paragon and sat down cross-legged. He took out a jade box and opened it. There were 10 crystals neatly placed inside. 9 drops of blood essence were sealed in each crystal. These 10 crystals were the blood essence of Class 4 LV2 demonic beasts. Lu Ming picked up a crystal and squeezed it hard. A few inscriptions shone on the spirit sealing crystal. Crack. Then the spirit sealing crystal shattered and turned into a pile of debris. 9 drops of demonic beast blood essence emerged. Devour. Lu Ming immediately manipulated his bloodline to produce a strong suction force and devoured the 9 drops of blood essence. Soon they were converted into energy and flowed into Lu Ming's body. Lu Ming activated the true dragon fighting technique and began to absorb and refine the energy. Lu Ming's cultivation was increasing rapidly. Soon, the blood essence of a demonic beast was completely refined. The energy essence in the blood essence is slightly weaker than the one I just killed. Lu Ming sensed it carefully. This was normal. Although the spirit sealing crystal could seal the loss of energy, it was not 100%. There would still be some energy loss. Continue. Lu Ming crushed the second spirit sealing crystal and began to refine it. In the blink of an eye, a day had passed and he had refined all 10 Class 4 LV2 demonic beasts' blood essence. However, Lu Ming's cultivation had not advanced to LV4 Martial Master. He was still in the late stage of LV3 Martial Master. Sure enough, the second level of the true dragon fighting technique consumes more energy. Lu Ming thought to himself helplessly. Previously, when he was at the first level of the true dragon fighting technique, his genuine chi was twice as dense as ordinary genuine chi. At that time, the energy required to advance his cultivation was 3 times as much as other genuine chi. Now, his genuine chi was 3 times as dense as other genuine chi. The energy required was 9 times as much as other genuine chi. It was a terrifying 9 times. Another thing was that his bloodline had not advanced. It was still at level 3. This was the blood essence of 10 Class 4 LV2 demonic beasts. Logically speaking, it should have advanced a long time ago. Was level 3 really the limit of his bloodline? Lu Ming was unwilling to give up. I don't care anymore. There's no return without effort. Continue to refine. Lu Ming took out another jade box. In this jade box, there were 10 pieces of Class 5 Level 2 Demonic Beast Blood Essence. Then Lu Ming began to devour and refine the Class 5 LV2 Demonic Beast's blood essence. The blood essence of a Class 5 LV2 Demonic Beast was several times more than that of a Class 4 LV2 Demonic Beast's blood essence. Chapter 56. Lu Ming opened his eyes. 2 rays of light flashed across his eyes. 4th level Martial Master. The speed of devouring and refining the blood essence is indeed terrifying. It's only been a little more than a day and I've already reached 4th level Martial Master. But it's still not enough. Ning Feng is a martial artist at the peak of LV6 Martial Master. No one knows if he'll make a breakthrough during this period. I have to go one step further. Lu Ming got up and went to the contribution hall again. This time he exchanged all the 80,000 taels of silver he got from Duanmuju for contribution points. 80,000 taels of silver was equivalent to 800 contribution points. In addition to the original 700 contribution points and the 3,000 contribution points he borrowed from Mulin's, he had a total of 4,500 contribution points, all of which he used to exchange for the blood essence of demonic beasts. Class 5 LV2 blood essence of demonic beasts cost 100 contribution points, and he exchanged for 15 of them. Class 6 LV2 blood essence of demonic beasts cost 200 contribution points, and he exchanged for 15 of them. All of a sudden he had spent all his contribution points. Poor, I'm too poor. Lu Ming sighed. After returning to his residence, Lu Ming continued to cultivate. 2 days later, in addition to the remaining 4 blood essences of Class 5 LV2, a total of 19 blood essences of Class 5 LV2 were devoured and refined by Lu Ming. Lu Ming's cultivation had reached the late stage of LV4 Martial Master, almost reaching the peak of LV4 Martial Master. After devouring the blood essence of Class 5 LV2 Demonic Beasts, Lu Ming continued to devour the blood essence of Class 6 LV2 Demonic Beasts. With only 3 blood essences, Lu Ming had reached the peak of LV4 Martial Master. However, even after devouring 3 more blood essences of Class 6 LV2 Demonic Beasts, Lu Ming's cultivation did not improve at all, let alone breaking through to LV5 Martial Master. My cultivation has improved too fast. My genuine qi is not pure and my foundation is not stable. I have to stop and consolidate my cultivation. Lu Ming shook his head and smiled bitterly. Next, Lu Ming temporarily stopped devouring blood essence and focused on consolidating his cultivation. In addition, he would also practice martial techniques when he had time. In the blink of an eye, 10 days had passed. There were less than 2 days left before Ningfeng's 1-month deadline. In these 10 days, Lu Ming's Flame Dragon Fists had reached the 6th level, man and martial arts as one. As for the Flowing Light Sword art, no matter how much Lu Ming cultivated, it was still stuck at the 5th level. After 10 days of cultivation, although Lu Ming's cultivation had not been completely consolidated, it was almost there. Let's start the breakthrough. At this time, Lu Ming once again devoured the Class 6 LV2 Demonic Beast's blood essence and began to break through his cultivation. The blood essence of the demonic beast was constantly being converted into true energy. The dragon-shaped true energy kept rushing through his meridians, growing stronger and stronger. Finally, it gathered in the vortex in his dantian. A day and a half later, Lu Ming's cyclone began to spin rapidly. Then, with a tremor, it began to expand. In the end, the cyclone had doubled in size. 5th layer Martial Master, I've finally broken through. Lu Ming opened his eyes, revealing a look of joy. Just then, Lu Ming felt a numbness in his spine. A red light rushed out, and a finger-sized spirit-swallowing bug appeared, rolling in the air. Then, the spirit-swallowing bug began to grow longer and thicker. 2 hours later, the spirit-swallowing bug had turned into a small snake as thick as a thumb and half a meter long. Yes, it really looked like a small snake, covered with black scales, hovering in the air. At this time, 4 bright red chakras shone on the small snake's body. It had advanced. Lu Ming's bloodline had finally advanced, but the amount of blood essence needed was too much. And this time, even the shape of his bloodline had changed. This can't be called a bug anymore, right? Should I change its name to snake? Lu Ming was a little confused. This situation was simply unheard of. Not only could the bloodline advance, but it could also evolve. I wonder if it will evolve in the future? Forget it, I'll just call it spirit swallowing. Lu Ming thought expectantly. In a rather spacious courtyard in the Vermilion Bird Courtyard, 2 figures stood. One was Ning Feng and the other was Ning Feng's father, Ning Kong. Feng, how confident are you in your battle with Lu Ming this time? Ning Kong asked. Dad, don't worry. I'm 100% confident that I can kill Lu Ming on the Vermilion Bird Terrace. Ning Feng smiled confidently. Feng, don't underestimate the enemy. Since Lu Ming can get the position of the newcomer king and took the initiative to challenge you, he must have something to rely on. Don't be careless. Ning Kong warned. Ning Feng smiled and said, Dad, if it was before, I wouldn't be so confident. But yesterday my cultivation broke through. Broke through? Feng, you said you broke through? Ning Kong revealed a look of ecstasy. Yes, Dad. Ning Feng smiled and then his body emitted a powerful aura that far surpassed the peak of the 6th level martial master. Ah, good, then I'm relieved. This time the Duanmu family also values this matter. As long as you kill Lu Ming, we father and son will have more weight in the Duanmu family's heart. Now that the Duanmu family is getting stronger and stronger, we father and son can only work hard for the Duanmu family to obtain a higher status in the future. Ning Kong laughed heartily. He then took out a jade bottle and passed it to Ning Feng. Feng, this is an explosive spirit pill. Take it. I got it from the Duanmu family. Initially I wanted to give it to you to kill Lu Ming. But now that you have broken through, I reckon you won't need it. However, take it with you just in case. Thank you, Dad. Ning Feng took the jade bottle and said. Okay, it's about time. Let's go to the Vermilion Bird Terrace. Ning Kong said. On the other side, Lu Ming packed up and walked out of his room. He saw Pang Shi and Hua Qi waiting for him. Senior brother Lu will go with you. Pang Shi said. Lu Ming, don't lose. You're the newcomer king, but you can only lose at my hands. Hua Qi said coldly. Let's go. Lu Ming smiled and took the lead to walk out. The Vermilion Bird Terrace was located at the foot of the east side of the Vermilion Bird Peak. It was very spacious and was specially used for the disciples of the Vermilion Bird Courtyard to fight. At this time, the Vermilion Bird Terrace was surrounded by people. There were at least a few thousand people. There were new disciples, but most of them were old disciples. Not only that, there were also many elders. This year's newcomer king, who had just entered the courtyard for a month, actually dared to challenge an old disciple who had been in the courtyard for 4 or 5 years. This was rare in the history of the Vermilion Bird Courtyard. Many people were very curious about where Lu Ming's confidence and courage came from. Naturally, they all came to watch. Chief Elder Ning Kong is here. And Ning Feng. Suddenly, someone shouted. Ning Feng and Ning Kong were walking together and there were many people following them. A group of people walked up to the top of the terrace. Elder Mullins is here too. Really, where is he? At this time an even louder clamor rang out. Mullins walked over leisurely with lotus steps. Beside her, Feng Wu, Ruan Wu and the others followed. Chapter 57. Mullins, I heard that you were the one who introduced Lu Ming. It seems like you don't have good foresight. Lu Ming's talent is not bad, but he is too arrogant. He will die young. Ning Kong looked at Mullins and said coldly. Mullins curled her lips and said, I think your precious son is the one who will die young. Is that so? I hope you can still say that later. Ning Kong snorted and waved his sleeves, sitting down at the side. Swoosh. Ning Feng's figure moved, leaping down from the spectator stand. His body was as agile as a swallow. After a few leaps, Ning Feng crossed over 50 meters and appeared on the Vermilion Bird Arena. What an amazing movement technique. Ning Feng has been practicing martial arts for many years, so he can't be underestimated. His low-grade yellow-level movement technique, 3 swipes of the swallow, has already reached the 5th level. Ning Feng has been taught by his father for many years, so it's normal for him to reach this level. But that Lu Ming, how long has it been since he entered the sect? In terms of martial arts, he is definitely not Ning Feng's opponent. That's right. The surrounding disciples were discussing. Lu Ming is here. At this time a disciple shouted. Sure enough, Lu Ming, Pang Shi and Hua Qi walked over from a mountain path. I didn't think that Lu Ming would dare to open the arena. He's just courting death. I think he won't even be able to take 10 moves from Senior Ning. 10 moves? I think he'll be lucky if he can take 3 moves. A few disciples beside Ning Kong sneered. As Lu Ming walked over, the crowd naturally dispersed. Lu Ming walked up the Vermilion Bird Arena stage step by step, facing Ning Feng. Ah, Lu Ming, you really dared to come. I thought you would hide in your dorm like a coward. Ning Feng looked at Lu Ming with disdain. Ning Feng, you think you're worthy? Lu Ming smiled faintly. Whether I'm worthy or not, you will know in a moment. Lu Ming, the moment you step onto the arena platform, it's already a battle of life and death. Even if you want to regret now, it's too late. Ning Feng sneered. You talk too much. Hurry up and make your move. I hope you won't disappoint me. Lu Ming said. I'll let you down? Ning Feng laughed out loud as if he had heard a very funny joke. Ning Feng had already been in the Vermilion Bird Courtyard for 5 years. Although his talent wasn't particularly outstanding, it wasn't weak either. Now, there was actually a newcomer who had only been in the sect for a little more than a month saying that he hoped he wouldn't disappoint him. Ridiculous, extremely ridiculous. After that, Ning Feng's expression turned gloomy. Since you're so eager to die, I'll fulfill your wish. Today I'll crush your confidence and crush your pride. Ning Feng sneered coldly. His figure flashed as he sent a palm strike towards Lu Ming. A layer of black light shrouded his palm. Zhenqi burst forth from his palm, accompanied by a violent whistling sound. Low-grade yellow-class martial skill, Black Rock Palm. Is that all you've got? You want to crush me? Lu Ming smiled faintly as he punched out. Flame Dragon Fist. A fiery aura filled the air as the faint roar of a dragon resounded. The fist aura was as heavy as a mountain. Its power was unstoppable as it heavily collided with Ning Feng's palm. Bang! The fist and palm collided, causing a violent explosion. Waves of hot air swept out in all directions. The two separated immediately after the collision. A figure was forced back 3 steps. This figure was actually Ning Feng. Everyone was stunned. Ning Feng was actually forced back by a single move. How was this possible? From the aura that Ning Feng had just revealed, he had already erupted with the cultivation of the peak of the 6th layer martial master. The peak of the 6th layer martial master was actually forced back by Lu Ming with a single punch. Unbelievable. How could Lu Ming be so strong? Ning Feng's eyes were also filled with shock. He didn't expect Lu Ming to be so strong. Good, powerful. Senior brother Lu Ming is mighty. In the crowd, Pang Shi loudly cheered. In the stands, Mulin's eyes flashed and a smile appeared on her face. She looked at Ning Kong and said, "It seems that Lu Ming is more skilled." It's still too early to say this. Ning Kong coldly snorted. This Lu Ming's talent is too amazing. I must kill him today. Otherwise, there will be no place for me in the Vermilion Bird Courtyard in the future. On the Vermilion Bird Courtyard, Ning Feng roared in his heart. Clang. A long sword was unsheathed. Wind Demon Sword Art. Rising wind and surging clouds. At this moment, Ning Feng revealed his ability. Sword chi like a waterfall suddenly erupted. It broke through the air and violently slashed down at Lu Ming. Lu Ming sneered and also unsheathed his long sword. Sword chi was like a stream of light, cutting through the air and whistling out. This sword was not the Black Edge Sword, but the sword left behind by his father, the Heavenly Star Sword. The Black Edge Sword was only a high-grade spirit weapon. It was obviously not enough to fight with Ning Feng. But the sword left behind by his father was a high-grade spirit weapon. Only then could he display his full strength. Clang. The two swords clashed and exploded with a shocking boom. Their bodies slightly swayed and then they started fighting again. Clang. Clang. The two swords clashed and sword chi crisscrossed. The two figures were completely engulfed by sword light. Strong, so strong. Lu Ming can actually fight with Ning Feng. Ning Feng's Wind Demon Sword Art is a high-grade yellow-grade sword art. Moreover, it has been cultivated to the 5th level. But Lu Ming can actually fight with Ning Feng with only sword art. The strength of his sword art is not inferior to Ning Feng's at all. It's really incredible. This battle is going to be interesting. Looking at the two people fighting on the Vermilion Bird Courtyard, some senior disciples could not stay calm and started discussing. Wind Demon Sword Art, Wind World Slashing. Wind Demon Sword Art, Hurricane Destruction. Ning Feng continuously used the powerful moves of the Wind Demon Sword Art. In the blink of an eye, the two had exchanged more than 50 moves. Clang. With a loud sound, the two figures separated. Lu Ming, I admit that your strength is not bad. You can actually fight with me to this extent. But today you must die. Now I'll let you see my strength. Boom. Ning Feng's body suddenly emitted a rumbling sound. Following that, his aura surged and a berserk aura burst out from Ning Feng's body. 7th level Martial Master. Ning Feng has broken through to the 7th level Martial Master. Lu Ming is finished. The 7th level Martial Master is not something that the 6th level Martial Master can compare to. Ning Feng has actually broken through. Then Lu Ming is dead for sure. What a pity for a top genius. So what if he's a genius? There are countless geniuses in the world. Every year, who knows how many geniuses die. A genius who hasn't grown up is nothing. When Ning Feng revealed his cultivation of the 7th level Martial Master, almost everyone thought that Lu Ming was finished. In the stands, Mulin's, Feng Wu and the rest also revealed expressions of shock and worry. Ah. Ning Kong laughed loudly and said, Mulin's, you didn't expect it, right? This time Lu Ming will definitely die. Mulin's eyes flashed, but she did not respond. In fact, she was not confident in her heart. Could Lu Ming block Ning Feng? Lu Ming, I'll let you experience my peak battle strength now. However, the result you see is death. Ning Feng laughed complacently as a bloody light flashed on his body. Bloodline eruption. His bloodline was a 4th level bloodline. When his bloodline erupted, his battle strength increased by 40%. Wind Demon Sword Art. Wind rises and clouds surge. Ning Feng slashed out with his sword. The wind howled as it turned into 7 or 8 sword beams that slashed towards Lu Ming. It was the same move, but it was several times stronger than before. This way it's more interesting. On the Vermilion Bird Arena, Lu Ming narrowed his eyes. His feet heavily stomped on the stage and his body rushed out like lightning. Chapter 58. Boom. A powerful aura erupted from Lu Ming's body. His true chi surged and his long hair fluttered. At this moment, Lu Ming's aura was no weaker than Ning Feng's. In the battle with Ning Feng, Lu Ming had only used 50% of his strength. But now it was 100%. Clang. The two of them collided fiercely. Sparks flew as their swords clashed. Streaks of sharp sword chi pierced the air and shot out in all directions. Bang. Bang. After the collision, the two of them retreated several steps at the same time. Damn it, kill! Ning Feng roared and charged at Lu Ming again. Fight! Lu Ming's eyes were like lightning. His long hair fluttered and his body exuded a surging battle intent. He took a step forward and charged at Ning Feng. Clang. Clang. The two of them continued to attack each other. Sword chi flew and danced in the air. It was extremely powerful. In the blink of an eye, dozens of moves had passed and the two of them were evenly matched. How could this be? Impossible? How could this Lu Ming be so strong? Ning Feng was so shocked that he was speechless. With his cultivation of the 7th level of the Martial Master Realm and the speed of his superior yellow rank sword technique, he had already reached the 5th level. Could be said that his sword was as fast as the wind and as fast as lightning. However, Lu Ming was able to completely block it. Not only was his true chi not weaker than him, but even the speed of his sword technique was not inferior. He did not know that Lu Ming was cultivating a divine rank cultivation technique. His true chi was 3 times stronger than ordinary true chi. When the true dragon battle technique was only at the 1st level, Lu Ming was able to kill opponents 1 level higher than him. Now that the true dragon battle technique had advanced to the 2nd level, even if Ning Feng was 2 levels higher than Lu Ming, he would not be able to defeat Lu Ming. Not only Ning Feng but all the spectators around the Vermilion Bird Arena were shocked. It was unbelievable that Lu Ming was able to tie with Ning Feng, who had broken through to the 7th level of the Martial Master Realm. They all held their breaths and stared at the arena, afraid that they would disturb the two people on the arena. Clang. Clang. On the Vermilion Bird Arena, the two continued their battle. 7th grade Martial Master is indeed not weak. However, as long as I activate my bloodline, I can immediately defeat him. However, now is not the time. Moreover, the bloodline of the Martial Master Realm only lasts for 2 minutes. Once the 2 minutes are over, Ning Feng will not be my opponent. Lu Ming pondered. 2 silhouettes continuously clashed on the Vermilion Bird stage, sword chi overflowing in all directions. Soon they had exchanged over 100 moves. At this moment, the bloody light on Ning Feng's body quickly dissipated. It was time for his bloodline to erupt. Not good. On the grandstand, Ning Kong's expression changed. Clang. On the Vermilion Bird Arena, the two of them clashed again. Bang. This time, Ning Feng was directly sent flying. His face was pale and blood flowed out from the corner of his mouth. Ning Feng is injured. The crowd was in an uproar as they looked at the stage in shock. It's time for Ning Feng's bloodline to erupt. It seems like Ning Feng is going to lose. Ning Feng is actually not a match for Lu Ming. This is really unbelievable. Have you guys realized that Lu Ming still hasn't unleashed his bloodline? What? Seems to be true. I didn't notice this just now. This is too shocking. Genius, a top genius. How is Lu Ming arrogant? He clearly has the ability to do so. Around the Vermilion Bird Arena, whether it was the new disciples, old disciples, or elders, they were all discussing with each other in shock. Senior brother Lu Ming, you can do it. You're the best. Pang Shi was so excited that his face was flushed red. He waved his arms and shouted. Senior brother Lu Ming is mighty. Following that, other disciples shouted. These were all new disciples who joined this year. When they saw that Lu Ming, a disciple who joined the sect at the same time as them, was actually so strong, they couldn't help but feel a burst of pride. What's so great about being an old disciple? There are also new disciples who can defeat you all. At this moment, Lu Ming had become the idol in many people's hearts. This guy. Hua Qi muttered to himself. In the depths of his eyes, there was an additional trace of admiration. He had always been proud and arrogant. When he first met Lu Ming, he had threatened to defeat him in the future. But now he knew that Lu Ming's talent was not something he could compare to. In the stands, Ruan Hongwu and Feng Wu's mouths were slightly agape as they watched in a daze. Especially Ruan Hongwu. A month ago, Lu Ming had said that he would challenge Ning Feng in a month's time. She was still rather unhappy in her heart and thought that Lu Ming was too arrogant. But now she understood that she was wrong. Lu Ming wasn't arrogant, he was confident, and he had the ability to be confident. Ning Kong, looks like your precious son is going to lose. On the spectator stand, Mulan laughed happily. She was laughing so hard that her body trembled. Is that so? The outcome hasn't been decided yet? Ning Kong clenched his fists tightly. His eyes revealed killing intent as he said coldly. What? Mulan's couldn't help but have a bad premonition. On the Vermilion Bird Arena. Ning Feng, the time for the bloodline eruption has arrived. Now I'll send you on your way. Lu Ming looked indifferently at Ning Feng and said, Aha, Lu Ming, you want to defeat me? Dream on, you're the one who forced me. Ning Feng laughed. Then, with a wave of his hand, an elixir appeared and he swallowed it. Boom. When Ning Feng swallowed the elixir, a powerful aura suddenly erupted from his body. This aura was powerful and tyrannical. Compared to before, it was twice as strong. Lu Ming, die. Ning Feng roared. His eyes were bloodshot. He stomped his feet and with a loud boom even the fighting stage shook. His body turned into a gust of wind and charged towards Lu Ming. Don't take it head on. Lu Ming's eyes flashed with a trace of seriousness. He used the dragon snake steps and moved to the side. But he was still a step too late. Ning Feng's sword chi swept towards him. Bang. Lu Ming used his long sword to block. A sharp and violent force surged towards him and he couldn't help but slide back by 10 meters. Explosive spirit pill, Ning Kong, you're despicable. You actually used the explosive spirit pill. This fight is already unfair. It's over. In the stands, Mulan suddenly stood up and shouted with an ugly expression. Mulans, what are you trying to do? On the Vermilion Bird stage, there's no rule against using elixirs in a fight to the death. Ning Kong also stood up and sneered. Using elixirs is unfair. How can you talk about a fight to the death? Mulan shouted coldly and was about to rush towards the Vermilion Bird stage. However, Ning Kong released a powerful aura and locked onto Mulan's. He sneered and said, Mulan's, outsiders are not allowed to interfere in a fight to the death at the Vermilion Bird stage. Are you trying to break the rules? Despicable. Despicable. Mulan gritted her teeth and widened her almond-shaped eyes. However, Ning Kong stared at her intently. At this moment, on the Vermilion Bird stage, Ning Feng had already launched a violent attack. Lu Ming, prepare to die. Sword Art of the Wind Demon, Wine slashes the world. Sword Art of the Wind Demon, Hurricane Destruction. The violent sword chi tore apart everything in its path. It broke through the air and slashed towards Lu Ming's head. My strength has increased by 2 times. I can only avoid it and find an opportunity to counterattack. Lu Ming's figure moved and he performed the dragon snake steps. As he moved, he blocked the sword aura that slashed toward him. Boom. Boom. After 7 to 8 moves, Lu Ming kept retreating. Chapter 59. Ning Feng actually swallowed the explosive spirit pill. How despicable. Looks like Lu Ming is going to lose. Some of the spectators shook their heads and sighed. But there were also people who sneered. After a few more moves, Lu Ming was in even more danger. He was already in a desperate situation. Ning Kong, get out of my way. On the stands, Mulans shouted and threw a palm at Ning Kong. Mulans, as the chief elder, do you want to violate the sect rules? Ning Kong shouted coldly and exchanged a palm with Mulans. Fortunately, the two of them were controlling their palms. Otherwise, the stands would have been shattered by their palms. Despicable. Feng Wu, Ruan Wu, and the others also shouted, but they were also blocked by the people Ning Kong brought. On the Vermilion Bird Arena, Ning Feng's attack was like a hurricane, extremely violent. Lu Ming retreated as he fought. But his eyes were extremely bright as he stared at Ning Feng. He was looking for an opportunity. Die, haha, die. Ning Feng laughed loudly. Completely suppressing Lu Ming made him incomparably carefree. Lu Ming, you despicable thing, you actually dare to contradict me, actually dare to not give me face and even dare to fight me to the death. Now tremble regret. Ning Feng kept laughing. Now is the time. At this time, Lu Ming's eyes suddenly lit up. Instead of retreating, he advanced and pounced towards Ning Feng. At the same time, Lu Ming's body flashed with a bloody light, and his bloodline erupted. When his bloodline erupted, it was when Lu Ming was at his strongest. Now his bloodline had already advanced to level 4. When his bloodline erupted, not only could he devour 50% of others' attacks, but his own strength could also increase by 40%. Lu Ming's action shocked everyone present. What was Lu Ming doing? Courting death? Ning Feng himself was also slightly stunned, then laughed sinisterly. No matter what tricks you play, I'll kill you. I'll crush you. The swift and fierce sword aura turned into a sword aura storm and charged toward Lu Ming. Boom. However, when the sword energy struck Lu Ming's body only trembled slightly. Then he continued to charge towards Ning Feng. Then he waved the sword in his right hand and blocked Ning Feng's long sword, while his left hand punched out heavily. Everything happened in the blink of an eye. Ning Feng did not even have time to react. Bang! Lu Ming's punch landed heavily on Ning Feng's dantian. The surging fist power crazily rushed into Ning Feng's dantian. In an instant, the cyclone in Ning Feng's dantian trembled violently and almost exploded. Ning Feng was like a punctured balloon. The aura on his body suddenly plummeted. In an instant, Ning Feng's aura fell back to the 7th level of the Martial Master Realm. However, it did not stop. It continued to fall until it reached the peak of the 6th level of the Martial Master Realm. Ning Feng had just broken through to the 7th level of the Martial Master Realm, so his cultivation was still unstable. Lu Ming's punch not only defeated the berserk true qi that was produced by consuming the explosive spirit pill, but also knocked him back to his original state, falling to the 6th level of the Martial Master Realm. If it wasn't for the berserk true qi produced by the explosive spirit pill offsetting a portion of the fist's strength, this punch would have directly crippled Ning Feng's cultivation. Ah! Ning Feng screamed as his body was sent flying. He fell heavily on the ground more than 10 meters away and vomited blood. Mullins was stunned, Feng Wu Ruanhua was stunned, and Ning Kong was also stunned. Everyone was stunned. Everything happened in an instant, and they didn't even have time to react. What was going on? They had just seen Lu Ming charging towards Ning Feng instead of retreating. They had just thought that Lu Ming was courting death by doing so. Then they saw Ning Feng being sent flying while screaming miserably. He was vomiting blood. Feng, Ning Kong was the first to react and roared. Ning Feng struggled to get up and looked at Lu Ming in disbelief. He shouted, "You? How are you fine?" He had clearly hit Lu Ming just now, but Lu Ming seemed to be fine. Now it's my turn. Lu Ming sneered as he took a step forward and slashed at Ning Feng. Ning Feng was shocked as he raised his sword to block. However, he was only at the peak of the 6th level of the Martial Master Realm and was injured. How could he be a match for Lu Ming? With one move, Ning Feng was forced to retreat as he coughed out large mouthfuls of blood. Ning Feng, you've only cultivated for a few more years and you want me to regret it? Make me tremble? You're still far from it. I'll send you on your way now. Lu Ming's mouth curled into a sneer as his eyes flashed with cold killing intent. He walked towards Ning Feng step by step. How dare you? Lu Ming, stop. On the stands, Ning Kong roared. Stop. Lu Ming glanced at Ning Kong and sneered, why didn't you ask Ning Feng to stop when he had the upper hand? Now you're asking me to stop? Are you out of your mind? After saying that, he ignored Ning Kong and slashed at Ning Feng again. Clang, clang. Ning Feng barely managed to block a few moves before he could no longer resist. His body trembled as the long sword in his hand slipped out of his hand. Father, father, save me. Ning Feng frantically retreated as he screamed in horror. Lu Ming, you still dare to attack? You're courting death. Ning Kong roared furiously. His body was like a goshawk as he pounced towards the vermilion bird arena. However, Mulan's figure moved and followed closely behind, striking a palm at Ning Kong. Ning Kong counterattacked with his palm and the two of them clashed in the air. Boom. With a violent explosion, energy overflowed. The two of them swayed and landed on the ground separately. After landing, Mulan's figure moved and stood in front of Ning Kong. Mulan, get out of my way. Ning Kong roared. Mulan smiled charmingly and said, Ning Kong, the Vermilion Bird Arena is a life and death battle. Outsiders are not allowed to interfere. What are you trying to do? Are you trying to break the sect rules? Ning Kong's face turned green and white. He was so angry that he almost vomited blood. This was what he said to Mullins earlier. Now Mullins returned the words to him. I don't care. Get lost. Ning Kong roared. Ning Kong, you're really thick-skinned. You want to go over? Impossible. Mullins's aura locked onto Ning Kong. Looking at Ning Kong's ugly old face, Mullins felt extremely carefree. At this moment on the Vermilion Bird Arena, Ning Feng screamed again. Lu Ming punched him hard in the stomach. The violent force of the punch broke several of his ribs. Ning Feng lay on the ground, vomiting large mouthfuls of blood. Lu Ming stepped on Ning Feng's body and looked down at him coldly. Lu Ming, don't kill me. I beg you, don't kill me. At this moment, Ning Feng was really scared and begged for mercy. Lu Ming, how dare you kill my son? I'll tear you into pieces. Ning Kong roared angrily. He wanted to rush forward but was blocked by Mulan. Old man, I'll be waiting. Lu Ming sneered. Then the sword light slashed down without hesitation. No. No. Ning Feng and Ning Kong roared in unison. Splat. Blood splattered and dyed the Vermilion Bird Arena red. Ning Feng held his throat tightly. His eyes were filled with unwillingness, regret, and fear. Chapter 60. Silence. The entire place was silent as everyone looked at the scene in shock. Lu Ming had really killed Ning Feng. Moreover, he had completely ignored Ning Feng's threat in front of Ning Kong. He was audacious and insufferably arrogant. Many senior disciples looked at Lu Ming and felt a chill in their hearts. This was a ruthless person. He was ruthless to his enemies and to himself. Feng. Bastard, I'm going to cut you into pieces. Ning Kong roared. His eyes were red like a wild beast that had gone berserk. Bam. Bam. He exchanged blows with Mullins continuously. Shockwaves swept across and deafening booms were heard. Many of the weaker disciples turned pale from the impact and were forced to retreat. If he wants to kill me, he should be prepared to be killed. Lu Ming looked calm as he said plainly. You bastard, how can you be compared to Feng? If Feng wants to kill you, you should let him kill you. How dare you retaliate and kill Feng? I'm going to skin you alive. Ning Kong roared furiously as he continued to attack. Ning Kong, how dare you disregard the sect rules? Mullins shouted. What sect rules? Sect rules are bullshit. How can you be compared to my Feng? Ning Kong had completely gone mad and his eyes were bloodshot. Lu Ming shook his head. He had nothing to say to such a person. Then he looked at the sky and muttered, it should be time to strike. As soon as he said that, a loud roar was heard from the sky. Ning Kong, are you crazy? Stop it. An elder in a silver robe appeared in the sky. He extended his hand and pressed the air. An extremely strong pressure was generated and pressed down on Ning Kong. Bam. Under the pressure, Ning Kong had no strength to retaliate. He was pressed to the ground and no matter how hard he struggled, he couldn't move at all. It's the elder in the silver robe. It turns out that the elder in the silver robe has been watching. The other disciples exclaimed when they saw the elder. Elder Lu, you have to stand up for me. Lu Ming, that bastard killed Feng. Ning Kong roared. Vermilion Bird Arena, a battle of life and death. Since it's a battle of life and death, what wrong did Lu Ming do? But you, Ning Kong, how dare you disregard the sect rules? I think you're getting worse. Go back with me and reflect. If you can't figure it out, don't come out. The silver-robed elder waved his hand and a powerful energy surged out, sweeping up Ning Kong before he turned into a ray of light and shot through the air. Upon seeing the silver-robed elder take Ning Kong away, Lu Ming revealed a faint smile. The reason why he dared to kill Ning Feng in front of Ning Kong was not completely a brainless action. Firstly, Ning Feng had repeatedly caused trouble for him and even sent people to kill him. Ning Feng indeed deserved to die. If he didn't kill him, he would definitely find trouble with him later. Secondly, he was certain that there would be a silver-robed elder watching nearby. Through this battle, he had completely revealed his talent and value. Being able to kill an old disciple of the 7th Martial Master Realm in just over a month after entering the Vermilion Bird Courtyard, this kind of talent was definitely valued by the upper echelons of the Vermilion Bird Courtyard. How could he allow Ning Kong to kill him? Reality proved it. Lu Ming thanks Elder Mullins for your help. Lu Ming cupped his fists and thanked Mullins. Lu Ming, you're not bad. Mullins smiled. Then Lu Ming will take his leave. Lu Ming nodded and left the Vermilion Bird Arena, disappearing into the crowd. The news of this battle spread quickly in the Vermilion Bird Arena and even to the other courtyards. Lu Ming didn't care about it. He returned to the dormitory and sat cross-legged on his bed. Waves of pain came from his body. Lu Ming smiled bitterly. He was seriously injured in this battle. After Ning Feng swallowed the explosive spirit pill, his battle strength increased greatly. Lu Ming was injured when he tried his best to resist. After that, he activated his bloodline and took Ningfeng's attack head-on. Although he swallowed 50% of the attack power, the remaining attack power still made his injuries worse. Looks like I have to buy a defensive spirit weapon like soft armor in the future. Also, I have to cultivate defensive martial skills. Otherwise, it won't be good to keep getting injured like this. Lu Ming smiled bitterly and whispered. When his bloodline activated, although he was extremely powerful, he would still be injured if he had to take other people's attacks head-on. The main reason was that his body was too weak. Other than the protective true qi, he didn't have any other defensive moves. Let's heal first. Lu Ming shook his head and began to circulate the true dragon battle art to control his bloodline and heal his injuries. Whoosh whoosh. In the air, the spiritual energy of heaven and earth quickly gathered towards Lu Ming at an astonishing speed. After Lu Ming's bloodline advanced to level 4, his speed of absorbing the spiritual energy of heaven and earth increased by a large margin. It far surpassed the speed of a level 5 bloodline. Lu Ming estimated that it was at least comparable to a level 7 bloodline. This speed could be said to be very astonishing. However, Lu Ming cultivated the second level of the true dragon battle art, which required 9 times the energy of ordinary true qi. Therefore, just by absorbing the spiritual energy of heaven and earth, his cultivation speed was still not comparable to a level 5 bloodline genius. The spiritual energy of heaven and earth continued to gather and transform into pure true qi. It scattered into the muscles, bones and internal organs of his body, constantly nourishing Lu Ming's body and healing his injuries. This cultivation lasted for 5 hours. At this time Lu Ming opened his eyes. After 5 hours of cultivation, Lu Ming's injuries were much better. In another 2 days he would be completely healed. It smells so good. Suddenly, a rich barbecue fragrance floated in from outside. Who's barbecuing outside? Lu Ming was a little puzzled. He opened the door and walked out. In the yard, Pang Shi and Hua Qi were barbecuing meat. Seeing Lu Ming come out, Pang Shi was overjoyed. He smiled and said, "Senior brother Lu Ming, you're done cultivating. Come, have some barbecued meat. This is the meat of a blood antelope. It's very delicious and can replenish blood. It's very useful after you're injured." Lu Ming's heart warmed. He smiled and said, "Pang Shi, did you prepare this for me? The meat of a blood antelope is not cheap. How can I afford it?" Pang Shi scratched his head and said, "Flower Addict bought it especially for you. I used to hunt, so barbecuing meat is my specialty. So I'm responsible for it." Hua Qi's face was cold. He said, "Lu Ming, don't misunderstand. I don't want to treat your injuries out of kindness. Because I will definitely defeat you. If you're injured, there will be repercussions. Wouldn't that be very boring?" Stubborn. Pang Shi curled his lips. "Hey Big Stone, I'm warning you, don't call me Flower Addict." Hua Qi said coldly, "Aren't you called Flower Addict? If I don't call you that, how can I call you that?" Pang Shi said doubtfully, "You." Hua Qi was tongue-tied. "Haha." Lu Ming laughed. He picked up a piece of golden barbecued meat and took a bite. The meat was tender and fragrant. The taste was definitely top-notch. Especially after swallowing, there was a warm current flowing through his body. It was very comfortable.